Guys, if you like Dragon Ball Hakai, today is the best day for you to subscribe to our Patreon. We started publishing about 3 pages a day of the next chapter of Dragon Ball Hakai. In addition, you will also have access to several other stories created by our team, including Dragon Ball Shinken. By collaborating with our Patreon, you help us keep Dragon Ball Hakai alive and have a lot of benefits. Become a member of our community too. The link is in the video description and in the pinned comment. I'm waiting for you there.
Fly to the limits, look out below and you will see the clouds beneath, way up high where no one has been. Break out your spirit, you know it's waiting to begin, so ride upon the wind. These guys come out of nowhere one by one. Their sights are set upon the land we love. Bad vibes are the cue for me. Fight, fight, fight. I'll guard the planet like a shield for a night. So no, I won't stop fighting till it's over. Won't run away. And you can bet that Earth will keep on turning. I'm making sure it's safe. Join in the face of my fists are sturdy in their faith. They'll never shake. Ain't nobody stopping their burn. Show what we're made of. I'll change the future with my nerves to one that we deserve for the world.
The entire private dimension of the evil angel tremble. The reason is Vegito, who releases his monstrous power at high intensity. His form combines the power of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, the result of his training with the angel and the god of destruction of his dimension. However, at this moment, it is the power of destruction that prevails in his energy aura and also in his heart and mind. The Saiyan is furious, and the target in front of him is Super 17, who is on the path of his revenge against Kari, who ordered the attack and kidnapping of his daughter. You better get out of my way, android, or I will destroy you without any mercy, Vegito warns. However, Super 17 seems sure of his decision, responding to the threat with a smile and saying that Vegito is very mistaken if he thinks he is just any opponent. Vegito doesn't warn twice. He reaches the android with an extremely powerful punch to the center of his body, creating an explosion of impact so strong that even Kari, who was behind 17, has to try hard to avoid being carried away. However, despite the strong attack he just received, Super 17 promptly reacts, surprising Vegito with a response attack to the middle of the face. 17's blow knocks the Saiyan to the ground and makes him slide for several kilometers, causing the destruction of the ground and also several trees in that forested part of the dimension. This guy is strong. Vegito recognizes it while wiping the trickle of blood that starts to drip from his mouth. However, the Saiyan warrior is not frightened. Advancing again against the android who advances against him, the shock power of their bodies is insanely high, opening up considerable cracks even in the tough ground of that dimension. After the first collision, a fervent exchange of blows begins, with man and android launching thousands of attacks per second, blows filled with colossal power making the entire dimension vibrate. Kari watches Vegito and Super 17's confrontation with a confident smile. He reflects, Super 17 is certainly the strongest android of the extermination team, and also the strongest that Android 21 and I have ever created to date. His power almost matches mine, an angel. He will certainly be able to hold off Vegito for as long as necessary. Gohan and Super Android 16 also clash as they move frantically through the skies of that place, flying quickly while delivering even faster blows to each other. Gohan uses the power of his beast form, trying to direct his fury and power in such a way that it overwhelms the android's movements. In this dimension, Gohan has never met Android 16, so there's no hesitation on his part to destroy this enemy. However, despite Gohan's real desire to destroy his opponent and the fact that he is sparing no effort, Super 16 remains fully in combat, dodging, defending, and perfectly resisting the Saiyan's attack. At one point, 16 gains the advantage in the exchange of blows, overlapping Gohan's attacks with his own and forcing him to retreat through the sky as he tries to defend or dodge. After avoiding multiple attacks, Gohan inevitably ends up being hit by one, receiving an ultra-strong kick that sends him sprawling onto the ground. But 16 doesn't stop there and lands with a direct knee on Gohan's body, burying him several meters in that resistant ground and causing intense pain to the man. Then 16 removes one of his hands and after pointing his half arm at him, releases a completely overwhelming wave of power which creates multiple fissures and holes in the ground. Kari watches Gohan and Super Android 16's fight with intrigue, thinking the following: Super 16 may not be as strong as Super 17, but he is still an extremely powerful android. However, I heard that this boy named Gohan defeated Vod, and although Vod was considered one of the weakest among the angels, he was certainly more powerful than Super 16. So it's strange that the Saiyan is having such a disadvantage. Perhaps he destroyed Vod in a moment of distraction, as he was proud to the point of underestimating this boy. Kari convinces himself on this deduction he just made, then smiles confidently. Yes, of course. Even though he is Vegito's son, I doubt that someone so young has surpassed Vod's power. This boy certainly won due to that idiot's fault. Super 16 will definitely win this fight. Gogeta is distracted for a moment out of concern for Gohan, and Super Android 13 tries to take advantage of this by coming at him with a sequence of attacks, but they are all dodged by Gogeta. Seeing a chance, he counterattacks Super Android 13 with a strong blow, but to his surprise the android resists well and retaliates soon after with another blow. Defended by Gogeta. It seems like you are definitely not like those three guys, Gogeta comments, referring to androids 13, 14, and 15. Indeed, I'm not, Super Android 13 responds, and then exclaims, I was created from the main parts of androids 13, 14, and 15. Therefore, I represent all their power and combat knowledge in a single system. But beyond that, the creator of these three androids had an evolution in her knowledge, so she was able to make me even more powerful than I would be if I simply added the power of those three. Dude, you talk too complicated, Gogeta complains. Just say that you are stronger than the power of those three guys combined, and you also have the same knowledge as them. Super 13 confirms this summary given by Gogeta, and adds that in addition to being stronger than those three, he knows Gogeta's combat style better, as he had their experience from that fight. Although Super Android 13's intention with these statements is to intimidate Gogeta, the effect is the opposite, as it makes him excited and says that at least this fight should be more fun. Kari watches this fight while thinking, originally 13, 14, and 15 were the least powerful of my extermination team, although they were far from being considered weak, but Super 13's power exceeds even that of Super 16 thanks to the sum of their powers of the three androids, and also to the improvements that were made by Android 21 after acquiring the intelligence of that woman called Bulma. If we had a little more time, this android could even surpass Super 17. You better not underestimate this opponent, Gogeta, or you will be eliminated. While these fights take place on the outskirts of the technological fortress, inside the fortress, Android 21 works diligently on the ultimate project. It's almost ready, she says anxiously. The battle between Vegito and Super 17 reaches a new level of intensity, with both combatants exchanging powerful blows in a chaotic dance of attacks. Each punch, kick, and blast of energy creates shockwaves that reverberate throughout the evil angel's private dimension. Super 17's eyes glow with intense red energy, which manifests into a laser beam powerful enough to open a line of destruction, the depth of an abyss even on the extremely hard ground. Fortunately, Vegito dodged that attack and responded with nothing less, releasing a torrential wave of power of destruction with the capacity to destroy two entire common-sized universes. However, 17 had a defense capable of dealing with this, forming a resistance energy shield around him that received the full power of Vegito's attack head-on, but not without being severely shaken by all that destructive power. Vegito disappears for a brief moment, then reappears above Super 17 to complement the first attack by launching a sequence of energy beams that explode when they hit the android's shield, and eventually destroy it, throwing Super 17 against the ground, accompanied by a series of explosions. But Super 17 doesn't take long to respond, taking to the skies with extraordinary power to land a devastating punch capable of drawing a handful of blood from the Saiyan. Holding Gohan by his white hair, Super Android 16 carries him through the sky until they reach a mountain, where Gohan's face is smashed hard against the rocks. Then Super 16 repeats the movement, compulsively hitting Gohan's face against the rocks, until the Saiyan finally reacts by turning around, elbowing the android, forcing him to let go, and then pointing his hand at Super 16's face and fire an energy wave at close range that completely engulfs the android's head. But Super 16 doesn't suffer more than a few scratches from that attack, and immediately retaliates with a wave of power that not only engulfs Gohan's entire body, but also the entire mountain. The mountain is completely destroyed by Super 16's energy, while Gohan, despite keeping his body intact, falls from the sky to the ground, seriously injured. As he stands up, he greatly regrets his weakness. Damn, I have to get past this guy to save my sister, but I just can't. Super Android 16 lands in front of him, ready for more. Gohan advances against Super 16, trying to push him, with both interlocking their hands in a contest of strength. But this contest soon reveals its winner, with the android bringing the Saiyan to his knees while bending his hands with his superior strength. Frustration takes over Gohan, who suffers more from his weakness than from physical pain. Once the man is on his knees, the machine hits him with a sharp knee to the face, causing a serious stun. After that, he grabs the Saiyan's big hair and hits a second knee, which is much stronger than the first. Then the android frees him, and Gohan gets up with difficulty, trying to walk away with staggering steps because of the strong impact he suffered. But cloudier than Gohan's vision is his heart, which now more than ever yearns for power. Power! I need more power! Now the android advances with a punch endowed with titanic strength. The power of the blow is such that the pressure exerted by the impact alone knocks countless trees away from the forest around them. Gohan is thrown several miles away, digging through the hard rocks of a mountain and remaining buried in the center of the immense rocky body. Now will be the end of you. Super Android 16 brings his two hands together, beginning to concentrate a gigantic amount of energy, clearly preparing his final attack. However, the android stops when suddenly that entire gigantic mountain is imploded with an explosion of energy that reveals an abysmal power. A powerful air current passes through that entire place, carrying trees, rocks, and even parts of the ground. Even the powerful android has to make an effort not to be carried away by the devastating force. From the center of that storm of energetic power, Gohan is revealed, who now manifests his frightening final form, facing his enemy with a completely serious look that exudes a great thirst for blood. Gohan warns the android, "You better prepare yourself, because now you will feel a power that not even an angel could rival." While working on her supercomputer at incredible speed to complete the Cell Ultra project, Android 21 feels the entire fortress shake thanks to the insane power of the fighting taking place outside. Incredible! The entire structure of this fortress was created by Lord Campari himself, an angel. But even so, the pressure exerted by the fights taking place outside is shaking the structure of this place. But despite her astonishment, Android 21 is completely confident, as the work is almost complete. Now manifesting the power of his final form in a gigantic aura of energy, Gohan shakes the balance of the entire environment around him. Feeling that extraordinary power that suddenly appeared, Campari is completely shocked, especially after discovering that the one who possesses this power is Gohan, who until a few seconds ago he believed to be much weaker. This power can be equated to that of an angel. Campari recognizes, scared, so he continues his fierce fight against Android 17. Vegito feels Gohan's power and smiles, proud of his son. Finally, he released his full power, like I always told him to do. Super 17 is very surprised when he feels Gohan's energy and says he never imagined he would have so much power. The power that had just appeared on the battlefield also catches the attention of Gogeta and Super Android 13, who for a moment stop fighting to assimilate what is happening. "Very good, boy," Gogeta praises in a low voice. Contemplating the power his enemy has just revealed, Super Android 16 tenses for the first time, displaying some expression other than the constant indifference he usually expresses. He attacks first, launching a wave of concentrated power against the Saiyan, but it is repelled by the aura that surrounds Gohan, who then counterattacks by advancing against the android at such a high speed that it distorts space-time. Gohan's blow is an elbow that hits Super 16 with such force that it causes a crack in his extremely rigid body. But much worse, cracks are the ones that spread across the ground, cracking the entire ground around them at huge depths because of the great pressure that this blow released. Super 16 retaliates with a punch to Gohan's face, who receives the attack with incredible resistance, barely moving his face, and then responds with a punch hundreds of times more powerful, taking Super 16 off the ground and sending him with such speed that tears the fabric of space-time as as it travels an extraordinary distance, moving light years away from Campari's technological fortress. But Gohan doesn't sit still. He pursues the enemy in the form of a ray of light, reaching him in a fraction of a second, this time with a flying attack that dents the android's body even more. With his eyes wide with disbelief, Campari watches his powerful android being simply massacred by the young Saiyan, whose power he recently underestimated and despised. Super 16 is sent back to the location, hitting Campari's technological fortress, crossing it, and then falling to the ground, opening a gigantic crater in it. At this point, the android's body was already completely cracked, but it is finally destroyed once and for all when the Saiyan comes from the sky with a super powerful stomp, hitting the center of 16's body while shattering the body of that ultra-resistant battle machine as a glass that falls to the floor. The android's head is the only part of it that remains intact, spinning through the air and then rolling across the ground. Gohan approaches Super 16's head, who recognizes his superiority. "Your name is Gohan, right? I must admit that I underestimated your power, but you totally surpassed me. Congratulations." Gohan's response is to mercilessly stomp on Super 16's head, which is entirely crushed and destroyed. Gohan, who was previously overcome with fury, now seems to come to his senses. However, surprisingly, he maintains the transformation, something that didn't happen before. "I did," he celebrates. However, not everything is a reason to celebrate. Looking at the fragments of the android around him, he regrets having let himself be consumed by rage and not giving his enemy the chance to surrender. However, he knows he doesn't have time to mourn now. Looking at the fortress in front of him, he flies towards it to rescue his half-sister. Campari sees this and then intervenes, disappearing from where he is and reappearing in Gohan's path. "If you think you will interfere with my plans, you are very mistaken, Saiyan brat," the angel shouts. Gohan gets into a fighting stance. "Just as I defeated Vought, I will defeat you." Vegito is in the middle of the fight against Super 17 when he sees Campari going at it against Gohan. "I'm the one who will destroy this bastard," he says, jealous of his son's opponent. Vegito holds one of Super 17's attacks and throws him away. Super 17 stops in the air and, seeing that the Saiyan was already coming to continue attacking, shouts, "Flash Bomber!" After Super 17 shouts the name of his technique, it manifests itself in the form of countless energy rays that emanate from the body towards Vegito. Despite the onslaught of energy beams, Vegito refuses to retreat. Instead, he continues to advance, skillfully dodging each beam with the remnants of Ultra Instinct power still at his disposal. Vegito advances until he finally reaches Super 17. However, when he was finally going to counterattack, he is surprised when the machine removes one of his hands and fires a sequence of projectiles. This surprises Vegito, who is directly hit by the shots. The shots do not cause significant damage to the Saiyan's body, however they are just a distraction to open the gap for a powerful punch from Super 17 to enter. Vegito feels the intensity of his opponent's punch, but his determination doesn't waver. He uses his incredible speed to dodge the android's next strike and counterattack with a series of rapid punches and kicks. The battle in the sky reaches a new height of speed, with the two fighters appearing as blurs of energy, leaving luminous trails in the air. The evil angel's private dimension continues to shake with the energy released in that confrontation. Gohan and Campari's fight has begun. Saiyan and Angel travel through the skies of that dimension at extraordinary speed, in the form of blurs of light crossing each other's path, colliding attacks of colossal strength that cause intense tremors throughout the dimension. In this fight, Gohan is at a disadvantage because Campari possesses Ultra Instinct, granting him greater defensive capabilities. Despite Gohan's struggle to match Campari in resistance, strength, and speed, the Angel still outshines him in technical skill. Holding back a punch from Gohan, Campari maneuvers him in the air and launches the Patroller Saiyan against a mountain, which is completely shattered by the power of the impact of the collision, even though it is an extremely resistant rock that is part of an Angel's private dimension. Then Campari extends his hand towards the location of the enemy's fall and releases a torrential blast of energy whose destructive power extends for several kilometers, destroying almost the entire forest close to the fortress in the center of the dimension. That attack definitely hurt Gohan, but he still didn't shy away, remaining determined to never give up. Gohan's face shows signs of effort, but his eyes remain focused and determined. He channels his energy, raising his power to the maximum. Campari, noticing Gohan's persistence, smiles dismissively. He quickly moves towards the injured Saiyan, unleashing a series of precise and quick blows. Gohan blocks some, but is unable to avoid them all. Each impact reverberates through his body, causing intense pain. With one agile movement, Campari disappears and reappears behind Gohan, grabbing him by the neck. The evil angel smiles and whispers in the young Saiyan's ear, "Your power is truly incredible. boy. I'm not surprised that you defeated Vaude. However, there is a considerably big difference between me and Vaude. Since unlike the airhead, I don't let my emotions easily take control of my mind in combat, and that makes my Ultra Instinct much more accurate than his. Campari starts squeezing Gohan's neck hard, who screams in agony. I will destroy your neck and kill you, and then Vegito will be completely out of control. Vegito's fury grows as he continues to fight with Super 17. He now sees Campari crushing his son's neck and wants to do something about it, but the android simply won't let him. At a peak of impatience, Vegito suddenly increases his speed and strength to advance with a series of attacks that punish Super 17's entire body, who receives all of the Saiyan's blows, clearly feeling them all. You worm! Get out of my way! Vegito concentrates a high amount of force in one of his hands and finishes his sequence with a punch dozens of times more powerful that launches Super 17 far away. After pushing the enemy away, Vegito puts his fingers to his forehead to teleport to Gohan and Campari, but he is surprised when Super 17 reaches a surreal peak of speed, moving from where he was to in front of him in the blink of an eye, grabbing his arm to prevent teleportation. What speed is this? Vegito exclaims in shock. But it's not just the speed that has increased. Vegito experiences an immense increase in the android's strength, which strikes his abdomen with such extraordinary force that it simply temporarily cracks the walls of that reality, while making the Saiyan feel all his muscles and internal organs being crushed by the pressure exerted outside and inside his body. Finally, Super 17 places one hand on his chest and unleashes a beam of energy that propels Vegito light years away, triggering an explosion of titanic proportion. This explosion possesses enough power to potentially annihilate multiple universes in one fell swoop. Gogeta exchanges blows against Super 13 while all this happens, and he is completely amazed by those last attacks from Super Android 17, noticing that his power has suddenly grown absurdly. As he continues to strangle Gohan, Campari forms a proud smile on his face as he explains that in addition to being absurdly powerful since his conception, Super Android 17 also has a special mechanism that allows him to absorb the energy of his opponents when receiving attacks, whether physical or energy attacks. This way, Super 17 can increase his power almost unlimitedly. After explaining this, Campari puts even more pressure on Gohan's neck, which is getting closer and closer to breaking. Say goodbye to your life, son of Vegito. However, Gohan is not willing to be subdued so easily. You scoundrel, don't think you're going to defeat me like that. He uses his remaining strength to free himself from Campari's grip, surprising the angel with a sudden release of energy that makes his hand release from his neck and pushes him away. Gohan's energy aura gains a different intensity, and his body begins to undergo some changes. His muscles swell, his speed increases, and his strength reaches an astonishing level. You underestimate the true power of a Saiyan, Gohan proclaims, exuding ferocity in his gaze. Campari is perplexed by this, wondering if Gohan has already managed to evolve his powers and achieve another transformation in such a short period of time. No, it's definitely not a new transformation. The angel concludes after taking a better look. This power that he is releasing now belongs to the same transformation. Only before he was unable to access this power. In other words, the transformation was incomplete. Campari takes his combat stance, preparing for something more serious. In any case, the fact is that he will attack with more power now. Gohan launches a beam of concentrated energy towards Campari. The angel dodges quickly, but the resulting explosion opens a gap. Gohan takes the opportunity to launch a combined attack of punches and kicks, causing Campari to retreat. The exchange of blows continues, but now Gohan shows renewed aggression. Returning from the long distance he traveled, thanks to Super Android 17's attack, Vegito moves at abysmal speed, while girded by a powerful energy aura of destruction. Taken by a murderous fury, the Saiyan reaches the android, waiting for him for a collision of surreal proportions, creating an explosion of impact so brutal that it destroys the fabric of space-time around them, sending them both temporarily to an alternate dimension. In this new dimension, the two strike each other voraciously, with each blow containing a notorious murderous twist, especially Vegeta, who at this moment is almost completely consumed by the power of destruction. As he fights, all he can think about is how, because of Campari, his daughter was hurt and kidnapped, and now his son has to suffer too. Vegito wants that damn angel's blood on his hands, but this android is in the way. In a moment, Super 17 moves away and launches a globe of black energy outlined by intense bursts of red electricity at Vegito. Vegito responds with a Big Bang attack. When the energies collide, the explosion causes that parallel dimension to shake violently. After that, the physical fight continues with a series of attacks and counterattacks, each more powerful than the last. That dimension can barely support this fight anymore, being on the verge of collapse. The Saiyan's attacks hit Super 17 brutally, genuinely damaging the android's body. On the other hand, the stronger the attack he receives, the more Super 17 becomes stronger. At this point, Vegito is consumed by the desire for destruction, to such an extent that he has lost all ability to use Ultra Instinct. Consequently, as he strikes Super 17, he is simultaneously struck by the enemy. With each passing second of the fight, the attacks of both combatants grow stronger and more devastating. As much as he is also suffering from this fight, Super 17 laughs and says, "You idiot. You fell for it hook, line, and sinker, right into Lord Campari's plan. You let negative feelings consume you, and because of that you lost one of your main abilities and became weak." Super 17 lands a solid punch on Vegito's chest, a punch that is so strong that it hits his heartbeat. Realizing this, Super 17 sees an opportunity and smiles. As they continue exchanging blows, Super 17 says that even though he also suffers a lot from this fight, at least he's getting stronger and stronger with each blow he received, in addition to not getting tired because of his infinite energy. On the other hand, Vegito only gets tired and weakens with each passing second. Finally, seeing another gap, the android attacks with a devastating blow, a clear punch to Vegito's heart that would certainly stop the organ from working. But to Super 17's complete shock, Vegito resists this attack incredibly well. At that moment, he takes advantage of the android's fright to hold his arm, and with his other fist, coated in the energy of destruction, impales Super 17 with his arm. Not believing what just happened, Super 17 asks how Vegito had enough resistance to resist his blow like that, and also enough strength to damage his body this way. Vegito responds by explaining that Super 17 is not the only one capable of strengthening himself as he fights and receives attacks. In the same way that you grow stronger as you absorb the energy of my attacks, I also grow stronger as my drive for battle increases, thanks to the desire for destruction that burns in my heart. In other words, while you thought only you got stronger, I got even stronger. Through his arm that pierces Super 17's body, Vegito channels his energy of destruction into the android's body, which begins to inflate bizarrely. Super 17 screams in despair, begging for Vegito's mercy or for help from his master Campari. Facing the enemy mercilessly, Vegito says that nothing and no one will save him from his wrath. Gohan and Campari's clash unfolds in full swing. The evil angel's private dimensions become the stage for an epic battle, where every blow and every blast of energy echoes like thunder. Campari is fascinated by Gohan's bravery and determination, as well as his power. "You're amazing, boy. The more you fight with me, the more you evolve at an excellent pace." I must admit that Saiyans are really fascinating. However, Campari soon regains control of the battle, putting pressure on Gohan, who despite trying hard, is unable to overcome the enemy's advantage. However, angels are still a superior race, Campari concludes. He focuses his energy, forming a glowing sphere in the palm of his hand. With precise movements, he unleashes a devastating energy beam towards Gohan. Initially, Gohan dodges the attack, but Campari's energy beam relentlessly pursues him, eventually striking the patroller. The impact culminates in an overwhelming explosion that fills the sky with a dazzling light show. Gohan falls from the sky unconscious and seriously injured. From a distance, Campari extends his hand to him, preparing the final attack. With his death, I'm sure that Vegito, who is already out of control, will be even more consumed by hatred, and this will weaken him. But Campari's speech is interrupted when an explosion of cosmic proportions invades his dimension. That explosion was the result of Vegito's final attack on Super Android 17, who finally imploded after having his body invaded by an absurd amount of the Saiyan's destructive power. The destructive power of this attack was so surreally great that it ended up destroying the entire dimension where Vegito and Super 17 were, and now it invades Campari's dimension, completely shaking its structures. Campari now contemplates Vegito, who, having finished destroying the android, now turns his full attention to him, displaying immeasurable power. Mouth open, Campari asks how Vegito reached that level with only the power of destruction and excluding Ultra Instinct. He answers, "Haven't you, angels, at this point realized that it's a bad idea to irritate a Saiyan?" Vegito's aura of power expands, and the power released by it is so massive that it makes the angel's heart vibrate with fear. Filled with a thirst for blood and destruction, Vegito says, "Now, angel, suffer the consequences of provoking a Saiyan's fury," in the form of a ray of purple light. Vegito reaches Campari before he can react, delivering a powerful elbow between the angel's chest and pushing him a gigantic distance. While charged by the enemy's blow, Campari vomits his own blood, appalled by his astonishing strength. The fight between Gogeta and Super Android 13 also remains, but now Gogeta is much calmer. It seems like Vegito is motivated enough, and I don't need to worry about Gohan anymore. I can finally concentrate on this guy for real. His body moves with superhuman grace, deftly dodging Super Android 13's precise attacks. Super Android 13 doesn't give up easily. He continues to pressure Gogeta with a string of powerful attacks, combining punches and kicks in quick succession. However, Gogeta, with his incredible dexterity, dodges each blow, demonstrating an unparalleled mastery in the art of dodging. Seeing an opportunity, Gogeta counterattacks. He unleashes a strong blow, channeling a massive amount of energy into his fist, which hits the enemy while also being felt throughout the dimension in the form of an intense tremor. However, Super Android 13 not only resists the blow, but also counterattacks almost simultaneously, proving his great resilience. The fight proceeds frantically, with each punch and kick generating waves of energy that shatter the ground and surrounding structures. Gogeta's expression becomes more serious as he realizes that Super Android 13 is a formidable opponent. The android in turn emits a mechanical laugh, revealing his deep desire to eliminate the one who was responsible for the destruction of his three predecessors. His brute strength and mechanical resistance become evident, leaving Gogeta momentarily surprised. Super 13 throws a powerful punch, which Gogeta blocks with difficulty. The impact makes the fusion warrior recoil a little, astonished by the android's great strength. Super 13 gives the opponent no room to recover and immediately launches a sequence of quick and precise blows, putting Gogeta's agility and skill to the test. This guy really knows my fighting style because of the battle I had against those other three androids. I intentionally prolonged that combat to feign distraction while the other guy captured Bola. As a result, I took too long to finish the battle and ended up revealing my movements. In a peculiar and absolutely surprising move, Super Android 13 blocks a kick from Gogeta, and holding his leg, lands a sharp punch between the Saiyan's legs, who feels the android's hand crush his sensitive region. "Ouch, my balls!" Gogeta yells as he recoils himself with his hand on the affected area. Taking advantage of this trickery move, Super Android 13 moves to Gogeta's back and grabs him, exerting a violent constriction force that begins to crush the Saiyan. Super 13 boasts by saying the following: "I know all of your moves, so even if your fighting style is naturally surprising, it won't affect me." Angered by the blow he just received, Gogeta simply makes his neck rotate in such a way that his head ends up on his back, and then he spits a wave of energy from his mouth that hits Super 13 squarely in the face, forcing the android to free him and move away. After doing this, Gogeta uses a surprising ability where he makes 4 small portals appear around the android. And from each of these portals, a hand comes out, which grabs Super 13's legs and arm. "What skill is this?" the android questions in complete surprise. Gogeta explains, "The data you have about me only refers to the battle I had against androids 13, 14, and 15. However, I have a multitude of powers and abilities that I never used in the fight, since those 3 were insignificant compared to me. Therefore, what you are able to predict is nothing compared to all my techniques." Gogeta makes a sudden movement to open his arms, and in a single pull, the 4 extra hands he created rip off Super 13's arms and legs. After that, Gogeta makes 2 larger arms appear from 2 other portals that surround Super 13 from the sides, and these 2 hands meet him in the middle with a double punch that crushes and shatters the android's entire body. And finally, Gogeta extends one of his hands and completely disintegrates the smallest remaining pieces, making any new reuse impossible. "It was fun while it lasted, but that low blow really pissed me off," he says as he claps both hands together in a cleaning gesture. Campari is carried by Vegito while receiving a barrage of angry attacks from him, finally being hit by a stronger blow that throws him against the ground and makes the angel open a huge crater. In the center of the crater, he agonizes in pain as he stands up. "Damn, this bastard's power is unbelievable! Now I know what Vados suffered at the hands of that bastard." Campari then looks at Gogeta, irritably discovering that Super Android 13 has been destroyed. I already expected that Super 13 wouldn't defeat Gogeta, but I was hoping he would last a little longer. He looks at his fortress and wonders if it's long before Android 21 finishes her work. Vegito lands in the crater opened by Campari, making it clear on his face that despite the many blows he has already landed on the angel, he is still far from satisfied. He keeps his gaze fixed on his opponent while telling Gogeta to go to the fortress and see what's happening. Campari gets irritated by that. He would like to stop Gogeta, but with Vegito in front of him, unfortunately he can't. Gogeta prepares to go to the fortress, which due to his stratospheric speed was less than a second away. However, he gives up going when a super powerful explosion sends that entire entire huge fortress flying, obviously surprising them all. Vegito despairs when he remembers his daughter. No, Bulla was there. That explosion definitely killed her. From the smoke of this explosion, a new being appeared, with the unconscious android 21 in one of its hands, carried by the neck. Contemplating the one who had just appeared, Campari starts laughing. You poor things, you almost succeeded, I admit, but now your defeat is complete. The evil angel screams with joy. Gogeta, despite noticing the differences, knows that being very well. Cell looks down at everyone present on the battlefield, says that the time has come for all of them to feel true despair. Even after all the Saiyans' efforts and the victories they achieved on the battlefield, Campari's plans came true, and Cell Ultra finally awakened. Despite his body being very injured due to the many blows he suffered from Vegito, Campari is filled with joy when he sees the android that has just appeared. Amid laughter, he mocked his enemies, saying that despite all their efforts, in the end his plans ended up coming true. Vegito can only think about his daughter, Bulla, who was inside the fortress. And what Vegito doesn't know is that inside Android 21 is Bulma, his wife, who was absorbed by the android so that her intelligence could be used to finish the Cell Ultra project faster. Gogeta, on the other hand, can tell that Bulma is inside Android 21. When he looks at her, he notices this thanks to Shinken's extremely accurate senses. What the hell is going on here? He wonders. Gogeta already knew Cell thanks to the experiences Goku and Vegeta had with him. But Vegito apparently didn't know Cell, which means that in this dimension, Goku and Vegeta never faced Cell. Vegito begins to release his ki with incredible intensity, emanating his power of destruction with terrifying power. His anger is all directed at Cell, as he asks how this bastard dares to kill his daughter. Even with Vegito showing terrifying power, Cell looks at him with a disdainful smile, and says that someone like him doesn't care about trash. Vegito can't contain his fury. He projects himself towards Cell in an explosion of power, reaching extraordinary speed and preparing an extremely powerful punch. Wait, Vegito! Gogeta screams when he realizes something. As if Android 21 were a piece of trash, Cell throws her away and prepares to receive Vegito's attack head-on. Vegito's punch, carrying titanic power, hits Cell's forearm, generating a gigantic explosion of energy. Gogeta quickly teleports to Android 21 and grabs her to protect himself and the android with an energy shield. After the explosion, Vegito, who was previously completely blinded by his anger and not considering any consequences, now shows an expression of surprise when he sees that his punch was perfectly blocked by Cell without even generating any sign of effort on his face. Intending to provoke Vegito, Cell says that his blow wasn't bad, but that he will need much more than that. Although surprised by the enemy's strength, Vegito does not shy away. He moves away and begins to concentrate even more power, ready to continue the fight. Before Vegito makes any other move, Gogeta comes to his side carrying Android 21 on his lap, and he says that inside this woman's body are Bulma and Bulla. This information positively surprises Vegito, who, now paying attention to the android, actually notices Bulma and Bulla's ki in her. Why are they inside this android? Vegito asks. Campari heads to Cell's side and then answers Vegito's question. I have a lot to thank that woman called Bulma, because it was thanks to her that Android 21 had enough intelligence to finish Cell Ultra. And not only was she able to finish Cell much faster, she also finished him even more powerful than I imagined. But after saying these things, Campari becomes thoughtful and admits, about that Saiyan girl inside 21, I frankly don't know why, since her only use would be to give your genes to Cell Ultra, so there was no reason to save her. When Campari raises this question about Bulla, Cell says that at the moment he was finished, the accumulation of energy was so great that an explosion was inevitable. But for some reason the android didn't want to allow Bulla to die, so instead of her running away, she simply absorbed the girl to keep her protected inside her body. This makes Campari curious, but Gogeta already understands everything and says that Bulma's consciousness inside the android certainly made her save Bulla. He explains it better. I've never seen this woman in my life that you call Android 21, but she seems to have similar genes to Majin Buu, and from what I know about Majin Buu's absorption technique, he also ends up acquiring part of consciousness and feeling from whom he absorbed. In other words, when she absorbed Bulma, this android ended up not only inheriting her intelligence, but some of her feelings as well. Gogeta says that he is a little curious to know more about this unknown woman, and also how an android that has Majin Buu's genes came to be. However, that can be left for later, since at this moment, they have more important things to focus on. For now, the only thing that matters is that Bulla and Bulma are safe, and also the enemies in front of us. he completes. Gogeta makes Android 21 disappear from his arms with a teleport, sending her to another dimension. Then he does the same for Gohan, pointing his hand in the direction of the area where he had fallen, defeated after the fight against Campari, and using distance teleportation to get him out of there. Vegito is very relieved to know that his daughter and wife are safe, but one thing still intrigues him a lot. The only thing that sticks in my head is the part where the angel talks about Bola giving my genes to this guy, he says. Looking closely at Cell, Gogeta realizes that many different genes make up his structure, and it seems that among the many genetic data present in this android, Vegito's are included. It appears that the purpose of your daughter's kidnapping was to give this android your genetics, Gogeta says. This angers Vegito, who says that Campari will pay for this. Campari magically summons his staff, and using its magic, completely heals himself from all the injuries that Vegito had caused to his body. After doing this, the angel says that now Cell Ultra is ready. They can no longer stop his plans, since Cell's power surpasses even that of the angel. Looking closely at the android, Gogeta realizes that he also has angel gene. Did you give him your genes too? What is the point of this? Gogeta asks, surprised. The angel says that he doesn't need to tell them his plans, since they won't even live to see it. From one moment to the next, Cell attack. The first target is Vegito, who receives both of the android's feet in the middle of his chest, and he is pushed very far away. Next up is Gogeta, who is attacked with an ultra-powerful punch, which he blocks with both arms, but is charged with Cell's hands, pressing his arms against his chest. With Gogeta's arms pressed against his chest, Cell sees his upper body vulnerable, and he takes this chance to deliver a slashing blow to chop Gogeta's head off, but is completely surprised when Gogeta shrinks his head into the body as if he were a turtle. And Cell's astonishment is even greater when Gogeta makes his head appear from inside his own chest to shoot a wave of energy from his mouth that hits the android directly in the middle of the chest. But the person who is also impressed is Gogeta, when Cell opens a hole in his own body to let the energy wave fired by him pass straight through. At the same time that Cell's body returns to normal, Gogeta's head also returns to its place. The way you distorted your body, that's Majin Buu's ability, isn't it? Gogeta asks. Yes, Android 21's genes is also present in my body. Cell Ultra responds and then asks, but what about you? I have Saiyan genes in my body, and as far as I know, Saiyans are not capable of doing what you just did. Gogeta explains, normally Saiyans don't do this. However, I am an exception. I possess a special knowledge called Shinken, which gives me such enhanced control over my own ki that I am able to do almost anything with my body and energy. When Cell hears this, he becomes very curious and says that Gogeta seems to be a very interesting opponent. Taken by this excitement, Cell says he wants to see how far this special knowledge called Shinken goes. As he concentrates his energy, Cell catches Gogeta's attention when he begins to reflect a bluish glow on his body, which soon after manifests itself in the form of a powerful aura of blue energy, which Gogeta immediately recognizes as being Super Saiyan Blue. Can you use divine transformations? Incredible! He exclaims, excited. Seized by great fury, Vegito returns to Cell, flying at full speed and ready to land a direct blow on him. But Gogeta stops him by getting in his way. When Gogeta does this, Vegito gets very angry and asks him what he is doing. Gogeta says that he will fight Cell and that Vegito should focus on Campari and avenge the kidnapping of his wife and daughter. Even though he's a little reluctant, Vegito ends up agreeing. When Vegito starts flying towards Campari, Cell tries to stop him by teleporting in front of him and throwing a punch at the Saiyan. However, Gogeta also makes a teleportation, going in front of Cell to hold his punch and then taking them both away with the teleportation. With that, Vegito heads towards the angel with a very strong punch, but which Campari defends by interjecting with his forearm. Get ready, Angel, because I'm going to make you suffer a lot for what you did to Bola and Bulma, the Saiyan threatens. That's what we're going to see, the Angel responds. After Campari blocked his punch, Vegito starts pressing his fist against the Angel's forearm, who, despite being trembling, maintains his defense. Vegito and Campari push against each other, in the process releasing energy from their bodies that spreads throughout the environment, making that dimension shake. The Saiyan's energy taken by the power of destruction is purple in color. The Angel's energy is white. The pressure exerted by the two reaches a peak, which causes an explosion of impact that pushes both away. But soon after they return, finding themselves in an exchange of frenetic blows. Vegito's fists full of fury explode against Campari's body, who, as best he can, uses the technical smoothness of Ultra Instinct to parry the enemy's blow. But Vegito's hatred is too intense for Campari to maintain the frank exchange of attacks, so he retreats in a flash and then fires a wave of power against the enemy, who was already chasing him. Vegito is also quick to respond with a wave of power causing white and purple energy to meet and self-destruct in an explosion of cosmic scales, which causes the walls of that dimension to rupture. Kari takes advantage of the luminous spectacle generated by the explosion to move quickly to Vegito's back and hit him in the back of the head with a precise and very strong blow. Vegito is stunned by this attack, but he still manages to quickly turn around to land a direct kick to Kari's abdomen, who has the air knocked out by the force of that blow. Vegito then tries to take advantage of this opportunity to hit Kari in the face with another kick, but he misses the attack and is then counterattacked when the angel avoids his foot and hits him with a kick straight to the neck. Choking, he retreats only to be hit in the chest by an advancing punch from the angel, but Vegito receives his blow with resilience and retaliates with a punch to the jaw that launches Kari into the air, to then explode a globe of energy launched against the angel's body. Kari spins through the air due to the force of the explosion, while Vegito advances towards him, preparing another attack, and saying that the more blows he receives, the stronger his body will become. However, before the Saiyan launches the next attack, the angel summons his staff, and using magic, tears the fabric of space-time in front of him in such a way that Vegito's punch enters that temporal rift instead of hitting him. Kari takes advantage of this distraction and then moves towards Vegito and hits him with a very strong kick. "Don't forget, you ignorant Saiyan, an angel has not only raw power, but also magic," he says. After Gogeta teleports him and Cell to another dimension, they waste no time and start fighting at an intense pace, each trying powerful blows against each other. Cell says that it was useless for Gogeta to take him away from Kari, as he could return there in an instant, since he also has teleportation. However, Gogeta disagrees and says that Cell's teleportation must be as effective as Vegito's instant transmission. If this is the case, Cell has a problem, as Vegito's teleportation is inferior to his, as he has this technique enhanced to the extreme by Shinken, while Vegito does not. "If you doubt me, try," he challenges the android. Cell accepts the challenge, moving away from Gogeta and starting to concentrate to feel Vegito's ki and teleport to where he is. At that moment, he realizes that Gogeta is right. "In fact, I'm not able to feel his ki. You brought me to a really distant dimension, didn't you? You are a cunning fox, I must admit that." However, Cell tells Gogeta that because of the Saiyan genes in his body and also from other species, he's able to evolve very quickly. This means that perhaps he will soon be able to increase his powers and improve his teleportation. Gogeta says that he knows this very well, since in his dimension, Goku and Vegeta faced Cell and witnessed this android's incredible evolutionary capacity. "That's why I took you away from the angel, because you're a separate problem," Gogeta explains. Cell smiles and says that Gogeta is digging his own grave. Super Saiyan Blue's bright blue aura surrounds the android's body as he advances without hesitation. Gogeta stands still to receive the enemy's blow, a powerful knee that he defends with his own knee, letting a vibrational wave accompanied by large electrical blasts spread around them. Gogeta loses this dispute, being pressured by Cell's strength and pushed by the synthetic warrior, who in the form of flashes of blue energy forces him to retreat as he executes attacks at a speed that exceeds the speed of light thousands of times. Cell's energy is impressive, and with each blow of his that Gogeta needs to defend, he feels the impact of the attacks invade his body, hitting muscles, bones, and internal organs. The android's energy is so dense that it takes over the entire environment, making Gogeta feel very oppressed towards him. But the pressure is only truly felt when Cell's punch hits directly in the middle of Gogeta's chest, who feels his lungs and heart being crushed by the android's fist. The pressure from the punch is so powerful that the energy from the impact passes through Gogeta's body and creates an explosion of air behind him. Blood pours out of his mouth. Gogeta really felt the power of that blow. The reaction, however, is quick, with the Saiyan now releasing his Shinken power, which, when released, shocks Cell to the point of making the android move away in fright. "This power, for some reason I don't understand it, but I feel a great danger coming from it," Cell reveals. However, after thinking better, he says, "Actually, the memories present in Vegito's genes communicate something to me about this power. That's the Shinken transformation, right? It's definitely amazing." Even though he already knew what it was about, Cell was not intimidated, releasing the blue energy even more intensely, but this time with something more that impressed Gogeta. Simultaneously with the blue energy, a golden glow shines. "I know that. It's Frieza's power." Gogeta recognizes it. Pointing his staff high, Campari forms a vortex of light, which, while rotating above Vegito like a gear wheel, rains down thousands of energy shots on him. With a rain of energy in the form of light falling on him, Vegito promptly responds with a final flash, soaked in the energy of destruction. The single gigantic shot of purple energy swallows the sequential shots of white energy, but Campari is incisive, this time attacking by firing several light lasers from his staff that approach Vegito, snaking through the air in a way that surrounds him. With shots coming from all sides, Vegito simply spreads his power of destruction throughout the surroundings in the form of an explosion, also getting rid of these attacks. Campari's next attempt is more successful. This time he forms a magical chain with his staff, which, when thrown against Vegito, ensnares him. Once the Saiyan is trapped in his bond, Campari creates a huge globe of pure power with his energy and launches it at him. Vegito exerts colossal strength to free himself from the magical bond, reaching the point of breaking it, but not fast enough to avoid the globe of energy, which hits him, culminating in an explosion on a cosmic scale, powerful enough to distort all laws of the dimension, creating countless fissures in the walls of reality and generating a gigantic black hole that exudes tremendous force. After that explosion, an apocalyptic scenario takes over that particular dimension of Campari, which, even though it is much more resistant than a common dimension, is not withstanding the full power of that battle. Vegito, on the other hand, despite having received that explosion in full, manages to exit the black hole and only suffer medium severity injuries. Not bad, but it's going to take more than that to kill me, he says. Campari feels frustrated. He really put a lot of power into that attack. However, the angel responds by saying that he still has a lot of power to use. Gogeta's expression changes, now marked by surprise at the revelation of the influence of Frieza's power on Cell's improved technique. The golden aura mixed with that blue energy created a formidable combination, further increasing the pressure on the battlefield. Cell, with an arrogant smile, advances towards Gogeta again, revealing incredible speed that defies comprehension. He launches a series of quick and precise attacks, combining punches, kicks, and blasts of golden blue energy, keeping Gogeta under constant pressure. Blue energy causes a feeling of balance and ferocity at the same time, combining the essence of the Saiyan's divine power and battle spirit. At the same time, the golden energy emanates an intimidating aura, as if it were a manifestation of Frieza's evil essence. As the asteroid's tireless attacks are launched against Gogeta, Cell's voice echoes across the battlefield. The fusion of different life forms has granted me not only the strength of the Saiyans, but also the cunning of Frieza and much more. You face an opponent who transcends the barriers of a single race, Gogeta. However, Gogeta's response is sharp, finding an opening in Cell's attacks to land an overwhelming punch, energized by Shinken power. A blow that surprises Cell as it shatters the android's chest and arm. Cell steps back, a little scared. The Shinken aura takes over Gogeta's body. As he says that, in fact, Cell has overcome the barriers of a single race. However, he also did this, reaching a higher level with his Shinken, using the ability of Majin Buu or any other race with regenerative powers whose genes are present in him. Cell restores the part of his body that was just destroyed, and even though he received this very strong blow that was capable of destroying part of his body, he advances again against the enemy without showing any fear. As the two exchange intense and powerful blows again, Gogeta notices that Cell's body has already strengthened, indicating the android's incredible capacity for evolution and learning. As their blows generate intense reverberations throughout that dimension, reality begins to change around them, creating things like random color scales, reversal of directions, and distortion of shape. At a moment when one's fist and another's elbow collide, an explosion of impact transports them simultaneously to another dimension, with a sequence of punches so fast that they appear in trails of light. Gogeta shatters almost Cell's entire body, leaving only his head intact. Gogeta fires an energy blast to destroy Cell's head and put an end to him, but the android is quick to teleport his head away from the attack and get the fraction of a second needed to regenerate his entire body. After regeneration, Cell advances at an even greater speed, even surpassing Gogeta a little, who, to avoid an enemy's punch directly in his face, creates an energy barrier to stop the blow. Cell moves away, concentrates a high amount of golden energy in one hand, a high amount of blue energy in the other, fires both intertwined in an energy torrent that contains enormous power. When Cell's attack collides with Gogeta's barrier, it creates an explosion so huge that their energy occupies that entire dimension and completely destroys it, taking them both to another alternative place. After being transported to this other dimension, Gogeta looks for his enemy until he sees Cell approaching at an extremely high speed in the form of blue and gold reflection. Gogeta welcomes the approaching enemy with a powerful kick, which Cell responds to by turning his body in a tornado of light and also finishing with a kick. Their legs cross in an explosion of blue, yellow, and white energy as another dimensional wall breaks with a single shot. After this collision, they move away from each other. Gogeta shows some surprise in his expression. Cell, on the other hand, shows an unshakable, confident expression. You are truly powerful, Gogeta, but there is something you still don't understand. Evolution is inherent in me. With the genetics of Saiyans and Frieza, I can overcome any adversity and evolve with extraordinary speed. With these words, Cell unleashes an even more impressive blast of energy, causing the golden and blue aura to intensify. But now the golden aura gives way to dense black energy. Is that Frieza's black form? Gogeta wonders, impressed that Cell can already use this power. The black and blue energy begins to mix into a powerful whirlwind, revealing a frightening power on Cell's part. Gogeta, aware of the gravity of the situation, concentrated on increasing his own power even further. Campari's private dimension is in ruins, filled with fissures in the walls of reality, with the presence of a gigantic black hole exuding tremendous force. As if these catastrophes weren't bad enough, Vegito and Campari continue to cause more absurd events thanks to the supernatural scale combat they wage. In a frantic moment, they travel through the entire dimension at such a speed that it appears to be the garden of a simple house, going round and round in the gigantic reality as if the distance of billions of light years were nothing. As they exchange attack, Campari's disadvantage becomes more and more evident. Using the incredible technical mastery of Ultra Instinct, he manages to escape many of Vegito's attacks and carry out precise and forceful counterattacks. But the problem is that Vegito, girded by the power of destruction and dominated by the warrior fury of the Saiyan race, manages to strengthen more and more, with his warrior spirit and his thirst for destruction being the only fuels needed for him to evolve more and more in battle. To try to compensate for the inferiority in the physical and energy confrontation, Campari tries to resort to magical abilities using his staff, but even this is not being as effective, as Vegito is increasingly adapting to the angel's magical techniques. Campari doesn't deal well with the disadvantage, and it starts to affect his psychology. How is this possible? The angel asks in a loud voice. You are not even using the power of Ultra Instinct. Therefore, it is incomplete. But even so, you still manage to overcome my power. How is this possible? Finally reaching the angel with a punch of overwhelming power that buries his hand in his stomach, Vegito responds, the answer is simple. I am far superior to you. After that response, Campari just goes crazy. You disgraced worm. How dare you? The angel, summoning his staff again, unexpectedly uses it to strike Vegito. Surprised by this, Vegito begins to receive blows from the angel's staff, who uses this magical and sacred object as a stick. While beating the Saiyan who dared to offend him, Campari screams hysterically in a mixture of hatred and despair. However, Vegito manages to react, countering one of Campari's movements by kicking the staff and throwing it away, then grabbing the angel by the hair and pulling him towards him, landing a punch right in the middle of Campari's face, whose beautiful angelic face is crushed by the Saiyan's fist. Vegito doesn't stop with the first punch, still holding the opponent by the hair with one hand. With the other, he punches in sequence, landing extremely strong punches straight to Campari's face, who is stunned to the point of not even being able to react. At the same time as he deforms his enemy's face with his furious fist, Vegito tells Campari that it doesn't matter if he's an angel. No one messes with his family and goes unpunished. Satisfied with punches to the face, Vegito now accumulates a portion of energy in his hand, only to then hit Campari in the face with his energy, causing a small explosion and sending the angel away. Campari goes to the ground. He now has a very different physiognomy, with his once smooth skin now showing crack from which blood oozes in abundance. His once perfect face now completely deformed, his once arrogant expression now showing great pain and suffering. Staggering, Campari manages to get up. I need to heal myself again, immediately, he thinks as he extends his hands to summon his staff again. But there's no time, because as soon as the staff reaches his hand, Vegito simultaneously arrives with a devastating blow in a low flight, shattering the angel's chest, crossing his arm with one hand. The pain is so great that Campari drops the staff that just arrived in his hand, with his chest and mouth squirting his divine blood. When Vegito removes his arm in an abrupt jerk, the angel falls to his knees. The combination of pain, shock, and shortness of breath prevents him from even being able to speak. Campari remains with his eyes wide and rolled back, a look of someone who is already on the verge of death. Vegito points one of his hands at him and says, "It's good that with this, you, angels, learn not to mess with my family anymore." With a concentrated Hakai, Vegito definitively eliminates Campari from existence, making the powerful and proud angel less than dirt. After the battle is won, he sighs with relief and also satisfaction. When he looks at the sky, feeling a power so colossal that it reaches him even though he is in dimensions away. As Gogeta, Shinken, and Black Cell Super Saiyan Blue battle unfolds, the battlefield has become a storm of power, with energies colliding in a spectacle of light and shadow. The combat continued, with each blow shaping the imminent outcome of a fight that challenged the limits of power and evolution. Cell continued to develop, achieving perfect harmony between the Saiyan divine power and the power that comes from Frieza. And in addition to these powers, Gogeta could also feel different types of ki in him, which came from a gigantic mixture of races whose genes were inserted into him. This cell was very different from the two types of cell that were created on the Earth in Gogeta's dimension. This cell had a much greater genetic wealth, indicating that Campari collected genes from multiple realities, making a detailed genetic crossing with the intention of creating a perfect warrior. To make matters worse, this cell's genetic data was collected in realities where beings are much more powerful than in the reality from which Gogeta comes. The power of the Frieza that Cell uses, for example, is infinitely superior to the power of the Frieza from Gogeta's dimension. In other words, Gogeta now has the ultimate android as his opponent. Cell becomes more powerful every moment, managing to adapt very well to Gogeta's combat style and power. On the other hand, Gogeta also increases his power more and more as his opponent gets stronger. Attack of 1,000 fists! Gogeta shouts the name of a technique. Suddenly, a gigantic number of hands made of pure energy materialize around him, and they all go towards Cell, who, surprised by this, at first only manages to shrink like a turtle in a shell, thus receiving in all directions Gogeta's multiple energy fist attack. Tired of receiving those blows, Cell releases his power in the form of an explosion of black and blue energy, wiping out of existence all the energy fists that had been created by Gogeta. But when Cell destroys the fists that surround him, he can see a fist of planetary proportions coming towards him, carrying a power superior to 1,000 others. Cell is hit squarely by this punch that is strong enough to generate an impact so monstrous that it destroys the entire dimension they are in at that moment. After receiving this punch head-on, Cell's body is crumbled like a cockroach after taking a good blow. The grotesque sight of Cell completely crumbled doesn't last long as he makes his body recover. Gogeta comes to him and asks if Cell is ready for more. The android's response does not come with words, but with a new release of power, this time with his aura of blue and black energy disappearing to give way to the energy of Ultra Instinct. Cell intends to take this fight to another level now. Gogeta notices that this Ultra Instinct that Cell has seems to be different from his or Vegito's. Cell's Ultra Instinct seems more pure. I already understand, as you have Campari's genes. An angel, you can access the purest form of instinct, Gogeta deduces. Forming a proud smile on his face, Cell confirms his deduction. But speaking of Campari, you still don't realize what happened to him, do you? Gogeta interrupts the subject to ask. With his ability to sense ki raised to higher levels by Shinken, Gogeta was able to feel everything that happened in the fight between Campari and Vegito. Cell, on the other hand, had not yet developed his ability to sense ki to this point. Your lord and creator is dead. Vegito destroyed him once and for all, Gogeta informs the android. Cell remains thoughtful for a few seconds and then says, "Well, I was programmed to hold my creator in high esteem, so I'm not happy about that. And I wish I could have helped him. On the other hand, I don't feel sad either." To Gogeta's surprise, Cell stops releasing energy, returns to his base form. Gogeta asks what happened and says that this fight is far from over. Cell responds by saying that it would be a lot of fun to take this fight to the end, but it will be much better if they can face each other another time. He justifies it by explaining the following. "You see, Gogeta, as much as I am a great genius, the truth is that I was born just a few minutes ago, so I'm not used to my powers yet. It would be much better if I had time to discover more about myself and develop myself, so we could have a perfect fight. Don't you think?" Faced with these arguments from Cell, Gogeta is forced to agree. You're right. The fight would be much more exciting if you developed your skills more. The truth is that despite using my Shinken form, I'm still a long way from using my maximum power, and obviously the fight would be much better and more challenging if I had the need to raise my power to the limit. Cell laughs at Gogeta and says it looks like they speak the same language. The language of Saiyan warriors. Apparently you understand me, so let me go. and I promise that when we fight again, I will give you the most perfect fight of your life, Cell promises. Gogeta is a little thoughtful, wondering if he should let this happen or not, until in the end he lets his passion for fighting speak louder and fulfills Cell's request, allowing him to go. Cell thanks him and says he won't regret it. Besides Gogeta, it may be that our goals coincide, and at some point we may find ourselves as allies, not enemies, Cell says, leaving a mystery in the air, and then he disappears with a teleport. Allies, huh? Gogeta reflects, intrigued on those words. After the battle, Gogeta returns to Campari's private dimension, which at this point is on the verge of total collapse. Vegito asks him what happened to Cell, and Gogeta just says that he ran away and that he couldn't stop it. Vegito is a little suspicious of this answer, since he knows about Gogeta's transcendental capabilities, but he doesn't insist on questioning. Gogeta then goes to the dimension where he sent Gohan and Android 21 to bring them back. After that, he takes them back to the great universe, more specifically to the world of the god. Using forced spirit fission, Gogeta separates Android 21 from Bulma and Bulla, easily undoing the absorption. When he does this, everyone is very surprised, since Gogeta has faced other fusions since arriving in this reality, such as Vegito himself. But he didn't use this ability. Gogeta explains everything, saying that in the case of Fricolo, the fusion of Frieza and Piccolo from another dimension, he didn't use forced spirit fission, simply because he didn't want to, as it wouldn't be any fun fighting them without the power of this fusion. But in Vegito's case, Gogeta says that for some reason, he's not able to undo the fusion. He theorizes that perhaps his ability doesn't work on beings from Vegito's dimension. In short, due to some curious circumstance involving the weird laws of parallel reality, I can't seem to undo fusions from your reality, Vegito. On the other hand, I can undo fusions of beings from another reality if I wish, like this android, and also Fricolo. Of course, this messes with Vegito's head, and he doesn't even try to understand much, so as not to become more confused. The important thing for him is that Bulma and Bulla are now fine. They wonder what to do with Android 21. Chamra says he will keep her trapped in his castle to try to get some information about the other angel. Nobody objects. Vegeta remembers that Gogeta was able to track Bulla to Campari's private dimension because he felt her power so intensely, and then asks if he isn't able to track Vados, Whis, and Cell since he also felt their power with intensity. Gogeta says no, and explains that Cell and the angels hide their energy traces much better than Bulla, so finding them won't be that easy. Vegito is not discouraged and guarantees that at some point, these angels will falter, and that will be the time when they will all be destroyed. Gogeta agrees with him, but says that for now they can just relax a little. Because of the good progress in controlling his powers that Gohan demonstrated in the fight against Super Android 16 and Campari, Vegito decided that his son is ready to return to his work as a galactic patroller, as long as they continue training sometimes, since Gohan clearly still has a lot to improve. With Gohan's return to work, Bulla was able to come back to her duties with Bulma in the patrol's technology wing, although she developed a certain taste for battles and agreed to carry out some missions in the field from time to time. After having her combat robot massacred by Super Android 17, Bulma is determined to make even better battle machines and accessories. She also had to work together with Bulla to repair the Galactic Patrol base that was badly damaged by Super 17, and assured Commander Jaco that she would make better battle equipment for him. Vegito and Gogeta also resume normal activities, returning to deal with the occurrences that appear throughout the universe. In the secret fortress of the evil angels, the angel Rum walks the corridors in distress. The reason for her distress is the recent death of her brother, Campari, who is the second to be killed by the Saiyans. Suddenly, Rum notices something strange coming from one of the places in the fortress, more specifically from Vados' room. But she finds this strange, since days ago Vados mysteriously left the fortress to carry out some plan that had to do with the Saiyans. Rum wastes no time and goes to the Vados room, and when she arrives she meets her sister again, who has a radiant expression, exuding a Machiavellian joy that Rum hasn't seen her have for a long time. Rum asks Vados what she did after so many days away, and why she's so happy. Vados responds with a certain mischief in her voice, saying that she has met some interesting people. Rum notices that at the back of the large hall, hidden in the shadows, were the silhouettes of 3 people. She asks who these people are, and when the 3 of them take a few steps forward to get out of the shadows, Rum is very surprised by what she sees. When her sister sees her guests, Vados says that she is now sure that Vegito and his companions will be destroyed. Vegito and Gogeta are currently in the world of the gods, the world that is divided between the part of the god of creation Zamasu and the part of the god of destruction Chamras. They are on the side that belongs to the god of destruction, training his 2 sons. Gogeta is training young Beerus, while Vegito is training young Champa. The two Saiyans train the Hakaishin's two sons through light combat, but full of martial arts lessons. Chamrus watches everything from a little distance, with Daishinkan by his side. The Destroyer comments that training with Vegito and Gogeta is having an effect on his children, as they are progressing much more than when they train alone or with him. Daishinkan justifies this by saying that listening to different lessons almost always helps a lot with progression. Chamrus comments that in the last few days there haven't been many jobs for Gogeta and Vegito, so they are trying to find all possible ways to kill time. Daishinkan agrees and states that since Gohan has evolved his powers, he has been able to handle some cases that would naturally be given to Gogeta and Vegito, thus reducing their need. Moreover, to complicate matters further, Gohan is also receiving assistance in some cases, aid from someone who recently discovered a love for battle. A high-level battle takes place in one of the parts of the great universe. Gohan and Bulla are currently fighting on a planet against a troop of formidable warriors who not only stand out for their combat power, but also for their improved vision with a red eye and great shooting skills. Gohan and Bulla are facing inhabitants of planet Serial from another dimension, but they don't know the members of this race. Furthermore, these Serial inhabitants are different from those in the original dimension. These Serial people are immensely stronger than those in the original dimension, and they are also bad people. Gohan and Bulla need to exchange blows with several Cerealians at the same time, which surround them, attacking from all sides. But they also need to pay attention to the snipers who lie in wait and fire when they see the chance. And Gohan and Bulla need to dodge to avoid being hit in a vital point by the energy shots. Gohan is transformed into a Super Saiyan while Bulla is transformed into Super Saiyan 2. Gohan is very tired, as he has already dealt with many cases that day, and that is why he is staying in Super Saiyan to save as much energy as possible. Bulla, on the other hand, isn't as tired as Gohan, but she wants to avoid using Super Saiyan 3 because she knows she'll lose energy very quickly if she uses this transformation. The leader of these invaders from another dimension is a very peculiar Cerealian. It is a person who has half the body of a man and the other half of a woman. The man is Granola and the woman is Muesli. It is an evil version of both, called Gracely. Gracely gives commands to his soldiers as they attack Gohan and Bulla without stopping in a synchronized manner. The Cerealian leader gives orders from a certain distance while his soldiers fight against the patrolling Saiyans. The reason Gohan and Bulla are there is because this group of Cerealians recently appeared in their dimension. They just attacked this planet where they are fighting and eliminating the entire population of that place to make it their new planet. Bulla ends up being injured by one of those shots, being grazed in the arm and suffering a medium-depth wound. Gohan tells Bulla that they can no longer continue in this situation and they need to end this fight as quickly as possible. He asks Bulla to use Super Saiyan 3 to hold off all these enemies, and in the meantime he goes to the leader. Bulla says that if they increase their powers, they will get tired very quickly. Gohan says that this won't be a problem as long as they end this fight quickly. Bulla ends up agreeing with him and transforms into Super Saiyan 3. When Bulla transforms, she begins to move at incredible speed across the battlefield, zigzagging between enemies and firing various attacks at them, whether physical or energy attacks. With this frantic movement, Bulla manages to copy all the enemies, and Gohan takes advantage of this distraction from the soldiers to advance against the leader, Gracely, while at the same time raising his power to beast form. Noticing Gohan's approach, Gracely points his fingers at him and begins to fire several energy shots, but they are useless in stopping the Saiyan, who reaches him with a very well-placed kick. But it is defended. After blocking Gohan's kick with both hands, Gracely, using Muesli's mouth, fires a blast of energy at Gohan, who moves in a spin to avoid this shot, going to Granola's side to try a punch, but Granola shoots a laser from his eyes that would hit a precise spot and stop Gohan's heart if he didn't escape to the side at the right time. Gracely starts a series of attacks against Gohan, who responds in kind and then even stands out against the opponent with his fast, strong, and skillful blows. Finding the right moment for a definitive attack, Gohan hits Gracely in the chest with an energy attack that impales the evil Cerealian. But that was just a clone. Meanwhile, the real Gracely reveals himself in the distance, his hands poised as if holding a bow and arrow. He then unleashes a tremendously powerful energy blast, tearing through space-time as it hurls towards Gohan. However, Gohan is quick to extend his arms and form a rotating ki shield in front of him that stops Gracely's attack. After doing so, Gohan hurls his shield, which spins towards Gracely like a slicing energy disc, cleaving him in half with a vertical cut that separates granola from muesli. Then Gohan teleports between them, extending a hand to each half and disintegrating both with a wave of energy fired from each hand. After they see their leader, Gracely, being completely decimated, the evil Ceruleans go into despair, and then Bola takes this opportunity to concentrate all the power of her Super Saiyan 3 and release this energy all at once, in an explosion that destroys all of them. After this attack, Bola can't stand it because she's so tired and returns to her base form. Gohan, relieved that the fight was over, also regresses to his base form. He was about to go back to where his half-sister was, but suddenly a very dense fog took over that place, to the point where he could barely see a foot in front of him. Gohan first wonders if this sudden fog is a characteristic of that place, but he later realizes that the source of it is magic, and not a natural event. Gohan screams for Bola when suddenly he sees a silhouette appear nearby. This person soon reveals himself to be a complete stranger to Gohan. "Who are you?" he asks, alarmed. "You'll soon find out." The strange man responds, exuding evil in his smile. Bola, who is also blinded by this dense fog, calls for her brother, Gohan. She doesn't have to look far to see a shadow appear in the fog. This shadow soon reveals itself to be Gohan. However, he looks a little different, as he is wearing another outfit and also has a more serious and malicious expression. Gogeta and Vegito are in the world of the gods when Vegito's dimensional radar starts beeping, and at the same time Gogeta feels 3 very powerful energies appear in the great universe. The two meet at the same time and realize that 2 very powerful beings have just appeared near Gohan and Bola, while at another very distant point, a third person has appeared. Vegito doesn't need to think twice before deciding to go and see who's messing with his kids. Gogeta agrees with him and says he will go after the other guy. The two teleport at the same time. Gogeta arrives in a very remote region of space, which is currently full of cosmic anomalies, such as black holes forming and stars exploding. What a strange thing! The energy present in this place is so dense and evil that it is shaking the entire cosmic balance. Gogeta notices tensely. Looking ahead, he sees the person responsible for this emerging. Surrounded by dense red energy and expressing genuine evil, Goku appears. Seeing that, Gogeta is obviously surprised. Looking a little afraid at Gohan, who appeared in front of her, Bola asks who he is. Gohan's response is a shot of energy that would certainly completely destroy Bola if it weren't for Vegito appearing in front of her with a teleport and punching the attack away. In a distant place in the great universe, the structure of an entire solar system is shaken only by the presence of a single being, who, even without trying, is surrounded by an aura of red energy that exudes immeasurable evil. This person is Goku, but a totally different Goku than everyone knows. Looking closely at this Goku, Gogeta notices that he is not a fake version, like Goku Black, but a real Goku that has a completely evil nature. This Goku, whose ki is full of evil, greets Gogeta, who looks at him with great surprise. "I can feel that inside you there is someone very similar to me." The evil being comments, "Yes, I am composed by the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. My name is Gogeta." Giving Gogeta a top-to-bottom look, the alternate Goku says the following, "Well, if you are the result of a fusion of an alternate version of me and an alternate version of Vegeta, I can only conclude that the Goku and Vegeta from your dimension were very weak." Gogeta almost doesn't believe it when he hears this, and responds by saying that he underestimates himself. "Given your nature, I will call you Evil Goku. Any problems with that?" Gogeta asks the enemy while taking his combat stance. "You can call me whatever you want," the now nicknamed Evil Goku responds. After the nickname is accepted by the opponent, Gogeta says, "Let's see if you'll still find the Goku and Vegeta that make me weak after feeling my power." Gogeta discharges a wave of energy against Evil Goku, who to his surprise repels this discharge of power only by raising his ki when transforming into a Super Saiyan, emanating a red aura so powerful that it makes Gogeta's energy disappear as it touches it. "What?" Gogeta exclaims in shock. While he displays red energy exuding power and evil, Evil Goku reveals hair as red as blood. A Super Saiyan form completely different from anything Gogeta has ever seen. "It's my turn," says the evil Saiyan as he moves in the blink of an eye towards Gogeta, landing a sharp blow on his abdomen. Gogeta receives this attack with great surprise, but is quick to respond with a blow which is defended by Evil Goku and counterattack. So in an instant, they begin a fierce exchange of blows while moving. Vegito is standing between the strange version of Gohan that emerged and his daughter Bola, who the enemy just tried to kill. "Damn, who are you?" he asked, irritated when he looks at the face of someone who looks like his son. The mysterious Gohan's response to raise his ki to the level of Super Saiyan God and fire an energy sphere at Vegito. Vegito advances towards him, meeting the attack to repel with a punch while transforming into a Super Saiyan God, and then reaching the mysterious Gohan with another punch. In a reaction that Vegito didn't expect, Gohan reaches out to him with both hands and throws him against the ground using telekinesis. After that, he gains altitude with a jump and magically summoning a huge metal cube, launches it at the fallen Saiyan. The cube hits Vegito, crushing him against the ground and opening a crater while pushing him to the center of that planet. After this attack, a gigantic hole is opened in the planet's ground, through which the mysterious Gohan flies over. But this hole is filled soon after, when Vegito's energy rises in the form of a pillar of power, filling this crater and reaching Gohan in the sky. The mysterious Gohan dodges this attack that comes from the ground, and then needs to turn around to counter Vegito's attack, holding the fusion warrior by the wrist when his hand was just a few centimeters from his chest. However, Vegito opens his hand that the mysterious Gohan holds, and his energy sword comes out of his hand, piercing the enemy's body. After a huge hole is opened in his body by Vegito's ki sword, the mysterious Gohan lets go of him and walks away. How about it, huh? You scoundrel. It's harder to deal with me than attacking a little girl, right? Vegito asks in a teasing tone. The mysterious Gohan says he didn't expect Vegito to pierce the body of someone who looked like his son so easily. Vegito responds by saying the following: I'm not an inexperienced kid. I know very well how to differentiate my son from an enemy. I assure you that using Gohan's face won't help you at all. On the contrary, it will only serve to make me angrier. Unexpectedly, the mysterious Gohan smiles when he hears this, saying that it's fun to see that he's not dealing with an amateur. And even more unexpected is the instant healing that he presents afterwards, making that wound disappear instantly. It looks like you know some interesting tricks. It won't be as quick as I thought, Vegito comments, and then asks his opponent's name. Well, in my world, they call me Gohan Black. And you can call me that too, answers the mysterious Gohan. The self-appointed Gohan Black advances in his transformation, now showing Super 7 Rose. Understanding that this was a serious matter, Vegito transforms into Super Saiyan Blue while ordering Bulma to leave that place immediately, as this was not a battle for her. Even reluctantly, Bulma obeys her father and escapes with the Galactic Patrol's technological teleport. With all these explosions, Gohan already realizes that his father is fighting because of the impacts of the battle. The fog that had taken over the planet dissipated, and he could see that Vegito was fighting someone very similar to him. However, 1 second of Gohan's distraction is enough for the mysterious enemy in front of him to arrive right in front of him, scarring Gohan and grabbing his neck in a powerful chokehold. If I were you, I wouldn't take your eyes off me for a second, says the man who hangs him. Feeling the force of the enemy's grip crush his throat, he immediately realizes that he is a very strong opponent. Recognizing that he cannot keep his parameters low against this enemy, Gohan releases a large amount of ki at once, pushing the mysterious man away at the same time that his hair grows and takes on a white hue, revealing the beast form. The mysterious man likes what he sees, assessing Gohan with an anxious smile and commenting that with this level of power, perhaps it could serve as a warm-up. Gohan gets a little irritated by this statement, but remains focused, just asking what this man's name is. My name is Ziko, he answers. Gohan also says his name, but the man named Ziko says it's not necessary, since he's already heard about Gohan and the others. If you've heard of us, then you are either crazy or stupid, Gohan shouts as he charges forward. That's what we're going to see, Ziko responds. Their shock occurs through their fists, culminating in an explosion of energy that causes great destruction all around. Gohan loses, being thrown by Ziko's strength, and then accompanied by the enemy receiving a sequence of blows. He's strong, very strong, Gohan emphasizes in his mind, impressed by the power of Ziko's attacks. The confrontation between Gogeta and evil Goku reaches impressive levels. The speed of the two combatants is so intense that their movements become blur in space, leaving trails of red and transparent energy as they collide. Gogeta is surprisingly pressured by evil Goku, who releases incredible power from his fists while exchanging blows against him. But Gogeta doesn't let this advantage last long, increasing his power level and consequently launching stronger and faster attacks against the evil version of Goku, who now retreats under the attacks received. However, evil Goku does not intend to be pressured for long, advancing to phase 2 of his Super Saiyan, expanding the aura of red flames, now surrounded by intense red electrical blasts. As his opponent's power increases, Gogeta is pressured again. In an unexpected move, evil Goku disappears from Gogeta's sight and reappears behind him, delivering a powerful blow to the fused warrior's back. After that strike, evil Goku pursues the enemy to continue a series of attacks. However, Gogeta quickly regains composure, halting his forced movement and then swiftly changing direction, lunging at evil Goku and landing a knee to his abdomen. Gogeta begins to land a barrage of punches against his opponent's face while raising his ki, giving evil Goku no room to react. Evil Goku's only option is to explode his red ki with intensity, pushing Gogeta away at the same time that his red hair increases drastically in size, reaching level 3 of his evil Super Saiyan. "I'm just getting started, Gogeta," Goku barks. Vegito watches worriedly as Gohan Black assumes the form of Super Saiyan Rose with a pink aura surrounding him. The fused warrior maintains his defensive posture, preparing for the next clash. "Super Saiyan Rose, huh? I didn't know about this transformation," Vegito comments, keeping his ki steady but ready to increase its intensity as needed. Gohan Black explains that this is the transformation that occurs when someone who is already a god transforms into Super Saiyan Blue. Vegito takes advantage of this speech from Gohan Black to ask who he really is, as he has Gohan's face and body, and also his ki has some similarities. On the other hand, his body appears to be immortal, and his ki also resembles that of a god. At that moment, Vegito remembers that Zamasu he knows, the counterpart of the god of destruction Chamras. "That's right, now that I think about it, your ki reminds me a little of the Supreme Kai Zamasu. How do you explain this to me?" Gohan Black simply replies that he doesn't need to explain anything to Vegito, and then moves on. The two warriors clash again, with the energy emanating from their bodies, creating a storm of power. Gohan Black demonstrates incredible agility and strength, exchanging blows with Vegito in a frantic contest of attacks and defenses. In the midst of the fight, Gohan Black surprises Vegito with his ability to manipulate dark energy, launching blasts of dark ki that attempt to envelop and weaken his opponent. Vegito in turn responds with the speed and precision characteristic of Ultra Instinct. Gohan Black creates a spear of black energy and launches it towards Vegito, who, pointing his hand at this power, makes it disappear completely with a powerful Hakai. Vegito tells Gohan Black that even though his attacks are powerful, they still don't have a sufficient level of power to be a problem for his Hakai, so he will repel all the attacks that Gohan launches. "Really? And what will happen if I increase my power even more?" Gohan Black raises his ki once again, now reaching Beast Form Rose, becoming incomparably stronger than before. "Impressive. It's much stronger than Gohan's Beast Form that I know," Vegito observes impressed. Gohan, now in Beast Form, releases a massive amount of energy, determined to face this seemingly unstoppable opponent. Ziko, despite facing a powerful opponent, maintains a confident smile as dodges Gohan's attacks with surprising agility. His movements are fluid, and his blows are precise, hitting Gohan with overwhelming force. "You may be strong, Gohan, but you're still no match for me," Ziko provokes by throwing another powerful punch against Gohan. Gohan this time manages to hold his opponent's hand and pull Ziko against him to attack with a headbutt to his face. However, the headbutt that Ziko lands immediately in response is at least 10 times stronger, launching Gohan from the sky to the ground to open several cracks in it. With blood running down his face thanks to his opponent's hard forehead, Gohan gets up, but not without feeling severe pain throughout his body. Ziko says that, as he imagined, Gohan has served as a good warm-up so far. However, the warm-up time is over, so if Gohan has more power to show, do it now, or else he will be eliminated. Gohan faces the other combatant and listens to his words. After that, he ponders what to do. "I wouldn't want to waste the little energy I have left, but this guy is really very powerful. I have no chance of winning if I don't use my full power." Deciding what to do, Gohan concentrates all his power and unleashes it in a form of his final transformation. Ziko reacts with a smile, admitting that Gohan is now considerably more powerful than before. Gohan's expression, unlike Ziko's, is serious and tense. He knows he has to end this fight as soon as possible, or else he will lose. Gohan Black, gifted with the great power of his Beast Rose form, drives Vegito away from the planet with his punches. Vegito retreats before his enemy, trying to adapt to Gohan Black's combat style, which contains a very peculiar mix between the fighting styles of a Saiyan and a Kaioshin. Gohan Black forms a sphere of energy in one of his hands and launches it at Vegito, who prepares to defend himself from the attack. However, Gohan Black creates a portal in the way, causing the energy sphere to be transported to Vegito's back and explodes behind his head. Thanks to the gap that the attack creates, he fires a Masenko that hits Vegito square in the chest and pushes him light years away. However, Vegito returns all these light years instantly through teleportation, filling Gohan Black's face with punches loaded with great force. Vegito punishes his opponent's face while saying that regardless of what Gohan Black does, he is still stronger. Vegito grabs him by the hair and throws him in the air like an object. He then prepares a final Hakai that certainly has enough power to completely erase Gohan Black from existence. But once again, then he surprises, going to a higher level again, now revealing an even more powerful transformation. With this transformation, Gohan Black concentrates a huge amount of energy in a fraction of a second and fires a Makan Kosapo powerful enough to pierce Vegito's energy wave and travel through the power of destruction until it reaches its bearer. At the risk of being crossed by that beam of energy, Vegito needs to cancel the attack and dodge. He admits to Gohan Black that his power is incredible and asks if his son can reach that level too. Gohan Black explains that probably not, since unlike Vegito's son Gohan, he's not an ordinary Saiyan, and also Gohan will never be able to reach that level, since he won't live that long. Neither does he. Vegito also increases his power once again, telling Gohan Black not to brag too much, as he also still has a lot to show. The battle between evil Goku Super Saiyan 3 and Gogeta also continues at full steam. The exchange of blows is fierce, and sometimes Gogeta hitting, sometimes Goku hitting, although it doesn't take too long for Gogeta to take the advantage once again, making more of his blows enter Goku's defenses, who feels each of the punches he receives. Side dodging a punch from evil Goku, who attempted a clumsy counterattack, Gogeta moves to his back, grabbing the evil Saiyan by his red hair, then spinning Goku several times, throwing him away and finishing the attack with a key spear containing highly concentrated destructive power. Goku narrowly escapes this destructive power, using his teleportation to disappear from the path of the energy sphere and reappear already recharging his own energy to fire a Kamehameha, composed of black ki, just as Gogeta responds with a standard colored blue Kamehameha. Black and blue energies collide in a spectacle of power, causing such powerful remnants of energy to spread that they begin to destroy everything several solar systems away. It doesn't take long for the black energy to be at a disadvantage in this dispute, being quickly consumed by the blue energy that advances in a devastating way towards evil Goku. Evil Goku's reaction is immediate, releasing even more monstrous ki, quickly transforming into an evil version of Super Saiyan 4. Unfortunately for Gogeta, the wave of black energy gains 10 times its original size, easily swallowing the wave of blue energy and heading towards him with extraordinary speed. Thanks to his agile reflexes given by Ultra Instinct, Gogeta barely dodges, escaping an attack that would be very hard-hitting. He is not intimidated despite the great increase in power that evil Goku has just had, and advances with a series of quick blows. But the evil Saiyan deftly dodges, demonstrating surprising agility. Evil Goku Super Saiyan 4 smiles while dodging Gogeta's attacks. Do you think these blows will defeat me? You really underestimate the power that an evil essence can have, Gogeta. Evil Goku begins to retaliate against the attacks, resuming the exchange of blows against Gogeta, who at first finds it very difficult to deal with. But it doesn't take long for him to level up his power to Goku's. The battle reaches a new level of intensity, with energy blasts and shocks of power that shake the space around them. A kick from Gogeta lands in evil Goku's face, sending him staggering away as Gogeta prepares and fires a wave of power at him. However, evil Goku launches a Kienzan as a counterattack, cutting through Gogeta's energy wave as if it were butter to reach him by cutting his arm. After taking one of Gogeta's arms, evil Goku manipulates the Kienzan in a way that also cuts his other arm and both legs. Oh no! This is a tragedy! Gogeta screams, desperate with his arms and legs floating inanimately in the vacuum around him. Evil Goku starts laughing, exuding malice in his laughter. The evil warrior leads the Kienzan to finally cut off Gogeta's head, but to his complete shock, one of Gogeta's arms moves to hold the Kienzan in front of his head. Evil Goku is perplexed and asks what the hell is that. Even more perplexed is when Gogeta's arms and legs magically transform into ghosts of him and teleport close to Goku in a way that surrounds him, to finally disappear in the form of an absolutely gigantic explosion that destroys a portion of the great universe that is equivalent to 4 universes of common size. Even having received that explosion that could destroy 4 common universes, evil Goku remains intact, despite some notable injuries spread across his body. He now shows some irritation, asking what kind of tricks these are, and stating that this is not a Saiyan thing. Gogeta says that Goku better stay prepared, as he can do much more than that. Evil Goku admits to being surprised, saying that he didn't expect Gogeta, one of the good guys, to cause such vast destruction like this, killing so many people. Gogeta responds by saying that not a single living being died because of his last 2 attacks, as in fact the power of evil Goku's evil energy had already killed everyone who lived within that distance. You have an answer for everything, don't you? So I want to see if you have an answer to that. Once again, evil Goku concentrates his power. However, this time, Gogeta feels that something completely different is coming. An increase in power far superior to anything evil Goku has presented so far. Goku's ki burns so intensely that his skin expels smoke, taking on a reddish hue as if it were combusting. His hair takes on a whitish appearance and begins to grow, while a surreally powerful red aura surrounds his body. Gogeta feels a great heat taking over the void, as if he were in front of a sun. No, it's as if he were in front of 1,000 suns. The vibrations generated by this energy reverberate throughout the universe, causing the chain destruction of countless celestial bodies and even making entire galaxies disappear. Now behold the terrifying power of Super Saiyan 5. Evil Goku screams as he completes his transformation process. The tension is evident on Gogeta's face as he witnesses a form he never thought he would see. Gohan Black flies towards Vegito and passes right by him, leaving a knee to the face that stuns the fused warrior. After that, he returns to land a flying punch at Vegito, but is stopped when the other warrior releases a torrent of energy power that hits Gohan Black, pushing him away. Gohan Black simply doesn't accept being pushed like that, so he starts to force himself against Vegito's energy and advances on it until he can reach him to land a punch straight in the face. By spitting out a handful of blood that accumulated in his mouth thanks to that last punch, Vegito recognizes that Gohan Black's power has really grown in an extraordinary way after that last transformation. Vegito and Gohan Black's attention is suddenly drawn to evil Goku's energy, which at that moment reverberates throughout the great universe and makes everything shake. Extraordinary. They are at a gigantic distance from us, but yet we can feel this power so intensely, Gohan Black comments. Indeed, it is extraordinary, Vegito agrees. Gohan and Ziko also continue their battle. For the first time in this fight, Gohan has a clear advantage. Gohan hits Ziko violently, causing huge impacts on his body. Feeling evil Goku's titanic energy, Gohan hesitates for a moment, costing him a well-placed punch to the face. Ziko warns Gohan that he better not take his attention away from the fight, or he'll die. Even though he keeps his eyes fixed on his opponent, Gohan can't take his mind off the power he's feeling now, coming from that evil monster that's facing Gogeta. Glimpsing in silence for a few moments the Super Saiyan 5 that evil Goku has just revealed, Gogeta finally gives his opinion, emitting an intrigued smile and praising the extraordinary power that his enemy possesses. However, I cannot envy you, as I also have a very exclusive power. As you showed this transformation of yours, nothing is more fair than for me to also show you my special power. By girding his body with brilliant and superior energy, Gogeta switches to his transcendental form, the Shinken. Evil Goku stares open-mouthed at what he just has seen, enchanted by that power that conveys a feeling of absolute superiority. However, he says, it's an impressive power, but it conveys too much balance for my taste. I am an agent of chaos and hate, he claims. Vegito is able to sense that Gogeta has resorted to his Shinken form. Well, if that guy has already started showing off, there's no reason for me not to do the same. Vegito also exudes his incredible power, bringing into harmony the ki that originates from Ultra Instinct and also the ki that originates from Ultra Ego. With these two energies perfectly balanced, he shows his final form. Gohan Black is, for a moment, mesmerized by that. Simply magnificent. Not only did you learn the Ultra Instinct of the angels and the Hakai of the God of Destruction, but you also managed to find a way to use these opposing powers in balance. The villain observes amazed. Gohan Black says that if he had met Vegito sooner, he could have asked for his body. This Vegito, who has never faced Goku Black, obviously doesn't understand what Gohan Black means, and says that it's good that he doesn't have ulterior motives with his body other than exchanging blows. Gohan realizes that his father has increased his power, which indicates his intention to get it over with. Raising his ki to the maximum, he decides to do the same, as his time is already reaching its limit. Get ready, Ziko, because in a few minutes, you will be completely destroyed, Gohan announces. Exuding scorching heat and an oppressive ki aura, evil Goku, newly transformed into the form he calls Super Saiyan 5, holds a savage gaze upon Gogeta, a gaze that craves blood and violence. Gogeta does the opposite, surrounded by Shinken's aura of brilliant energy. He feints the evil Saiyan in front of him with a neutral but attentive expression, as he knows that whoever is in front of him is a dangerous opponent. Even galaxies away from where Gogeta is, Vegito feels his power as well as his enemies. However, he also shows extraordinary extraordinary power, combining the energies of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, surprising Gohan Black, who finds it fascinating that a mortal is able to balance with such mastery these two divine energies of opposite character. However, Gohan Black is also not far behind in terms of power, displaying a very particular transformation never seen by Vegito. Both recognize each other's power, understanding that this battle was close to an end. Determined to quickly finish the battle against Ziko because he has little energy, Gohan releases the power of his final form with great intensity. "Get ready, Ziko, because in a few seconds you will be completely destroyed," Gohan announces. After the announcement comes the attack. In the form of a blur of light, Gohan moves almost instantly towards Ziko, throwing a powerful punch in his mouth. Ziko's blood sprays out of his mouth due to the power of the blow, which also stuns him and throws him against the ground. But this is just the first of many attacks from Gohan, who mercilessly punches Ziko, pressing and burying his head more and more against the ground with his strong and successive blows. Ziko only manages to react after countless blows to his face, pushing Gohan with a key attack to give him time to get up, and then attacking Gohan with a flying punch aimed at his face. Gohan stops the punch and moves Ziko with one hand so that with the other he can hit his stomach accurately, causing Ziko to vomit bloody. After making Ziko shrink his head due to the pain in his abdomen, Gohan elbows him from top to bottom in the head, making his head bleed while throwing him against the ground. Vegito and Gohan Black meet in a clash of bodies that makes the barriers of reality shake. An exchange of blows begins soon after. Movements with surreal strength and speed are carried out by the two combatants, which aim to end the fight once and for all with some definitive attack. The first to be hit is Vegito, who receives a direct punch to the lungs, which, for a fraction of a second, stops all functioning of the organ. The counterattack is equally cruel, a well-aimed punch to Gohan Black's neck, which crushes his throat for a moment. Despite the hard blows received, their movements remain full, at an incredible rhythm that remains unshakable. Millions of attacks per second are launched, giving the feeling that time has stopped for these two, who seem oblivious to the laws of reality and time. Gohan Black invades Vegito's guard again, this time with a direct elbow to the face that makes the fused warrior retreat. Vegito's response is harsh and immediate, returning against his opponent in the form of a purple whirlwind, completing his turn with a sidekick to Gohan Black's head, making his brain shake and causing dizziness. Evil Goku and Gogeta collide their fists with overwhelming power, just in that act opening dimensional fissures around them. When touching Evil Goku's hand, Gogeta's hand burns. When he withdraws his hand, he ends up receiving a punch in the face, with his cheek also being slightly burned. Evil Goku praises Gogeta while boasting, "I must admit, I'm surprised you only suffered these minor burns from touching me. When I'm in Super Saiyan 5, my power burns so intensely that my temperature can equal 1,000 suns. There are a few living beings that can even stay alive close to me, much less touch me. Consider yourself privileged, Gogeta." Showing a defiant smile, Gogeta replies, "Your power is truly incredible, but as long as I cover my body with my energy, I can avoid these burns, since I have enough power to do so." However, despite Gogeta's mouth uttering these words, in his mind he shows concern. The heat that this guy emanates is no joke. He's capable of killing all the weakest living beings even at gigantic distances. I need to keep him in this part of the universe where there are no more living beings nearby, or take him to another dimension. Gogeta takes the initiative to attack, reaching Evil Goku in a moment so fast that it seems instantaneous, attacking him with a kick that Goku defends with one of his arms, and then with another kick that Goku defends with the other. Taking advantage of this physical contact, Gogeta prepares to teleport, but Evil Goku already permeates this, steps forward and teleports himself. The two are taken to a very different dimension, a dark dimension that is dominated by an evil energy that Gogeta has never seen the like of. "What is this place? And what evil power is this?" he asks Evil Goku. Goku explains, "This dimension is called the Dark World. In my original reality, there was one, so I concluded that it could exist in this reality too. You wanted a place to fight carefree, didn't you? This is the ideal place, since there's nothing but evil here." Gogeta says it was perfect for Evil Goku to take him to this place, so he can destroy Evil Goku in this horrible place. Launched from the sky to the ground, Ziko creates a gigantic line of destruction with his own body. He has many injuries and also feels the pain of each of the blows he received. Floating above him is Gohan, who can't hide some gasps. "I'm going to ask you just once. Do you surrender, or would you like to die?" The patroller question is direct, addressed with the look of someone who's willing to do whatever it takes. Ziko doesn't need much time to think about the answer. "I would rather die than surrender in battle." "Whatever," Gohan responds as he begins to prepare his Kamehameha. Even if you don't deserve it, I will give you a painless death. Just stay still and wait peacefully. Then you won't suffer. However, Ziko starts laughing. Gohan asks, what's so funny? Haven't you noticed yet? Didn't you realize that in all this time, I didn't choose a single transformation? This question catches Gohan off guard. All this time, Gohan thought Ziko was already transformed. Ziko begins to concentrate his energy, making Gohan's body vibrate because of the intense tremors that he begins to cause throughout reality. The energy that begins to be exhaled is completely terrifying, to the point that Gohan feels his heart being crushed inside his chest and his body is covered in chills. The walls of reality begin to be broken throughout the great universe. Dimensional portals are opened and closed. Stars explode. Planets collapse. Space-time is distorted, and other cosmic anomalies. Vegito perceives this power that has just emerged with great concern, realizing that his son's opponent is someone terrifying. Even Gohan Black is surprised, as he didn't know Ziko's true power. However, Gohan Black changes his mind after thinking better. How foolish of me to be surprised by this. After all, it is to be expected that mixing the genes of a Saiyan and an angel would bring this type of result, says the evil version of Gohan. Mixing the genes of a Saiyan and an angel? Vegito repeats these words along with a widening of his eyes. What do you mean by that? In the so-called Dark World, Gogeta and evil Goku feel Ziko's ki, which even reaches the distant parallel dimension. Gogeta is amazed by the energy he's feeling, recognizing that he has a power and contained evil even greater than evil Goku Super Saiyan 5. What does that mean? What's your relationship with that guy? Gogeta asks evil Goku, noticing a certain similarity between their powers. Goku doesn't stop smiling, showing immense pride. Go, my son, make your father proud. He screams while laughing maniacally. Gogeta pays attention to these words. Your son? With whom? The fusion asks, intrigued and concerned. Vados watches everything that happens thanks to her magic, with a wide smile on her face. Go, my son, make your mother proud. She speaks to herself, but directing her words to Ziko. Ziko now has a very different appearance. If before this person already conveyed a certain evil, he now seems to be the incarnation of demonic forces themselves. Contemplating the most absolute terror that Gohan cannot disguise, Ziko says, Behold, Super Saiyan 6. Gohan shudders as the evil terror emitted by Ziko's Super Saiyan 6 energy penetrates the deepest core of his being. Ziko faints at him with eyes full of malice, brimming with evil. After hearing from Gohan Black that Ziko is the result of mixing the genes of an angel and a Saiyan, Vegito asks what that means. Gohan Black says that Ziko is son of Vados and the Goku who is now fighting against Gogeta. In other words, he is the son of an angel and a Saiyan. This body I'm using belongs to a version of your son from another reality. This Gohan whose body I stole is the result of the union between Son Goku, a Saiyan, and a woman named Chi-Chi, an Earthling. Your son, who is also called Gohan, is the union between you, a Saiyan resulting from a fusion, and an Earthling who must also be Chi-Chi, right? Vegito confirms what he is saying. Gohan Black then continues saying, the Gohan that is your son is much more powerful than the Gohan that I am possessing was in the past, since your son has the genes of a Saiyan warrior resulting from a fusion. From what I heard, your son was even capable of defeating an angel. Vados realized the powerful result of the union of the genes of a Saiyan and an Earthling, and then she began to wonder what the result of the union between a Saiyan and an angel could be. Vegito begins to deduce what happened, and completes the story by suggesting that Vados went to another reality and got involved with evil Goku. Gohan Black confirms this deduction, and reveals that Vados has been in many realities looking for the ideal partner. When Vados met him, she considered the possibility that he was the chosen one, since he has the body of a Saiyan and the soul of a god. However, when she met evil Goku, she decided that he would be the father of her child, as she was fascinated by his evil power, which matched her evil nature. This way, they would have a son whose evil nature would surpass theirs. This is Ziko. Vegito says it hasn't been that many weeks since Vod's death, which was the last time he saw Vados. So how is Ziko already born as a grown man? Gohan Black explains that an angel has many magical devices, and things like anticipation, maturation are included. She made sure Ziko didn't need to go through the common maturation process, and then she and evil Goku tried to teach him the basics of battles. Gohan Black says that Ziko is a true prodigy, as expected from the union of an angel and a Saiyan. Even though he only had a few weeks to live, he reached extraordinary levels of power thanks to training from evil Goku and Vados, and also some Zenkai boosts. Gohan Black ends by confidently stating that Ziko has even surpassed him and evil Goku. Vegito is very worried as he knows that his son Gohan will not have enough power to deal with Ziko. He screams for his son as he prepares to fly towards him, but Gohan Black steps in front of him with his arms open, in a gesture of someone stopping him. Gohan Black says that he is Vegito's opponent, and until this fight is over, he will not allow Vegito to do anything else. Vegito reflects on the situation, understanding that he won't be able to do anything for his son while Gohan Black is still standing. And even if he started a fight against Ziko, Gohan Black would kill his son. All I can do is eliminate this guy quickly to help Gohan, Vegito concludes in his thoughts. However, he knows that this will not be an easy task, as Gohan Black is really powerful. In the dark world, the dense atmosphere permeated with evil energy surrounding Gogeta and evil Goku as they prepare for continued combat. The dark setting provides a surreal and ominous environment, with distorted shadows dancing around. Gogeta also reflects on the monstrous power he just felt now, whose owner is Ziko. He also becomes thoughtful about the fact that evil Goku referred to Ziko as his son, and asks who Goku had this son with. "I don't want to answer questions, I want to fight." Evil Goku's response is firm. He fires an energy shot at Gogeta, who avoids it with a teleport that takes him in front of evil Goku to try to punch the evil opponent, who responds by striking with his elbow. The moment Gogeta's hand and evil Goku's elbow collide, a wave of energy envelopes them and spreads throughout the surroundings, making the entire dimension shake. Gogeta says that if evil Goku doesn't want to answer, it's okay. He'll destroy Goku and then go and ask Ziko directly. Gohan watches in amazement as Ziko begins to move. Ziko begins a slow walk towards Gohan, with only the heat of the energy from his feet making the ground on the planet melt as he steps. With every step Ziko takes, a new part of the ground is melted, and the terror in Gohan's heart grows. At that moment, the planet combusts in such a way that even from space it is possible to see the smoke it exhales, as if it were a barbecue of planetary proportions. Ziko's evil power extends across billions of light years, causing all weaker life that exists on several planets within this range to be simply destroyed. Even Gohan can barely stand, his shaky legs weakening more and more as Ziko approaches. But Gohan overcomes his fear, extending his two hands towards the Super Saiyan 6 warrior and shooting a barrage of energy spheres at him, triggering countless explosions. Ziko, however, was not even close to being affected by these explosions, as his dense energy aura protected him. Vegito discharges a large amount of destructive power against Gohan Black, who retaliates with a Kamehameha of black energy that destroys itself along with Vegito's attack. Then Gohan Black attacks, throwing a Masenko at Vegito, who cancels his energy with an ultra-concentrated Hakai. Realizing that Ziko started to move towards Gohan, Vegito ends up getting distracted, and this ends up with a flying knee from Gohan Black right in the face. Vegito gets angry and launches a huge wave of destruction energy at him, but Gohan Black surprises him by summoning an energy scythe that he uses to open a tear in the fabric of space-time with a single movement, making Vegito's energy enter that fissure and disappear. After that, with the scythe in hand, he advances against Vegito, attempting fatal cuts. Vegito skillfully dodges attacks using his Ultra Instinct, leaving only trails of white energy as traces of his movements. In the dark world, the battle reaches completely overwhelming levels. Gogeta and evil Goku trade devastating blows, each unleashing their maximum strength to overcome the other. The shadowy ground shakes with the intensity of the fight, and the air is permeated with an ominous energy. As they face each other, Gogeta notices that the dimension itself seems to resist his presence. Evil energy tries to envelop him, slowing his movements and making it difficult to concentrate. Evil Goku, smiling sadistically, says, "Let's see if you can fight so well here, Gogeta. This is my domain, and you're about to discover that the evil of this dimension is something you've never faced before." However, Gogeta's determination remains firm. Maintaining his confident posture, he responds, "If you think this place will stop me from defeating you, you are mistaken. I will end you and this evil energy once and for all." As the evil energy of that reality, in the form of shadows, begins to envelop him, Gogeta concentrates his Shinken power and releases it with a powerful scream in the form of an energy dome that dispels the shadows around him. Evil Goku is surprised when he sees this, as he didn't think it was possible for someone to nullify the negative energy of this dimension like that. Gogeta smiles proudly, telling him that Shinken is a power that deceives common understanding. Equipped with confidence, Gogeta advances with hunger for victory, covering evil Goku's body with a series of blows that the evil warrior has to work hard to deal with. No longer able to maintain the physical confrontation with Gogeta, evil Goku moves away with a teleportation, and then uses a technique called Dark Taioken, a technique where, instead of emitting an intense light, he emits total darkness. With every everything around him turning into complete pitch black, Gogeta completely loses the chance to use his vision. Even so, with a powerful kick, he intercepts an attack from evil Goku, pressing the enemy's abdomen, stomach, and ribs with his foot, and making all those shadows disappear in an instant. Gogeta warns his opponent that all of his senses are extremely sharpened by Shinken, so limiting his vision is useless. After explaining this, Gogeta imprisons evil Goku's body with his telekinetic strength and brings the other Saiyan at high speed towards him, while enveloping his fist in Shinken energy. Realizing that a deadly attack would hit him if he didn't react, evil Goku manages to free himself from Gogeta's mental grip at the last moment and dodges the Shinken warrior's punch, whose force is so strong that it tears the entire fabric of reality in the dimension apart, creating a trail of luminous energy that extends across the entire dimension. After this dodge, evil Goku fires a Kamehameha of black energy containing high destructive power. Gogeta repels this attack with a Kamehameha composed of the Shinken's light energy, carrying evil Goku's power back to him, along with his own, and forcing him to cancel the shot and dodge. The Super Saiyan 5 warrior then advances against the Shinken warrior, delivering many blows with titanic strength, which are responded to equally. The speed of the two warriors is so absurd that they reach billions of blows per second, each containing unparalleled power and mastery. Evil Goku is hit in the middle of the face with a powerful punch that emits a boom that can be heard from a stratospheric distance. He counterattacks with an equally strong blow, but which is technically slipped by Gogeta, who uses evil Goku's own strength to make him pass straight through with his attack and spin uncontrollably for several kilometers before finally stopping. And when he stops, evil Goku is hit by a flying kick from Gogeta, whose strength carries him through a gigantic distance, leaving a tear in the fabric of reality. Then evil Goku returns furious while accumulating a massive amount of energy in his aura, and then reaches Gogeta with a flying punch, in which his aura manifests itself in the form of a large black dragon. The punch hits Gogeta square in the abdomen, but the impact force goes straight through him, opening several cracks in that reality due to the enormous force of that blow. Because of the pain, Gogeta involuntarily opens his mouth, and at the moment, evil Goku touches Gogeta's mouth with his other hand and begins to inject his energy into his body to the point that makes Gogeta inflate as if he were a balloon. "Explode with my evil energy," evil Goku screams, laughing hysterically, ecstatic with hatred and the desire to kill Gogeta. However, his intentions are frustrated when Gogeta discharges all that extra energy into his body through his eyes, swallowing evil Goku with his own energy until his body finally empties and returns to normal size. "Phew, what a relief. I thought I was going to explode," Gogeta says after a burp. Evil Goku is deeply furious, saying that there is only one way to destroy Gogeta once and for all. Gogeta asks what this way is. Evil Goku raises his hands, and at that moment a globe of red energy begins to accumulate above them. Gogeta immediately realizes that this is a spirit bomb, but using evil energy instead of positive energy. Of course, someone with an evil version of every Goku technique would have a dark version of the spirit bomb as well. Gogeta emphasizes. The evil energy from the entire dimension involuntarily gathers in the spirit bomb made by evil Goku, along with Goku's own energy. As the collection of energy is not voluntary, the technique is ready in a very short time. Get ready, Gogeta, because now you will receive all the evil power. Gohan continually fires his energy at Ziko, who continues advancing at a slow and calm walk, as if it were nothing. Gohan stops firing and pants as he returns to his base form due to energy exhaustion. "Curse you! I don't have time to be tired now," he swears. Getting closer and closer, Ziko reveals to Gohan that he was very eager to fight him, as his mother, Vados, was very curious about who would be stronger, her son or Vegito's son. He took this dispute as something personal, so he really wanted to face Gohan. "However, I must admit that I'm a little disappointed. I expected a greater challenge from you," he concludes. Gohan is provoked when he hears those last words, and putting in extra effort, he transforms again. Not so far away, Vegito and Gohan Black's battle continues, with the fused warrior dodging his opponent's incessant scythe attacks. Seeing an opportunity to counterattack, Vegito hits a kick that pushes Gohan Black away, but the scythe warrior, even far away, makes a movement with his weapon. A power cut manifests itself and advances towards Vegito, who narrowly avoids it, and then sees that the power cut culminated in the opening of an even bigger crack. Gohan Black decides to continue his attacks from a distance, simulating several cutting movements in the air that manifest themselves in the form of energy blades and head towards Vegito, who skillfully avoids the attacks, thanks to the dodging ability derived from Ultra Instinct. At the same time as the dodging movements, Vegito asks Gohan Black what his interest is in all of this. "I understand the motivations of the evil version of Goku who became romantically involved with Vados. I also understand Ziko's reasons, who is fulfilling her mother's wishes. But what about you? What could you gain from all this?" he asks the evil version of his son. Gohan Black says that his interest is to be the supreme god of all realities and dimensions. However, he recognizes that there are beings much more powerful than him. His desire is to stay close to these powerful beings to learn how to gain more power. "You seem like a proud guy to me. It's a little humiliating to play this role, don't you think?" Vegito argues in a provocative tone. "Sometimes it is necessary serve to rule. Even someone proud like me understands that," Gohan Black retorts. After that he says, "You know, Vegito, there's no point in trying to convince me to stop fighting, or to turn me against my companions. A Saiyan's specialty is battle, not rhetoric." "Then see the rhetoric of my fists!" Vegito shouts in response with his fist filled with energy of destruction. He manages to reach Gohan Black and throw an extremely powerful punch. Gohan Black interjects the punch with the handle of his scythe, but the handle of the scythe breaks, and the blow hits his chest with great force. Gohan Black is pushed by the direct blow into one of the several fissures he opened, clearly on purpose on Vegito's part. He manages to stop just before entering the fissure. However, Vegito already has a high amount of power concentrated in his hands, firing an energy torrent that hits Gohan Black with the intention of pushing him into the fissure. Even when hit squarely, Gohan Black manages with great difficulty to resist being pushed. Vegito insists on the attack, determined to make the enemy's resistance not last so long. Gohan concentrates all this left of his power to invoke his final transformation for the last time. He channels this power into one of his hands, preparing the strongest punch he can. Ziko keeps his approach slow and calm, without showing any type of hesitation. Seeing this as an act of mockery, Gohan finally shoots towards the other Saiyan, emitting a shout that conveys all his power and fury. The punch comes, although Ziko defends with a single finger. "What?" Gohan exclaims in shock. Before he walks away, Ziko grabs his hand. The force is so great that Gohan falls to his knees at the same time, with his transformation being undone and the screams of pain involuntarily leaving his mouth. "What a disappointment," Ziko says. He holds Gohan's arm with one hand and brings the other to his shoulder, and then begins to force Gohan's arm in a separating movement. Gohan screams madly, feeling what is probably the most pain he's ever imagined he would feel. First, the skin on his arm begins to open, then the ligaments begin to stretch to the point of separation, and finally, the bone is torn away. In a brutal movement, Gohan's arm is separated from his body. Kneeling down, Vegito's son screams maniacally, and next to him, standing, is the son of Vados as he raises his arms as if it were a trophy. "See, my mother, your brother is being avenged," Ziko calls out. Vegito maintains his release of energy, trying to push Gohan Black into the fissure that he opened earlier with his scythe. Gohan Black is determined, managing to move further and further away from the fissure, despite the incredible force pushing him towards it. At that moment, Vegito hears his son's screams of despair and pain. Something very serious happened. Driven by worry, impatience, and anger, Vegito suddenly has a sudden increase in power, managing to more than double the strength of his energy discharge through a furious shout. Faced with a sudden increase in the power of Vegito's attack, Gohan Black can no longer resist, being quickly pushed into the fissure, and then inside that fissure, an explosion of cosmic scales occurs at the same time as the portal closes, indicating that that entire parallel dimension was destroyed. Free from Gohan Black, Vegito immediately teleports. Ziko holds Gohan's arm in his hand. He covers Gohan's arm with his energy in a way that destroys all the skin, muscles, and tendons on the severed arm, leaving only the bones remaining. With Gohan's bone-shaped arm in his hand, Ziko steps on him in a way that makes Gohan's face fall down on the ground. He presses the defeated Saiyan to the ground and begins a sequence of what appears to be whips, with Gohan's own arm being the whip. Struck by the bones of his arm, the flesh of Gohan's back is seriously punished, with his blood spraying the surroundings with each blow. Gohan screams and groans in agony, but he can't do anything, as his strength is completely gone. Vegito arrives with his teleportation and promptly flies towards them to help his son. However, he did not expect the appearance of Vados, who stands between them, and extending her staff towards Vegito forms an energy dome that captures him. Vegito tries to teleport to escape, but he can't. Vados laughs and says that inside this magical prison, he cannot teleport. Vegito curses Vados. He concentrates his power and begins to exhale energy in a way that puts pressure on the prison walls in an attempt to destroy. Indeed, the prison is affected, with the energy walls beginning to crack. However, Vados does not intend to let this happen so easily, using her own energy to maintain the prison. They both try very hard, but Vados to maintain the prison and Vegito to destroy it. While this happens, Ziko continues to lash Gohan, brutally ripping open his back with the violence of his attacks. The pain is so much that Gohan almost no longer has the strength to scream, and tears start to run down his face. Seeing his son in this situation, Vegito becomes increasingly desperate, increasing the pressure on Vados' prison. Realizing that she won't be able to keep Vegito for long, Vados orders Ziko to finish off Gohan once and for all. Ziko is a little disappointed as he wanted more. He throws Gohan's arm aside like it was trash, and then grabs him by the head with both of his hands to start pressing Vegito's son's skull in a crushing motion. Evil Goku launches his powerful red spirit bomb towards Gogeta, containing his and that chaotic dimension's evil energy. Gogeta surprisingly does not retreat, but advances towards the large globe of red energy. He remembers the attack that Evil Goku landed on him just now, which made his ki manifest in the form of a dragon. Gogeta does the same thing, girding himself with Shinken's brilliant energy, making it burn so intensely that the brilliance of his power is blinding. Amidst this powerful glow, the figure of a gleaming serpentine dragon emerges, not a simple manifestation of energy. Gogeta himself is the dragon. In dragon form, Gogeta hits the spirit bomb right in its center, and with his power concentrated on piercing, it opens a hole as it pierces the bomb without completely destroying it. So Gogeta passes through the spirit bomb and goes towards Evil Goku, while the bomb goes towards the ground of that dimension. It cannot be! Evil Goku screams in despair and surprise when he sees that dragon of pure power coming towards him. With a single concentrated blow, Gogeta passes straight through Evil Goku's body, leaving a gigantic hole in his body. The spirit bomb reaches the ground of the dimension, causing a gigantic explosion that in an instant begins to spread in a devastating way. Leaving Evil Goku in agony and the explosion spread throughout that dimension, Gogeta teleports. Vegito desperately tries to destroy Vados' prison, who does her best to maintain it. Ziko presses on Gohan's head, slowly making his brain case give way in the form of small cracks in the skin that spill his blood as Gohan's eyes begin to roll back. Gogeta finally arrives, appearing with instant transmission next to Ziko, who notices the enemy's arrival and releases Gohan to escape a blow from Gogeta. At the same moment, Vados' prison finally explodes, letting out an abysmal amount of Vegito's power. Possessed by an indomitable hatred, Vegito advances against Vados with the intention of completely destroying her to get her out of his way. But Ziko moves slightly in front of his mother, holding back Vegito's blow, which releases enough impact force to completely tear that planet apart and extend for an enormous distance. After Ziko stops Vegito's attack, Vados comes forward to try to hit him with her staff, but Vegito prudently retreats. Gogeta goes to Vegito's side, holding Gohan in his arms. The young Saiyan even fainted because of the absurd pain he felt. Gogeta uses teleportation on him, sending Gohan to a safe place. With his eyes shining with the power of destruction fixed on Ziko, Vegito tells Gogeta that Vados' son is him. Gogeta doesn't object and says he will take care of Vados. However, they are surprised when Gohan Black and Evil Goku reappear on Vados and Ziko's side with a teleport made by Goku. Both Gogeta and Vegito didn't expect this, as Vegito thought he would destroy Gohan Black along with that parallel dimension, and Gogeta also thought that Evil Goku had died along with the Dark World. Evil Goku explains that at the last moment, despite the very serious injury he suffered, he managed to escape the explosion with an instant transmission. Gohan Black says that he is immortal, so he managed to recover even after that explosion. After that, Gohan Black was found by Evil Goku, who brought them both back with a teleport. Evil Goku is seriously injured because of Gogeta's blow, but Vados heals him in an instant with her magic. Gogeta and Vegito are worried that they are being strengthened by Zenkai, but realize that this is not the case, as their power seems to remain the same. They then conclude that, like them, these two have already reached the limit of evolution that Zenkai could provide, probably because they abused this ability. They wonder what to do now, since even though they are more powerful than Gohan Black and Evil Goku, these two are full again, while they are already a little worn out. Furthermore, now Ziko and Vados will fight them too. Vados says she doesn't intend to fight. She has a better plan. I saved you a little surprise in case it was necessary. The angel magically makes a Potara earring appear in Gohan Black's ear and another in Evil Goku's. No! Gogeta and Vegeta exclaim almost in chorus. Before they can stop it, evil Goku and Gohan Black are joined by the Potara earrings, giving life to a new being. Vados asks the warrior who just appeared to introduce himself to them, so he does. I am the fusion of those who are called Gohan Black and evil Goku. My name for you will be Evil Gokan Black. Facing the two other fusion warriors who gape at him, evil Gokan Black displays a sovereign smile. Vegito and Gogeta, who look at him with their mouths open. Damn, this isn't good, says Vegito. It wasn't easy to fight those guys separately. Now that they've merged, it will be much worse, Gogeta adds. And that's not all. We have already spent a considerable amount of energy in the previous combats. Vados has a very confident smile on her face and asks Gokan to start showing them his true power. Gokan nods, then begins releasing a dizzying amount of ki. The aura of energy he releases begins to cause absolutely intense vibrations throughout the gigantic universe. Even the bodies of Gogeta, Vegito, Ziko, and Vados begin to tremble with the monstrous ki. Even billions of light years away, planets and stars collapse. Stellar explosions happen across multiple galaxies and solar systems. Millions of planets experience catastrophic calamities, many to the point of being completely torn apart. Even in other dimensions comes the result of Gokan's obscene release of power, with fissures in space-time being opened and bringing with them this dense evil energy that causes despair in beings from multiple worlds. In the world of the gods, Daishinkan and Chamras feel this mastodonic ki and become alarmed. This power is simply overwhelming. Will Gogeta and Vegito be able to handle this? Chamras questions. Daishinkan doesn't respond. He maintains a worried silence. Surrounded by a dense layer of evil energy, Gokan shows everyone a sublime form that no one present in that place has ever seen. Behold the power of Super Saiyan 7, he roars, letting out laughter that causes vibrations throughout the place thanks to the power of his voice. Vados laughs with excitement when she sees this, admitting that not even she expected the power of this fusion to be so great. You know what I'm thinking? After you two die, I will want a Gokan's child too. I'm sure it will be an invincible warrior. When Ziko hears his mother say this, he doesn't hide his jealousy. He raises his Super Saiyan 6's ki, saying that he has not reached the limit of his powers, and will prove to his mother that he can surpass Gokan's level. Gogeta and Vegito prepare for combat, one invoking his Shinken power more intensely, and the other the ki of destruction together with the ki of Ultra Instinct. What will we do, Gogeta? Vegito asks for the first time, truly fearing an opponent. Gogeta thinks for a few seconds before responding. I will deal with Gokan. You defeat this other guy and avenge what he did to Gohan. Vegito agrees with a nod. Far away, they are all observed by the Angel Rum, who watches the whole situation with a very serious expression. That's not good at all, she says to herself. Rum then leaves that place in a hurry. At the same time, evil Gokan Black, Super Saiyan 7, and Ziko Super Saiyan 6 raise their ki. With his heart filled with jealousy, Ziko challenges his companion. What do you say we make a bet, Gokan? Let's see who wins the fight first. Gokan accepts the challenge, not doubting for a moment the outcome that benefits him. Enough with the bullshit, Vegeta shouts, approaching Ziko at an absurd speed to land a kick with all his violence. But Zyko's response comes at an even greater speed, holding back the attack with his forearm. A punch from Ziko comes next, blocked by Vegito. You're strong, kid. I didn't spare any strength on that kick, Vegito admits. Now I know why Gohan couldn't even come close to beating you. Gogeta doesn't stay still either. He prepares to attack Gokan. However, he is surprised when the other fusion moves in front of him at such a high speed that not even Gogeta could notice his movement. All he can do is raise his arm reflectively to catch a punch from Gokan at the expense of feeling a sharp pain in the bones and muscles of his forearm. Despite this, he is not intimidated and immediately counterattacks with a punch, only to be shocked when his blow is easily stopped by Gokan's hand, who, with a squeeze, crushes his hand, shattering his bones. Gogeta steps back holding his hand, whose bones have just turned into mush. This guy is strong, very strong, Gogeta acknowledges while healing his injured hand. Certain of their fall, Vados says that today will be the day that Gogeta and Vegito finally fall. The clash between Vegito and Ziko is intense. Every strike, parry, and dodge sending waves of energy throughout the great universe. As their fists and feet fly, the void trembles under the impact of their bodies. Vegito attacks the enemy with great fury, seeking revenge for the suffering Ziko put his son through. On the other hand, he cannot give in completely to hatred, because in the face of this opponent, he needs to remain cautious, given the extraordinary power of the other combatant. Ziko also gives his all to his attacks, motivated to impress his mother and fulfill the goal she so desperately wants him to achieve. He knows that Vegito humiliated Vados in the battle in the past, and he wants to make him go through a much worse humiliation. With one fluid movement, Vegito moves away. his aura radiating even greater intensity as he fires a powerful energy attack. Ziko dodges and advances, reaching Vegito with a rain of punches that forces him to retreat. Ziko abruptly stops the sequence of punches to point his hand and launch a point-blank energy attack against Vegito, who is clever in escaping with the teleportation to reappear behind the other Saiyan and attack him with his key sword in order to impale the opponent's body. Ziko, however, turns around quickly, surprising Vegito by holding his key sword in his hand. With a punch from the other hand, Ziko breaks the key sword. Then he advances towards Vegito, his fists enveloped in a dark aura to strike his body with great power and draw his blood. Vegito retreats after this last blow, which really hurt him. Ziko smiles defiantly, his ki increasing more and more. Gogeta and Gokan also engage more intensely in combat. The tumultuous energy generated by their fight echoed throughout the universe, creating an atmosphere charged with tension generated by the conflict between the evil energy of Gokan Super Saiyan 7 and the pure energy of Gogeta Shinken. Gogeta, although incredibly powerful, feels the weight of the disadvantage compared to Gokan. His movements are agile and precise, endowed with all the mastery of Shinken. However, Gokan seems to anticipate each of his movements with impressive ease. The fusion between evil Goku and Gohan Black created a warrior of unparalleled skill. Gokan, with an arrogant smile on his face, dodges Gogeta's blows with great speed before counterattacking with surprising strength. His fists find their target with relentless precision, testing the limits of Gogeta's endurance. With a quick spin, Gogeta launches himself towards Gokan, his fists enveloped in a glowing aura. He delivers a series of powerful blows. However, Gokan does not back down from the attack. With impressive skill, he blocks each blow with ease before counterattacking with ferocity. Gogeta's surprise is evident. He didn't expect to have to deal with such a formidable opponent. Gokan, for his part, shows no signs of hesitation. His eyes glow with fierce energy, his aura pulsing with terrifying power. Gokan continues to advance, his impressive speed cutting through the fabric of reality. He launches a series of quick, precise strikes, each charged with titanic force. Gogeta, despite his extraordinary resistance, feels every impact echo through his body. But Gogeta doesn't give up. With a grunt of effort, he responds to the attacks, refusing to crumble. The results of these two fights are catastrophic for the universe, which, despite being so large and dense, suffers worrying phenomena. In many places, space-time is partially or completely distorted, causing confusion in what is past and future. Parts of the universe simply disappear. Other parts are suddenly fused. Total chaos ensues. In the world of the gods, Zamasu despairs, telling Chamras and Daishinken that the natural order of the universe is being severely shaken, and if things continue like this, everything could disappear. Chamras tells Daishinken that this is going too far, and that they will need to intervene. Again, Daishinken responds nothing. He just remains silent and thoughtful. With a roar of determination, Gogeta focuses his energy, fueling his movements with the power of the Shinken. Every strike, every dodge is executed with relentless precision. As fists and ki blasts fly, the battlefield becomes a storm of energy. The intensity of the fight reaches a new level, with Gogeta channeling all his power to resist Gokan's incessant attacks. Gokan, for his part, shows no signs of slowing down. His determination is as fierce as his strength. His strikes charged with the evil energy of Super Saiyan 7. Each time his fists find their target, the impact is felt throughout the universe, reverberating through space and time. Gogeta accumulates a large amount of power to fire a powerful, highly concentrated energy laser that would pierce a body within the density of multiple universes. Gokan receives this attack head-on, raising his ki to the point where he can hold this laser on his body without even suffering a slight punch. Gogeta is frustrated to see this attack was resisted so easily by Gokan, and begins to reflect on what to do. This guy's power is extraordinary. I don't think even I can defeat him with raw power alone. I need to find another way to win. After thinking for a moment, Gogeta finally comes up with an idea, and he makes it clear by smiling at Gokan, who is curious. Vegito and Ziko's fight continues with an ever-increasing degree of violence. Ziko's attacks, fueled by the evil power of Super Saiyan 6, are endowed with monstrous aggressiveness. On the other hand, Vegito's blows, containing a high level of destructive power, are not far behind. Armed with the desire for revenge for his son, Vegito momentarily gains the upper hand, managing to land a sequence of blows on Ziko that make the evil Saiyan feel his fury in his skin, muscles, bones, and organs. It doesn't matter how strong you are, kid. After what you did to my son, I can't allow myself to lose you too. That's why I will win no matter what. A punch hits Vegito, destabilizing him and giving Ziko the opening he needed to launch powerful attacks on his body. Punching his opponent with all his strength, Ziko responds. Don't think you're the only one with good motivations here, Vegito. With a swift movement, Vegito moves away once more, his mind working quickly to formulate a strategy. Damn, no matter how much I try to excel against this guy, he can respond in kind. I cannot exhaust my energy with him. as there's no more enemies to defeat. When he sees Gogeta smile, Gokan asks what's wrong with him, remembering that his situation isn't good at all. Gogeta says he will find out soon. The fusion of Goku and Vegeta extends his hand, causing a pot to magically appear in front of him. He then begins to draw a seal on this pot. Evil Gokan Black watches this curiously, wondering what he's intending to do. Vados, however, already knows what's happening and shouts at Gokan, saying that it's a sealing technique and that he can't allow Gogeta to do it. Evil Gokan Black complies, quickly firing a powerful energy attack intending to stop Gogeta. But Gogeta is smarter and uses teleportation. He avoids Gokan's attack and goes behind his back. Before Gokan could escape, Gogeta held out his hands to him and shouted, "If I can't kill you, I'll seal you." Evil Containment Wave. A spiral of energy captures Evil Gokan Black, who begins to be swallowed towards the magic pot created by Gogeta. Vados rushes towards them to try to stop it, but Gogeta creates an energy shield around them that doesn't allow the angel to pass. "Now I got you, Gokan," Gogeta says. Then he looks at Vados. "And you're next." Vados receives this threat with great fear. Looking at Vegito, Ziko can see how disconcerted he is at not being able to finish this fight in one go. He then decides to provoke more. "What's the matter, Vegito? Are you too weak to avenge your son's defeat?" Vegito gets even angrier and prepares to attack. But then, an attack comes from behind Ziko, piercing his heart. Absolutely shocked, he looks back, and when he sees who hit him, he sheds a tear. "Mother, why?" Vados stabbed her own son, with a smile on her face. "Why, Mother? Why did you do this to me?" Ziko asks as he sees his mother's arm across his body. Vados responds by saying that she doesn't need a weak son. She removes her hand from his body, leaving a very serious wound on Ziko. However, soon after, she points her staff at him, and from one moment to the next, Ziko is completely revitalized. "No!" Vegito exclaims when he realizes what she just did. Vados then continues what she was saying. "That's why I need you to become even stronger, my son." Now understanding everything, Ziko assures his mother that he will do it. And at that moment, the son of Goku and Vados explodes his power. The energy is absolutely overwhelming, pushing Vados and Vegito away. The barrier that Gogeta made to prevent Vados from approaching while he seals Evil Gohan Black is shattered like a pile of dust after a strong wind blows. A magic pot created by Gogeta is also shattered by Ziko's energy, forcing him to cancel the Evil Containment Wave, just when he was very close to sealing Gohan. "Curse!" Gogeta swears. Ziko's power spreads throughout the colossal universe like a powerful gale, shaking the entire structure of the universe with the destiny of his key. In the world of the gods, Zamasu falls to his knees, with all hope lost. For him, everything is already over. The entire universe is doomed. But for Ziko, that's just the beginning. Revealing a new, even more frightening and tenebrous form as an aura of pure evil power consumes him, he announces, "This is the form of the newest Super Saiyan. This is Super Saiyan 8. Vegito is shocked when he sees that. "This power is completely beyond my limits." "Damn, things just keep getting worse," Gogeta complains. Evil Gokan Black, although relieved to have been saved from sealing by the skin of his teeth, looks at Ziko with a bit of envy. "This damn kid has no limits. Even though I'm a fusion, he's already managed to surpass me." Vados bursts into laughter, saying that her son is completely out of reach of Gogeta and Vegito. Their defeat is now certain. In the form of a flash, Ziko reaches Vegito at a speed far beyond his ability to react, striking the fusion warrior with a punch to the abdomen so ridiculously powerful that the internal pressure of the blow makes his entire skeleton crack from the inside, and his organs suffer multiple injuries. Vegito's blood is vomited in large quantities as he finds himself unable to launch any counterattack. Ziko captures Vegito by the neck, starting a killer choke. Vegito thinks about going to help when he is intercepted by Gokan, who grabs him from behind, saying that Gogeta's fight is against him. "Let me go!" Gogeta extends his hand to a certain place where a Kienzan is formed, and then the cutting disc of ki simply comes towards him, and Gokan, passing through the two, are breaking them both in half. Thanks to Shinken's advanced regenerative power, Gogeta's halves come back together in an instant, and then he goes directly at Ziko to land a flying shot right on his head. Ziko's head, however, barely moves. "It's not possible." Gogeta is shocked. Ziko throws Vegito at Gogeta, pushing them both away at once. Gogeta throws a Kienzan at Ziko, which to his surprise is shattered when it hits the Super Saiyan 8's body. Vegito finds his ki sword, which hits Ziko's forehead without causing even a scratch on his skin. "Man, that's really not good," Gogeta comments. "But everything can always get worse." Gokan approaches them, or rather, the Gokans approach them. "What is that? Now there are two Gokans?" Vegito asks. Gogeta remembers that when Zamasu merges into his original reality, the fusion had the ability to multiply when his body was divided. It appears that the fusion of evil Goku and Gohan Black also has this ability, as Gohan Black is the union of a Gohan and a Zamasu. I knew that cutting him in two was a risk, but I didn't have much time to think, since Ziko would kill you in seconds. Gogeta justifies. Good, now we have 3 enemies, all of them stronger than us. What are we going to do? Vegito asks. Gogeta says the only chance of them winning is if they do that thing. Vegito doesn't like the idea and says they are already fusions. A union of 2 fusions is crazy. Suddenly the conversation is cut short when a Gokan appears at high speed right in the middle of them, landing a punch on each one. The other Gokan runs over Gogeta with a devastating blow, sending him flying. Vegito aims one of his hands to fire an energy attack at one of the Gokans, but Ziko intervenes, arriving in an almost instantaneous movement and grabbing his wrist so hard that it breaks. Vegito punches Ziko in the face with his other hand, giving the opportunity for Goku and Vados' son to prove once again his colossal resistance by not moving his face even an inch. Ziko lets go of Vegito's arm, who steps back feeling completely incredulous and frustrated. Vados teases the Saiyan while watching. What's the matter, Vegito? Don't tell me my son is too strong for you. Gogeta is truly beaten by the pair of Gokans, trying in every possible way to counterattack the enemies who beat him mercilessly. At one point, Gogeta points his hand at one of the Gokans and makes him disappear with the teleportation, sending the enemy to another dimension. With a single Gokan remaining, he charges into battle, exchanging intense blows against the other fusion. However, it doesn't take long for the other Gokan to return. That tactic won't work, Gogeta. After the fusion, Goku's teleportation ability was also greatly improved, says the evil Gohan Black who just returned. The massacre then continues with Gogeta being targeted from all sides by enemy attacks. Gogeta teleports to escape the rain of blows, but the Gokans promptly pursue him, quickly catching up and surrounding him to continue the punishment. With one last effort, Vegito gathers his energy reserves by delivering a series of powerful blows against Ziko. Each blow contains all the remnants of his resistance, seeking to channel as much of the precision of his Ultra Instinct and his power of destruction as possible. However, Vegito's serious wounds begin to weigh on him. His movements become slower, his resistance decreasing by the second. In response, Ziko's fists fly out in a barrage of relentless blows, each hitting Vegito with deadly precision. Vegito tries to defend himself, but it's too late. Ziko's last strike hits its target with devastating force, collapsing the fusion warrior's body. Dying thanks to the countless blows he received from the 2 Gokans, Gogeta retreats in an almost desperate movement, gathering the last of his strength in one last Kamehameha. The Gokans simultaneously fire a wave of energy in response, easily overcoming Gogeta's Kamehameha and then hitting him in an overwhelming way. On one side comes Vegito, pushed by Ziko's last blow that destroyed his body from the inside. On the other side comes Gogeta, swept away by the joint attack of the 2 Gokans. The 2 companions collide back to back, one violently stopping the other. Vegito and Gogeta remain motionless, floating through the void. Their faces and body expressions indicate that they have finally reached their limits. Man, this time I think we lost. These guys are really strong, Gogeta admits with a smile on his face, despite everything. I think you're right. They are amazing. Vegito agrees, also smiling, but then he remembers something and asks, hey, can you heal our injuries? Gogeta says yes, he can do that. By touching Vegito, Gogeta heals him. Then he touches himself, also healing himself. However, he warns, but it's useless since I can't revitalize all our energy, so it won't make much of a difference to us now. We could try to run away, but Gokan would chase us. And also, it's not suiting us to run away from a fight like cowards, right? Vegito agrees, saying that Gogeta is right. From one side come the Gokans, and from the other Ziko. They point their hands at Gogeta and Vegito, announcing that this is the end of the fight. Vados gloats over the 2 defeated, saying that these 2 will finally have the death they deserve. But suddenly a bang happens. A portal of light and shadow opens in space, generating a titanic release of energy that makes everyone present on the battlefield tremble. Vados knows the author of this colossal energy very well. She fills with tension and wonders what this person is doing there. From this portal comes none other than Daishinken, the evil Daishinken. Father, what are you doing here? Vados asked, stuttering. Daishinken looks at his daughter with obvious irritation. Then he looks askance at the others, a great contempt presence in his eyes. Ziko looks at him curiously, wondering if this being of extreme power that has just appeared is his grandfather. Gokan looks at him with fear, knowing that regardless of the reality he comes from, the Grand Priest is someone to respect. Who knew things could get even worse? Gogeta comments. Vegito looks at the evil Daishinkan with a predatory look. So he's the leader of the evil angels. My final enemy. I couldn't meet him in a worse situation. From the portal from which Daishinkan came, another angel comes out. She greets Vados with a wicked smile. Hello, sister. If you don't mind, I decided to tell Daddy about your little party. Vados tells Rum that there was no need to involve Father in this. Then she addresses Daishinkan saying that she found a way to defeat Gogeta and Vegito and that she would take their heads to him in a short time. The Daishinkan's response is a shot of energy that passes through Vados' body, opening a crater in the chest of his own daughter, who's paralyzed by the pain and shock of this attack. Before Vados and anyone else there could even ask what was happening, Daishinkan moves in the form of a blur of light, going to the backs of the two Gokans and extending his hands to them. A magical seal immediately forms on the Daishinkan's hands, opening a portal in front of him and generating a suction force that the Gokans simply cannot avoid, swallowing the two screaming into this portal, which closes in the next second. Ziko asks what he did, and Daishinkan responds that he just used a sealing technique that sent Gokan to a parallel world where everything that exists is frozen in time. A perfect place for an immortal and powerful enemy who knows how to teleport. Ziko asks why seal Gokan and hurt his mother, as they are all on the same side. Daishinkan reveals a gigantic fury in his eyes, saying that he will never accept an aberration like Ziko, who's nothing more than a contamination of the purity of angels with other inferior creatures. This enrages Ziko, who summons his ki, while responding by saying that if Daishinkan does not accept his existence, then he would try to end it. In desperation, Vados screams at her son not to do this. Ziko doesn't listen. He brings both hands together as he fires a torrential wave of energy at the evil angel. Daishinkan doesn't move, letting Ziko's overwhelming power hit his body directly. However, when Ziko's energy hits the Grand Priest, it's separated by his body like butter. Daishinkan moves his arm, and in a fraction of a second, all that great energy discharged from Ziko disappears. Goku and Vados' son are left open-mouthed when this happens, asking what kind of trick Daishinkan used. The Father of Angels says all he had to do was stand still and move his arm. That alone was enough to get rid of such an insignificant attack. Ziko's anger grows even more. He goes to his grandfather with his first surrounded by a high amount of concentrated energy, which is all released against Daishinkan's face in the form of a punch that contains all the strength and power of the evil Saiyan, discharging a colossal amount of energy that goes far beyond the body of the evil angel, extending over millions of light years. But all of this was useless. Daishinkan remains intact without a single scratch. Stunned by the shock of seeing the insignificance of his attack, the Saiyan begins to retreat, stuttering as he tries to tell himself that this is all a trick, and that such power cannot exist. Daishinkan reaches out to him, capturing Ziko with his telekinetic strength in a way that leaves the Saiyan completely immobilized. He slowly brings Ziko to him, helpless to defend himself, and screaming for the Grand Priest to let him go. Vados screams, asking his father to stop, begging for mercy. As he makes Ziko approach, Daishinkan responds that this power that Ziko claims does not exist, does exist. This is the power of the Supreme Angel, a power that a mutt like him will never know. When the Saiyan is close enough, Daishinkan touches his chest. At that moment, an intense light radiates through Ziko's body, making him scream in pain and despair. Ziko's eyes explode. Blood gushes from his mouth, nose, and ears. His skin and muscles melt away, exposing his skeleton, and finally his bones turn to dust. Vegito and Gogeta watch everything with wide eyes, disbelieved by what they are seeing. Vados cries for her son. She looks at Rum, her sister, and asks why she did that. Rum justifies it by saying that what Vados did, in addition to being sacrilege for staining the pure blood of angels with a dirty Saiyan, was also very dangerous, because who knows what could result if Ziko lived longer. Vados says that Rum wouldn't worry about something like that, and that, in fact, she did it out of pure envy for the fact that her son is so powerful. Rum's response is a sarcastic smile. Suddenly, Vados realizes that her father is already right in front of her, and that scares her. Daishinkan grabs his daughter by the neck. How dare you bring such dishonor to us? Vados, with her voice breaking, begs for her father's mercy, trying to justify that she just wanted to get rid of these two who are a problem for them. So your brilliant idea was to get rid of these trash by creating a trash just like them? And worse, you have tarnished our purity for this. The Father of Angels shouts. Vados begs for forgiveness, promising that this will never happen again. Oh yes, indeed. this will not happen again. Daishinkan touches his daughter's head, and before Vados can beg for her life one more time, her body is completely torn apart. As if it were nothing, Daishinkan has just made 3 beings of extreme power disappear from existence. Then he turns to his next targets, Vegito and Gogeta. Since I'm here, I'll take this opportunity and end your lives once and for all. Gogeta and Vegito are obviously filled with tension, but they don't back down. Gogeta accumulates what little is left of his Shinken power, manifested in his glowing ki aura. Vegito also evokes what remains of his power in the energetic aura that divides the ki of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. Daishinkan can't believe the two of them are doing this and asks if they really think they can defeat him after everything they've seen. Gogeta responds that the Saiyans will always keep fighting regardless of the disadvantage. Vegito agrees. However, there isn't even time for them to do anything. In the blink of an eye, Daishinkan reached them, touching their bodies and paralyzing them both. The evil angel says that they have already caused enough problems and that it's past time to put an end to this. Gogeta and Vegito try with all their might to move. The problem is that all the strength they can exert is useless in the face of Daishinkan's incredible mental pressure, which makes it seem as if the weight of multiple universes is holding them back at this moment. Goodbye, Gogeta and Vegito, says the angel, preparing for the final attack. However, a ray of purple energy passes in front of Daishinkan, making the two Saiyans disappear from in front of him. Well, looks like you finally decided to show your face, God of Destruction, the Grand Priest comments. After getting them away from the evil angel, Chamorros holds Vegito and Gogeta in his arms. I thought it would be appropriate to welcome someone like you in person. Anything less would be disrespectful, don't you think? Answers the God of Destruction. Daishinkan asks if Chamorros thinks he can do anything against him. The Hakaishin says no, he can't. However, he brought someone who can. When the evil Daishinkan looks back, he sees the Daishinkan of this reality standing before him. So we finally meet. I was looking forward to meeting you, the evil angel says. Then allow me to introduce myself. Daishinkan's greeting is a punch loaded with power toward his evil counterpart, causing an explosion of impact that pushes everyone there very far away. The evil Daishinkan caught the punch in time, and when he returned the attack, his counterpart disappeared from in front of him in a flash. The evil angel chases the benign angel. The two begin a race at the speed that defies the laws of reality, making them stop as they cover astronomical distances while exchanging blows. Their speed is so insane that the two of them can quickly travel throughout the large universe, whose size is equivalent to multiple common universes. The blow exchanged by the angels contained enough force to destroy entire universes with a single punch. However, the precision with which they attack is so great that each shock of their fists cancels out part of the other's strength, causing minimal damage compared to their capacity for multiversal destruction. But even with the power of the blows being greatly contained by the two supreme angels, the space around them begins to distort. Planets are torn apart, stars go out, and entire galaxies tremble with the power unleashed by their clashes. With each exchange of blows, the energy released is so vast that it creates shockwaves that propagate through the fabric of space-time, even affecting adjacent realities. Hollows are opened in the very essence of the universe as the evil and benign angels continue their battle. Both beings transcend conventional notions of time and space. Their luminous forms cutting through the cosmos like meteors of pure energy. The sounds of the monstrous impact of his blows and energy attacks resonate across multiple dimensions. The fate of the entire universe seems to hang in the balance, balancing precariously between absolute collapse and cosmic renewal. And in the center of the storm of power, the two Daishinkans continue to fight, each blow delivered with the force of a cosmic cataclysm. Their every movement unleashes a storm of power that reverberates throughout the universe. The benign Daishinkan launches a precise open palm strike, sending an expansive wave of white energy towards its evil opponent. The energy contorts and transforms into rays of light that cut through space, seeking to envelop and neutralize the evil Daishinkan. However, the evil Daishinkan does not retreat in the face of the attack. With a swift gesture, he channels his own dark energy and creates a black barrier that absorbs and dissipates the wave of white energy, transforming it into pure darkness that spreads across the cosmos like a hungry shadow. In response, the benign Daishinkan gathers his divine energy around himself, forming a glowing spear of light that grows in size and intensity. With a mighty scream, he launches the spear towards his opponent, its blinding glow illuminating everything around him. The evil Daishinkan smiles as he prepares to counterattack. With a swift movement of his hand, he creates a dimensional rift that deflects the sphere of energy, sending it hurling through space before disintegrating amidst a dazzling explosion of light. Although the two Daishinkans are astronomical distances away, Gogeta, Vegito, Chamorros, and Ram can feel their energy as if they were right next door. Gogeta comments that this power is on another level, and that this way the entire great universe and its dimensions will be destroyed. Chamra says that although it doesn't seem like it, they're trying hard to use their powers with precision to the point of not destroying the entire universe. What concerns the god of destruction is not the universe being completely destroyed, but rather how it will look after this confrontation. Gogeta admits to being surprised that Daishinkan intervened like that and decided to fight, since angel rules don't allow that kind of thing. Chamrus asks what he's talking about and says there's no rule saying Daishinkan can't fight. Gogeta is taken by surprise by this and explains that in his home reality there is a very strict rule that says angels cannot directly interfere in the affairs of gods and mortals, and they are prohibited from getting involved in combat. Chamra says that this rule does not exist in this dimension. Gogeta then asks why Daishinkan has never been involved in anything before, as someone as powerful as him could have been useful in many fights. Chamrus explains that they, the gods, find it appropriate for mortals to take charge of their lives and protect the universe rather than depending on the gods to do so. That's why he and Daishinkan trained Vegito, because he and Daishinkan believe this. They very rarely intervene in things and avoid participating in a fight as much as possible. However, given the appearance of their enemies, they made the decision not to remain silent. Gogeta ends up finding this funny and comments that the gods are really very curious people with all these strange values. Vegito takes a look at Rum and suggests that they take the opportunity to finish her off once and for all. Rum prepares to flee when she hears this, but Chamrus says that at this moment the universe is already under enormous pressure thanks to the confrontation between the angels, so they cannot start any combat now. Rum is more relieved when she hears this and decides not to run away. The Daishinkans continue to exchange titanic blows amidst a whirlwind of energy that surrounds them. Surrounded by a storm of power, the two clash their fists once again, making all that surrounding energy disappear, and even stopping time for a few seconds. For a brief moment, the universe appears to freeze as the two divine beings contemplate the extent of what their battles has caused. They realize that millions of planets have been torn apart, stars are dying for their last breaths, and entire galaxies tremble in anticipation. The benign Daishinkan recognizes that this fight will lead nowhere, or at least not before destroying the entire universe. As someone who must value the good of the universe, he cannot let this happen. The evil Daishinkan ends up agreeing, saying that it wouldn't be good for him if the entire universe was destroyed. In an almost instantaneous movement, they return to where the others are. The benign Daishinkan orders the evil angels to withdraw at once, and warns the evil Daishinkan never to return, or else next time he will take the battle to its final consequences. The evil Daishinkan smiles, saying that perhaps one day they will meet again and finish what they started. The father of the evil angels calls his daughter Rome to leave, and they do so, using a portal similar to the one they used to get there. The benign Daishinkan looks at Gogeta and Vegito, saying that everything is over, at least for now. After this extremely complicated confrontation involving the evil Saiyans, something changed in the hearts of Gogeta, Vegito, and Gohan. Gohan, having seen his inability before Ziko, felt absolutely frustrated at his impotence. He decided that now he will dedicate himself more than ever to training and push his limits in a way that he never did before. Gohan refuses to have his arm healed, justifying this decision by explaining that every time he misses the arm he lost, he will remember how weak he was and will feel more motivated to improve. Vegito, after seeing the power of Ziko and the evil Daishinkan, felt his pride being deeply hurt and realized that he still has a lot to improve. Gogeta felt equal frustration, noting that even though he has achieved Shinken's superior power, he still has a long way to go. He decided that he will strive to perfect his skills and become stronger and stronger to the point of defeating the evil Daishinkan and all other enemies that appear before him. From that moment on, Gogeta, Vegito, and Gohan begin an intense training campaign with Daishinkan, seeking to further overcome their limits and defeat the most powerful enemies. In the vast cosmos of the great universe, a clash of cosmic proportions unfolds. On one side are Gogeta and Vegito, and on the other, the angels Awamo and Konyak. In recent times, hundreds of dimensional rifts have been opened across the great universe, bringing many enemies to Gogeta, Vegito, and the Galactic Patrol. After an investigation, it was discovered that those responsible for this were the two evil angels, Awamo and Konyak, who were looking for something in the vastness of multiple realities. Given this, it's clear that the confrontation was inevitable, although the two angels are certainly not happy that it happened so soon. Vegito hovers like a walking supernova, his fiery fiery ki ready to manifest in a display of unparalleled power, evoking the power that balances Ultra Instinct and Hakai. Awamo, his opponent, also manifests his ki with intensity, transmitting in his energy the feeling of superiority that Ultra Instinct brings, despite his eyes showing a certain uncertainty and fear. The reasons for this uncertainty can be seen in Awamo's body, which carries a much greater number of injuries resulting from the battle than Vegito, highlighting the Angel's disadvantage in the fight, who faces an even more powerful Vegito due to his recent training. "Damn, things weren't supposed to be like this," Awamo whispered, frustrated and scared. Another confrontation of cosmic proportions unfolds at a different point in the great universe. Gogeta spreads a storm of power, his Shinken ki radiating with an intensity greater than hundreds of suns. The Angel facing him is Cognac, who, judging by the various injuries present on his body and the fatigue shown on his face, is not getting the better of this confrontation against an even more perfected Gogeta due to the training he has been doing lately. "Tell me at once, what were you planning on opening all those dimension rifts?" Gogeta questions his enemy. "Never!" Cognac exclaims in response. "Then I will make you talk." In the form of a blast of energy, Gogeta shoots towards Cognac with overwhelming speed. His strikes are swift and devastating, each punch and kick unleashing shockwaves that shake the space around him. Seeking to use the mastery of his Ultra Instinct with maximum precision, Cognac tries to avoid Gogeta's blows with defenses and dodges provided with stupendous technical refinement. Gogeta's technical mastery, however, is even more refined. With his Ultra Instinct raised to extraordinary levels by Shinken, the Saiyan presents even more refined movements. In a combat style that combines graceful and powerful movements in just the right way, Gogeta channels his ki into a powerful energy attack. Rays of brilliant light converge in his hands, forming a sphere of power that seems ready to tear at the very fabric of the universe. The Shinken warrior launches the attack towards Cognac, its trajectory leaving a luminous trail in the vacuum of space. Unable to defend or dodge this attack due to his power and speed, Cognac brandishes his staff, manipulating space-time, making the sphere of power disappear before him. In response, Cognac launches his own offensive, a large globe of power fired at Gogeta, who with a casual gesture undoes the attack with a simple wave of his hand, using the power of Hakai, dissipating the angelic energy as if it were nothing more than a passing breeze. Vegito pressures Awamo with rapid and devastating attacks, powered by his high degree of destruction power, each blow unleashing shockwaves that reverberates throughout the universe. Vegito launches powerful blasts of ki, which Awamo struggles to get rid of by pushing the technical qualities of his Ultra Instinct to the maximum. Unfortunately for the Angel, Vegito also has an advanced degree of Ultra Instinct, avoiding the counterattacks that the Angel manages to launch with so much difficulty. Vegito's offensive is incessant, with strikes so fast, strong, and consecutive that they even confuse Awamo in his own defense. Awamo tries to respond in equity, so rays of cosmic energy intertwine in a spectacle of dark and luminous ki as the two combatants increasingly engage in confrontation. Gogeta attacks Cognac with a series of devastating blows, hitting the Angel squarely with punches and kicks with the brutality of a monster and the cadence of a master. Finding it increasingly difficult to withstand the opponent's attacks, Cognac retreats to swearing, cursing Gogeta. He wants to run away, but he can't, as he could leave a trail and be chased. On the other hand, he cannot win this fight alone. Swinging his staff to propagate a magical blow, Cognac tears the fabric of space-time, opening a dimensional rift, causing a dragon to appear before him, which Gogeta ends up encountering as he is advancing towards the Angel. The beast, even without any idea of what is happening, attacks Gogeta with a flaming blast fired from its mouth. For Gogeta, the heat emanated by this dragon's flames is less than the spark from a lighter, so it does no harm to his body. With an armful of vacuum, the Saiyan sweeps the great dragon out of existence, shattering the beast's body with just the pressure of moving his arm. "I need something stronger," Cognac notes. He brandishes his staff again, this time bringing from another dimension a creature similar to a reptile and another similar to an ape, both beings of gigantic proportions. But the monsters don't attack Gogeta as they are too busy docking with each other and continue to do so while floating through the void. "Damn it!" Cognac despairs. Raising his glowing staff, Awamo causes multiple spheres of energy to appear, which are all fired once at Vegito. The Saiyan's defense is to raise his ki in an energy barrier, making the Angel spheres explode when they touch him. Vegito counterattacks by concentrating an abysmal amount of power into a sphere of fiery energy, launching it towards Awamo with terrifying force. With no time to dodge, the Angel extends his staff in front of his body to form a shield. The impact creates an explosion of light and energy body, engulfing the surrounding space in a storm of unbridled power. The result of this was not good for Awamo, who now has more injuries than ever spread across his body. In addition to his broken magic staff, it cannot be. This couldn't have happened. The angel laments. This is the end for you. Vegito points one of his hands at the angel and announces. He fires a big bang attack that hits the angel squarely, destroying his entire body instantly in a majestic explosion. One less than those bastards, Vegito celebrates. In a moment, the tentacles of a monstrous and powerful space kraken imprison Gogeta. The next moment, a blast of ki released by the Saiyan completely disintegrates the creature, much to Konyak's frustration. Gogeta says this is a waste of time and Konyak should accept his death at once. Never, the angel cries. Once again, Konyak opens a dimensional rift, but now Gogeta interrupts him, reaching the angel with a teleportation to kick his staff away and pierce his chest with a punch full of power. Konyak's blood gurgles from his mouth as fear and anguish appear in his eyes of the corrupted angel. It's over for you, the Saiyan says. No, I will not accept this. Konyak grabs Gogeta's arm, pierced through his body, and then in a desperate act pulls himself and Gogeta to the portal he just opened, making them both disappear from that reality. In the sky of a forest, a small wormhole opens from which a body falls at high speed and crashes against the ground, sweeping several surrounding trees with the impact of the fall. The one who just fell starts to get up. That person is old Goku, who rubs his head and looks around in confusion, wondering where he ended up. But noticing that something is different, Goku looks at himself, wondering why he came back and what happened to Gogeta. Hey, Vegeta, the fusion broke, he shouts, excited. However, no one responds. Vegeta? Hey, Vegeta, where are you? Realizing that Vegeta is not around, Goku closes his eyes to concentrate on detecting his ki. It's at that moment that he realizes that he can't feel Vegeta's ki or anyone else's. What's happening here? What place is this? Why did the fusion fall apart? And why can't I feel anyone's ki? Goku wonders. In the middle of a vast ocean lies a large archipelago. On the shores of this archipelago there is a small island, where another small wormhole opens and expels another being, causing considerable destruction on the island due to the power of the fall. The person who has just been thrown there is God Vegeta, who is also very surprised when he discovers that he has separated from Kakarot and is not able to feel his or anyone else's ki. What place is this? And what happened to me and Kakarot? Vegeta wonders. Goku flies over the forest he fell into, looking for signs of civilization. Man, what is this place? I feel totally lost. Goku feels completely disconcerted until he finally sees something relevant. A large city that begins to appear on the horizon. Goku doesn't need to think twice to rush there. Deciding that it would be better not to fly so as not to attract attention in the city, Goku lands and walks in. What a curious place. It's very different from the cities I know, he comments in his own mind as he walks and observes things around. Suddenly, a very appetizing smell invades his nostrils, immediately making Goku's stomach growl. He hadn't even realized how hungry he was. Goku follows that wonderful smell until he finds a small restaurant where a man and woman are serving. Welcome to Ramen Ichiraku, the man greets with a warm smile. Goku sits down to eat, and when he puts Ichiraku's ramen in his mouth for the first time, he can't stop anymore, devouring bowl after bowl. Seeing a more detailed view of the environment around him, Vegeta takes flight, hovering over the island he crash-landed on. He observes the surrounding for some time until he finds a ship anchored on the island next door, and decides to ask for information. Vegeta flies to the ship and lands on it, but at first he doesn't see anyone. Damn, what kind of idiot leaves a ship alone? Vegeta thinks out loud. Who are you calling an idiot? A deep voice questions. When Vegeta looks back, he sees that a man has just boarded the ship, his green hair shimmering as it reflects the sunlight. Who are you? Vegeta asks when he feels just by looking at this guy isn't just any person. My name is Roronoa Zoro, and I think it would be great for you to explain why you invaded our ship. Vegeta starts to get in a bad mood. I don't like the way you talk. Who do you think you are to give me orders? Zoro's bad mood is the same. You're the one barging in, and you think you have the right to ask questions? I'm the one who doesn't like the way you talk. Oh yeah? So why don't you do something about it? Vegeta challenges. I'll be very pleased to do that, Zoro responds, already touching his swords. There's almost no more ramen left at Ichiraku when Goku finally feels full, leaving the owner Tucci gaping as he piles up bowls and bowls all over the counter. Goku thanks them, saying he already feels satisfied, but he almost throws out all the food when he sees the bill. Oh man, I forgot I have to pay for this. but he finally becomes alarmed when someone teleports in front of him, appearing to switch places with a bowl on the counter. What? Sasuke Uchiha throws a kick, which Goku reflexively blocks with his arms, sending him tumbling out of Ramen Ichiraku onto the floor. Before Goku could even understand the situation, Sakura Haruno comes running towards him, preparing an overwhelming punch, which when it hits the Saiyan who defends himself with his arms at the last moment throws him into the air, pushing him an enormous distance in height, making Goku spin through the sky of the Hidden Leaf Village. Then a giant shuriken of blue-white energy slices through the air towards him. This attack was launched by Naruto Uzumaki from the top of a building in the village. Goku creates an energy shield around his body to defend himself, and when the energy shuriken hits the shield, it culminates into an explosion of impact and energy that launches Goku even further out of the village. What the hell is going on here? Goku asks himself as he gets up after the fall. Suddenly, someone emerges from the ground with a leap behind him. When Goku turns around, he sees a masked man with white hair looking at him with blood-red eyes. Kamui shouts Kakashi Hatake. Goku puts his arm in front of his body to receive the attack. However, he's surprised when instead of seeing something physical, a suction force begins to attract his body, sucking it in and making it disappear. It doesn't take long for Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura to join Kakashi. Sensei, how was it? Naruto asks. I sent him to another dimension with my Kamui. We did it. But Kakashi couldn't be more wrong. In a matter of seconds, Goku is back with his teleportation scaring them all. Hey, what are you guys doing? He complains, irritated and confused. The group of ninjas is amazed at this, asking how Goku managed to do this. Goku says that it wasn't difficult to return from the dimension he was sent to, since it's not that far away. So it was easy with his teleportation. Realizing that this enemy would be more difficult to defeat than they thought, Naruto placed him a few steps ahead of the others. Everyone, let me deal with his opponent for now, says the blonde ninja. Vegeta descends to the ground of the island with a somersault and some acrobatics. He has just escaped a series of attacks from the green-haired swordsman, who once again attacks him by jumping down and attempting a vertical attack, which Vegeta dodges and sees the entire island and sea in the direction of Zoro's sword receive a cut from the depth of an abyss. This guy's cutting power is impressive, Vegeta observes. Vegeta flies back and fires an energy sphere at the three-sword swordsman, but Zoro, with just a movement of his sword, cuts Vegeta's energy even from a distance, sending a cutting pressure so great that it receives the Saiyan who, when he avoids it, sees the clouds in the sky being divided far above him. This guy could cut through a god of destruction's body like butter. I need to be careful, Vegeta admits. But they are interrupted when another person arrives at the place, landing with a jump right in front of Zoro. Luffy, what is it? Can't you see I'm in the middle of a fight? Zoro complains. Luffy has a very serious look and says to his companion, Zoro, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to interrupt your fight this time. I'm the one who has to defeat this guy. Both Vegeta and Zoro are very surprised when they hear this. When old Goku sees the young blonde standing in front of the others to face him, he smiles and praises him, saying that Naruto is braver than he thought, since he seemed to be the cowardly type attacking by surprise along with those others. Naruto feels deeply offended by this and retorts, Who do you think you're talking to? I'm Naruto Uzumaki, the one acclaimed by everyone as the great shinobi god. Of course I wouldn't chicken out, says the blonde. Shinobi god? Well, bad luck for you, but I was trained by the god of martial arts, the god of earth, and the god of the northern galaxy and angels. Naruto responds, I don't care who your masters were. I've been preparing for the invaders' arrival, so I'm ready for it. Of course, Goku doesn't understand anything he's talking about, and asks what Naruto means by that. Kakashi interferes in the conversation, advising Naruto not to reveal any more information. Naruto does as his sensei suggests, and tells Goku that the conversation is over. With a movement faster than light, Naruto throws a kunai towards Goku, who is caught off guard by his opponent's unexpected speed, narrowly dodges by moving his head to the side, with the knife passing close to his face, making a shallow cut on his cheek. The weapons in this reality are extremely lethal, he notices after the cut. Naruto makes a low jump towards Goku. The power is so great that he leaves an explosion of air behind, raising a dense curtain of dust. Goku promptly puts himself on guard to defend, blocking the punch throw at him with his forearm, resulting in an even greater explosion of impact. Goku retaliates with a low kick, but Naruto avoids the trip by doing a jump and somersault in the air, going to Goku's back. As soon as Naruto reaches the ground, a shadow clone appears next to him without any hand seal, and this clone advances against Goku, who needs to turn quickly to defend himself. A real clone? Goku is surprised when he feels a second Naruto's strong blow to his defense, Taking advantage of the proximity, the clone holds Goku. The real Naruto, more distant, without needing any scroll, summons a large shuriken and throws it towards them. The cutting weapon advances at great speed, reaching them, breaking the clone in half, and only not cutting Goku either because at the last moment he dodged it with a jump. Naruto tries to take advantage of an opening during Goku's dodge to move forward with a blow in the air. Goku, using his refined Ultra Instinct, manages to maneuver himself in the air to avoid the ninja's accurate attack and makes an almost instantaneous counterattack, throwing Naruto against the ground with such force that he opens a hole in the ground. Goku's movements impress the ninjas, who did not expect Naruto's attacks to be avoided with such skill. In the middle of the hole made in the ground, Naruto stands up. He suffered no apparent damage even with such a strong blow, proving to have great physical resistance. Goku, after landing from the jump, praises Naruto for his resilience, saying that he didn't hold back on that kick. He then reflects, "It seems that people from this reality are on average much stronger than people from my original reality, and that also applies to this planet and the objects that exist here. I need to be very careful in this place." When Luffy appears in the middle of their fight, saying that he is the one who must face this enemy, God Vegeta and Zoro are very impressed and surprised. Zoro asks Luffy why he is saying this. "This guy is one of the men from the prophecy," Luffy responds. With this answer, Zoro is surprised, asking if Luffy is sure of what he's saying. "Prophecy? What prophecy?" Vegeta asks, not understanding what it is about. "Don't pretend you don't know." Luffy roars, while, to Vegeta's surprise, he throws his arm back, stretching it for many kilometers in a split second. "Gomu Gomu no!" The Straw Hat starts to speak. Vegeta smiles and says, "Do you think you're going to hit me with an attack like that? The way you're preparing your strike, it becomes completely predictable. It's obvious that you're going to attack me in a straight line, and of course I'm going to dodge." "Pistol!" Luffy finishes the name of the attack, and to Vegeta's complete shock, the enemy's fists travel at an extraordinary speed, arriving almost instantly at his face, crushing the Saiyan Prince's cheek while sending blood out of his mouth. A powerful shockwave spreads around as the ground of that island cracks, and Vegeta is hurled thousands of miles away, leaving the island, creating an abyssal line in the ocean as he skims across the waters, and crashing into a mountain on another island, smashing against the great mountain. Trapped amidst the rocks of the mountain, Vegeta has blood running from his mouth, absolutely surprised by the incredible speed and strength with which the enemy attacked. "Damn, what power is this? Even though I knew what his attack would be like, I just couldn't react to it. I can't use little power against that enemy. I need to raise my ki immediately." After watching, Vegeta gets punched. Zoro laughs and says that's what happens when someone underestimates the Pirate King. Vegeta sees Luffy already above the island, who is coming from an extremely powerful jump that made him travel all that distance in the blink of an eye. "Gomu Gomu no!" In a fraction of a second, Luffy's leg is stretched until he leaves the planet. "Oh no!" The rubberized leg descends with all its power towards Vegeta at such a high speed that it is enveloped by flames. Vegeta quickly raises his ki to increase his speed and escape, seeing that entire mountain being cut from top to bottom by Luffy's leg like an axe cutting through jelly. This feat impresses the Saiyan. He destroyed that mountain with incredible ease. "Things on this planet are not like those on the planet in my reality. They are much denser. This mountain that this guy just chopped down like it was nothing is denser than 10 planets in my reality. And that's not all. This guy seems to be just getting started. Despite that stupid face, I need to be careful with him." The fight between Goku and Naruto continues in a very fierce physical confrontation. On the one hand, Naruto uses an advanced level of taijutsu, combining a high degree of fighting skill with his great physical power, representing the dexterity of the one called the Shinobi God. On the other hand, Goku also shows all his mastery in martial arts, proving the value of the combat style of the Turtle School and that of the Angels, in addition to the various styles he has learned throughout his life as a martial artist. Naruto charges forward with a spinning kick, his legs slicing through the air towards Goku with impressive speed. Goku blocks the blow with his forearms, feeling the impact reverberate through his bones. He counterattacks with a powerful punch, which Naruto deftly dodges with an agile movement. Goku charges forward, his speed increasing as he delivers a rapid series of punches and kicks. Naruto responds with a combination of rapid strikes, his fists and feet moving like light. Goku seems to gain the upper hand as the physical confrontation continues. His decades of combat experience make a difference compared to Naruto, who, even though he is a prodigy ninja, does not have half the Saiyan's lifespan, training, and combat experience. Goku's combat skills, combined with the technical refinement of his Ultra Instinct, prove superior to Naruto's taijutsu, who gradually begins to receive an increasing number of attacks, each one strong and precise enough to shake the ninja. Gomu Gomu no Stampa! Luffy screams as he throws his leg at Vegeta, catching the Saiyan several meters away almost instantly. Vegeta, this time with his speed increased due to his raised power level, avoids the attack by taking flight, and then firing a barrage of energy balls at Luffy. "Take that, you weirdo!" the Saiyan shouts, but Luffy already knows how to deal with it. Gomu Gomu no Fusen! From one moment to the next, Luffy's body inflates like a balloon. Vegeta's key spheres hit the body and are thrown back at the Saiyan at an even greater speed. Surprised, Vegeta protects his body with his arms, receiving a series of explosions from his own attacks. Gomu Gomu no Bullet! A punch even more powerful than the pistol is thrown at the destroyer in the sky, who is squarely hit in the abdomen and vomits his own blood. God Vegeta reacts immediately, grabbing Luffy's arm and starting to spin his body as fast and strong as a cyclone. After spinning the Pirate King multiple times, accumulating incredible strength, Vegeta throws him. Luffy travels through the air at extraordinary speed, reaching millions of kilometers per hour in less than a second, traveling over many islands and seas. The God of Destruction follows, chasing the enemy, flying extraordinarily fast, preparing a punch with overwhelming power. However, in a moment that he passes in the middle of a plateau, Luffy stretches his arms to grab the rocky walls of the plateau, using his strength and stretch to gradually stop his body, while at the same time forming something similar to the arc of a slingshot until he finally stops after stretching for multiple kilometers. Gomu Gomu no Rocket! Using the power generated by stretching his arms, Luffy throws himself towards Vegeta like a rocket of light, heading towards the opponent who was coming to attack with astronomical speed, catching him off guard. Vegeta and Luffy meet in the sky, with one stopping the other. The pirate hits the Saiyan with colossal power, which, added to the power with which Vegeta advanced, generates an impact so monstrous that it blows away all the clouds in the sky above them, as well as tearing apart the entire large island below them, which it had a density greater than hundreds of ordinary planets. Luffy and Vegeta fall from the sky to the wreckage of the island below. Luffy lands on his feet, and Vegeta falls. Despite the pain, Hakaishin gets up. The Pirate King praises him, saying that Vegeta is a tough guy. Vegeta also praises Luffy, saying that his ability to stretch his body is not like that of Piccolo or anyone else he has met. Luffy is truly a master at this, and although it seems simple, it is a very difficult skill to deal with. However, unfortunately for you, I'm already starting to understand how your combat style works. And you won't be able to surprise me for long, warns the Prince of Saiyans with a mischievous smile appearing on his face. As the fight between Goku and Naruto continues, the advantages seem to lean more and more towards the Saiyan side. Naruto, despite all his power and skill as a ninja, is gradually finding himself at a disadvantage compared to Goku's combat experience and prowess. The raven-haired warrior's every moment is executed with a precision and effectiveness that speaks to the years of training and battles he has faced throughout his life. Goku advances with increasingly faster and more powerful blows, his aura of transparent energy radiating as he makes the blonde ninja fumble in his own movements due to the difficulty of defending and dodging. Goku's fists find their targets with surgical precision, while Naruto struggles to keep pace. His movements, although agile and powerful, appear to be no match for Goku's refined combat skill and raw strength. Each blow he deflects is followed by another, and so his defense weakens more and more. If this continues, he's going to finish me off. Naruto recognizes it. Confident of his growing advantage in the fight, Goku advances for an attack with the intention of ending it once and for all. A punch equipped with a high amount of concentrated force. However, Naruto holds the blow with his hand, causing an impact explosion to spread hundreds of kilometers away, destroying the surrounding ground. Goku didn't expect that. What happened? I was sure this punch would defeat you. Now showing an orange glow in his eyes that takes on the appearance of a frog, Naruto responds, "You're right, that punch would definitely defeat me, but only if I had the same power as a second ago." After activating Sage Mode in less than a second and holding back Goku's blow, Naruto retaliates by hitting his other hand with a Rasengan straight to his abdomen, pushing the older fighter towards the sky, and then the technique culminates in a huge explosion with enough luminous capacity to light up an entire large country. Gomu Gomu no Gatling! A machine gun of punches comes towards Vegeta, who fearlessly advances against the attacks and avoids the enemy's arms. Even in the midst of all these blows, Vegeta reaches Luffy, delivering a clear blow to the rubber man's face. However, only Luffy's head is pushed with Vegeta's blow, and then returns with incredible strength. At the same time, time that Luffy grabs Vegeta's shoulders to prevent him from retreating. Gomu Gomu no Ken! A devastating headbutt comes at Vegeta's face. However, the Prince of Saiyans is smarter and jumps, making Luffy's face crash into his knee. Luffy lets go of him and staggers away. I already told you that I would quickly get used to your fighting style. Those cheap tricks won't work against me anymore, says the Saiyan. Recovering from his dizziness, Luffy responds with a challenging smile. In that case, I'll change the way I fight a little. A strange vapor begins to be released from Luffy's body, and at the same time, the pirate's skin takes on a reddish tone, as if he were combusting. Luffy, without any difficulty and almost instantly, summons the power of his Gear Second. What is this? Vegeta wonders, watching carefully. Goku descends from the sky like a meteor, flames and ki enveloping his body. Naruto, accumulating a large amount of strength in his leg, performs a powerful jump, propelling himself into the sky like a flaming rocket. The Saiyan coming from above and the Shinobi coming from below meet in the middle with a downward and upward punch, the clash of their fists causing an intense reverberation at a gigantic distance. The encounter causes the two to cancel each other's movement in midair, and then their fall begins. While gravity acts, pulling the two towards the ground, the combatants exchange fierce blows. They hit the ground at the same time, with Naruto immediately executing a blow that Goku deftly dodges. However, the Saiyan is surprised when he receives the attack despite having dodged it, being sent flying and bouncing across the ground. When he recovers from the blow he just received, Goku comments that this is very strange, as he is sure he dodged that punch. After thinking a little better and concentrating for a moment, Goku finally realizes what happened. I'm feeling something different in the environment. It seems that somehow nature is responding to your power. The transformation you just used didn't just cause a simple increase in your physical attributes, did it? No, Naruto responds. Sage mode makes me able to channel the energy of nature, not only increasing my overall power, but also giving me some other types of abilities. Goku smiles excitedly and praises Naruto, saying it's a cool technique. In a serpentine low flight, Vegeta lunges at Luffy, who attacks him with a technique called Gomu Gomu no Jet Gatling, a much stronger and faster version of the punch machine gun that he used shortly before. Despite the pirate's increased speed, the Saiyan is able to follow his movements, also faster due to having released more power. It's useless to increase your speed if your combat style is the same. I already said it won't work against me, Vegeta screams. He reaches Luffy, running him over with a punch right in the middle of the chest, dragging him a vast distance, causing a large line of destruction on the ground. When Vegeta looks at his hand that just hit his opponent, he sees that it is bleeding. What happened? His body suddenly became very hard. Vegeta looks at Luffy and notices that his chest is coated with some kind of dark metal. Armament haki. You didn't expect that, right? The Pirate King says, with a superb tone. Then, he coats his arms with this metal and disappears from in front of Vegeta at such an incredible speed that it looks like teleportation. Reappearing above the Saiyan, he throws a punch with a spinning arm. Gomu Gomu no Hawk Rifle! The rotating metallic rubber arm goes at full speed. However, Vegeta disappears with the teleportation, surprising Luffy. The Saiyan reappears above him, preparing a big bang attack that he launches into Luffy's blind spot. However, he turns around, interlacing his fingers. Gomu Gomu no Tate! Luffy's fingers take on the appearance of a net, receiving the energy fired by Vegeta and throwing it back at him. The destroyer is caught off guard by that, but manages to dodge the return shot. However, he does not avoid Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Jet Whip, being hit squarely on the opponent's whip kick and thrown back to the ground of the island, sweeping a radius of kilometers of trees before finally stopping. Vegeta wonders what's going on. I'm pretty sure I aimed at his blind spot, and even though he has the ability to sense my ki, it was too quick for him to react like that. So how did he do that? The battle between the Saiyan warrior and the Hidden Leaf Village ninja becomes a whirlwind of movement and energy, each blow delivered with pinpoint precision. Goku uses his ki masterfully, and Naruto channels natural energy with his chakra like a true Sai. Despite the power of nature being in his favor, Naruto finds himself at a disadvantage again, realizing that Goku has already adapted to his combat style. Goku knocks Naruto away and launches a Kamehameha, the energy wave cutting through the air with devastating power. The ninja responds with a big ball Rasengan, concentrating his chakra in large quantities into a giant sphere of energy that collides with Goku's attack in an explosion of light and sound. After this clash of powers, Goku suffers nothing. Naruto, on the other hand, displays injuries on his arm. Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura watch the fight from a distance with great concern. Sasuke comments that Naruto's Sage mode has already been surpassed by that guy. Kakashi comments that if that is the case, Naruto's next step will be to use that power. Sakura says it's better for them to stay away because if Naruto uses this power and this enemy responds in kind, everyone around them will be in danger, and they will need to deal with the side effects of this battle. The three then agree to move away. With the sensitive power of Sage Mode, Naruto notices the departure of his companions, and then makes his decision and warns, "Get ready, because from now on, I'm going to fight really seriously." From one moment to the next, Naruto's body was surrounded by an intense golden glow. "Come on, Kurama." Goku is very aware of this. Although he cannot sense his opponent's power accurately, he can tell that it has increased a lot, and that things will indeed get more intense from now on. Vegeta and Luffy's fight continues on an increasing scale of power. More and more smoke is released from the pirate's body, and his skin burns more and more intensely as he pushes the limits of his gear second. Until recently, Vegeta was at a complete disadvantage in the fight, unable to land a single blow on Luffy. The Straw Hat, in contrast, was always successful in his attacks. Now this is starting to change, and as Vegeta receives Luffy's blows, he improves his performance in the fight, being able to dodge and defend more of the enemy's attacks, and now also being able to counterattack. When a sequence of stronger blows hit him, Luffy becomes confused and pressured. With an arrogant smile, Vegeta says that he finally understood what was happening. "You were anticipating my attacks, weren't you? I don't know how you do it, but I realize that somehow you're able to predict the future in a few seconds, and that's how you intercept even my most unpredictable attacks. However, I realize that if I increase my speed, even if you're able to predict my movements, you'll not be able to react to them." Hit by the God of Destruction's consecutive attacks, Luffy laments, "Damn, how did this guy manage to discover the secret behind my observation haki so quickly?" A series of punishing blows target Luffy, finishing him with a point-blank energy shot that sweeps the pirate away, along with half of the island they were on and a huge portion of the ocean. After all these attacks, Luffy shows a considerable amount of injuries, and the pain that spreads throughout his body is the sign he needs to know that at this level, he will not be able to win this battle. Floating, Vegeta begins to evoke a high amount of destructive ki. "I don't have any more time to waste with you. Time to die." The Saiyan Hakaishin gathers his energy into a large globe of destruction power, and then launches his powerful Hakai against the enemy. Luffy stands still facing the attack that comes at him, making Vegeta wonder if he has finally given up. But Luffy sure didn't give up. He raises one of his arms, making it inflate to an incredible size, and then being stiffened by armament haki, the pirate then gives his response to the Saiyan's attack. "Gomu Gomu no Elephant Gun!" The giant arm is fired in the direction of Vegeta's energy attack, hitting the globe with titanic force to the point of making that enormous mass of power return from where it came like a tennis ball hit by a racket. What? Vegeta is shocked. The mass of power of destruction returns to the destroyer with a speed much greater than it was released by him. Without options, Vegeta quickly extends his hands towards the globe, and before being hit by his own energy, he makes it disappear. This required some effort from the panting god of destruction. "You damn brat, what is this skill now?" "I call it Gear 3rd, Luffy responds, proud of his own skill. In the form of flashes of energy, Goku and Naruto clash through thousands of blows per second. The Konoha ninja imbued with powerful golden energy, and the Earth Saiyan enveloped by a dense layer of transparent ki, both leaving traces of their energy as they engage in a duel of blows whose power shakes the entire environment around them, even this planet having a resistance that is equivalent to several universes. Naruto quickly disappears in a flash of light, leaving multiple clones that advance by all directions, surrounding Goku, who uses his refinement martial skills to deflect, defend, and counterattack the clones, who disappear when hit. Goku starts moving with strong starts while raising his ki, sweeping away a large number of clones with each start, until there are none left. With his heightened senses, he can perceive the real Naruto, who fires a Rasen Shuriken at him, which Goku responds with a Kienzan. The Ki Disc and the Chakra Shuriken meet in the middle of the path, one rotating frantically against the other, releasing several sparks of energy from friction until culminating in an explosion of power. As if it were an energy machine gun, Goku fires a barrage of Ki blasts at the opponent, who advances in a zigzag pattern until he reaches the Saiyan again. The two warriors exchange powerful blows that make the ground shake and the heavens echo with the sound of the collisions. Naruto finally thinks to find a gap in Goku's impeccable defense, trying a stunning blow. Unfortunately for him, Goku dodges the attack by millimeters to hit the opponent with an even stronger counterattack, which creates a shockwave that spreads across the battlefield, throwing debris into the air and shaking the earth beneath his feet at the same time that sends Naruto a gigantic distance, destroying everything in front of his body. Ground, rocks, trees, mountains, nothing remains intact when the shinobi god thrown by the old Saiyan collides with it. Did I win? Goku wonders, trying to see what happened to the ninja, who ended up very far away. He has his answer when he sees the figure of a giant nine-tailed fox appear on the horizon, formed by Naruto's unmistakable energy. What is that? He wonders, curious. Gomu Gomu no Giant Stamp! Luffy screams after jumping over Vegeta. The rubber man's foot gains gigantic proportions, becoming larger than the large island Vegeta is on at the moment and descending against the Saiyan and the island at a frighteningly high speed for a foot with so much mass. Seeing that he couldn't dodge it in time, God Vegeta uses teleportation, leaving the entire island to be crushed alone under Luffy's foot. The force of the Pirate King's stomp is such that it causes the ocean waters around the island to spread over great distances, causing a widespread tsunami that extends across a large part of that multiversal scale planet. Vegeta completes his teleportation by reappearing, flying over Luffy with both hands joined and beginning to concentrate a high amount of power. Final Flash! The God of Destruction attacks with a massive wave of energy. You won't be able to dodge this in the air, but Luffy doesn't intend to dodge. Gomu Gomu no Gigant Fusen! Becoming a gigantic ball of air, Luffy receives the shot directly into his body, being extended hundreds of kilometers by Vegeta's energy torrent. I will go through your body. Vegeta continues to release more and more energy with the intention of making Luffy's body stretch as much as possible until it finally gives way. However, not even Vegeta expected that Luffy could extend beyond the limits of that planet of multiversal proportions. Finally, the Saiyan's energy is returned, now with a pressure thousands of times greater than the initial one. Vegeta tries to stop the attack, but he can't. An explosion with the power of multiversal destruction hits the God of Destruction squarely, causing a light greater than thousands of suns to radiate across the sky of that gigantic planet, while a thunderous boom greater than 1,000,000 thunder reverberates, causing extremely intense vibrations that provokes earthquakes of very high scales throughout the world. Goku is facing the giant fox coming towards him when the blinding light takes over the skies and the thunderous sound echoes, making the entire earth shake intensely. What incredible power! Goku thinks as he witnesses all those events on such extraordinary scales. It looks like Luffy is in an intense fight with the other guy. Naruto comments and wonders if he's okay. Kurama scolds Naruto, saying that he has to focus on his own opponent, which is already enough of a problem. Goku goes against Naruto and Kurama. He floats in a way that is face to face with Kurama's head, which is where Naruto is. Hey, do you know if there's anyone fighting against my companion named Vegeta? He questions. Goku cannot sense Vegeta's ki in this reality. However, he deduces that he has something to do with it. I'm not going to give you any information, Naruto responds. Then I will end this fight and investigate on my own, Goku retorts. Concentrating his ki, Goku manifests it into a large avatar of energy that equals Kurama's size. What about this? I know how to summon a giant too. Naruto is surprised by this and says that his technique reminds him a lot of Sasuke Susanoo. I've never heard of this technique, Goku says. Impatient, Kurama manifests his chakra with great intensity, saying that they are not there to talk. Goku claps his fists, saying that if they want to continue fighting, he won't be the one to oppose. Naruto claps his fists equally in total agreement. After receiving his own final flash head on with multiplied power, Vegeta remains still in the air, showing that he withstood all that damage without being carried away by that colossal power. However, there are consequences on his body. Multiple injuries, many visible, many not. You damn rubber brat! Vegeta curses his opponent, panting. After the explosion, Luffy was thrown into the sea, with the force of impact sending him into the deepest regions of the ocean. However, with his monstrous physical fitness, he was able to quickly return, and his head emerges from the water looking at the enemy in the sky. Luffy doesn't seem affected by the water in any way. Wow, are you still alive after that? The pirate is impressed when he sees the enemy alive and conscious in the sky. Enraged, Vegeta begins to release his power of destruction with frightening intensity, shaking the waters and skies, causing intense waves and strong electrical gusts as well as great winds. Zoro, who is following the fight from a distance, reflects impressed on the incredible power of this invader and realizes that Luffy will have no other option than to try even harder. After Vegeta resists that explosion, Luffy understands that he will not be defeated with just his current level of power. Therefore, he needs to take things to the next level. Luffy's body begins to inflate and be taken over by dark energy. A high amount of smoke exhaled by him surrounds the straw hat. And then when this smoke is dispersed, the pirate presents a new form. Gear forth, bound man, he exclaims as he emerges from the water, floating with the jet being released from his legs.
In a large continental portion of the vast planet that is equivalent to many entire universe, the figure of two titans stands out. On one side is the manifestation of Goku's ki, which has his appearance. On the other side is the physical manifestation of the nine-tailed fox, belonging to Naruto. Naruto warns Kurama to be ready, as this guy's energy seems to be incredibly dense. Kurama says he already knows that. Goku smiles at the opponent opponents in front of him, excited to realize the great power they have. Hovering over the waters of the planet's gigantic ocean, Luffy and Vegeta watch each other. The energy of destruction surrounds God Vegeta, who carefully studies the form that the opponent in front of him has just revealed. Luffy, staying in the air using turbines on his legs, faces the other combatant seriously, smoke exhaling from his body. Enraged by all the trouble this idiot is causing, Vegeta guarantees that no matter what transformation and abilities Luffy uses, he will be completely destroyed in the end. Directing a defiant look at the god of destruction, the Pirate King tells him to stop talking and get it done. And so Vegeta does, raising his ki to fly with high power and advance against the pirate. Luffy doesn't shy away, and releasing a high concentrated steam from his legs, he goes against the destroyer. Vegeta envelops his fist with the power of destruction, preparing a destructive punch. Luffy strongly contracts one of his arms, accumulating all the power he can for an ultra strong punch. The two meet, clashing their fists, generating an extraordinary impact force that opens a true abyss in that gigantic ocean below them. Vegeta strongly feels the impact of Luffy's blow, with his body vibrating from his hand to his toes. This guy's strength has increased absurdly, the Saiyan notices. Luffy, however, feels the oppression of destruction ki because of the clash with Vegeta's hand. This guy's energy, it's like he's going to tear me to pieces. Kurama is the first to attack, throwing an armful at Goku's ki avatar, which dodges in time. The pressure of Kurama's giant arm passing through the air causes a strong wind, sweeping away land and trees that were in the direction of the attack. Goku swings his energy giant, counter-attacking with a punch that has enough force to drag Kurama's massive body along the ground when he blocks it with his arms. The fox's response is a quick-tailed beast bomb. Goku deflects it with his giant arm, launching the energy into the middle of a dense forest, much of which disappears in the explosion triggered by the Nine Tails power. Kurama, on 4 legs, runs towards Goku, who meets him. The colossal bodies of the beast and the Saiyan meet in a huge clash, causing intense winds and vibrations to travel an enormous distance. Goku, driven by the pulsing energy of his ki, launches a series of rapid attacks, his fists and feet moving like lightning despite his large size as he tries to find an opening in Kurama's defense. The nine-tailed fox, in turn, responds with fatal attack, his sharp claws cutting the air with fury as he seeks to shred the opponent, who masterfully avoids the attack. With one of his tails, Kurama hits a group of trees in the forest, pulling them out of the ground and launching towards Goku, who, with his giant hands, deflects them all with punches. Kurama takes advantage of the Saiyan's distraction with the trees to advance with a sequence of chopping attacks using his claws. However, the Colossus of Ki, provided by the incredible abilities of Ultra Instinct, dodges all of the tailed beast's attacks and then retaliates with blows that sequentially target the monster's body. But Kurama is not easily defeated. With a furious roar, he releases his chakra into the surroundings with enough pressure to make even the Titan Goku be pushed away. Once gaining a certain distance from him, Kurama simulates physical attacks in the air, launching immense chakra claws that seek Goku from a distance. However, Goku maneuvers that enormous body of energy with unparalleled mastery, making that cyclopean body perfectly replicate the fluid and agile movements of Ultra Instinct to escape all chakra claws. And then it's Goku's turn to attack, simulating a barrage of punches from a distance, sending shockwaves through the air that find their target repeatedly, wreaking havoc on the fox's body. The fox stretches all of his 9 tails at once in an attempt to grab Goku, who manages to escape using his teleportation and get closer to resume the direct physical confrontation. Seeing Kurama being pressured by the Ki Giant's blows, Naruto decides to act, jumping from the fox to attack Goku directly. Goku doesn't even wait, also jumping against the ninja, with the two meeting in the air and starting a frank exchange of blows. Thus, a confrontation takes place between the Colossi and the smaller ones, both resulting in major catastrophes in the region due to the excessive power of these beings. Naruto suddenly creates a battalion of shadow clones that surround Goku in the air, all preparing a Rasen Shuriken for a combined attack of devastating proportion. However, Goku escapes the siege using his teleportation, reappearing in a position above Naruto and his clones with a globe of power the size of a spirit bomb prepared. When Goku throws this Luffy's energy, just hitting a single clone, will trigger a gigantic explosion in the sky that wipes all copies of Naruto from existence, also pushing the shinobi god away. Kurama comes to Naruto's aid, ceasing his exchange of blows with the key avatar to prevent Naruto from moving away and resting him back on his head. Absolutely furious and impatient, Kurama says he is tired of this fight and will put an end to it. The nine-tailed fox accumulates an obscene amount of his chakra in his mouth, foreshadowing an extremely powerful and deadly shot. Goku hurries to return to his energy avatar, preparing himself for what's to come. Kurama fires his chakra in the form of a majestic wave of energy that rushes towards the Saiyan faster than light. However, Goku is also fast, throwing a Kamehameha of gigantic proportions. The titanic waves of ki and chakra collide in a spectacle of power, culminating in an explosion of mastodontic scales. From the hidden leaf village, the large explosion can be seen, and also its shock wave approaching the village with overwhelming pressure. From the village wall, Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke see this. The white-haired ninja acts quickly, creating a large wall of mud, which acts as a barrier for the entire village. Touching this wall, Sasuke gives it the chakra layer of his Susanoo. In this way, the village is saved. Sakura says that this is already going too far, and that she never imagined that this enemy could be so strong as to make Naruto reach this point. Kakashi, equally worried, says that if things continue like this, the entire world could be destroyed. The great ocean is flown over by two figures who leave as traces of their movements only flashes. Figures, blinding explosions of light and impact waves that stir up the waters. Vegeta and Luffy fight voraciously, firing powerful attacks at each other, armed with the power of destruction and the dark energy of armament haki added to the strength of Gear 4. The more battle time passes, the more surprised Vegeta becomes. The reason for the God of Destruction's surprise is that no matter how much he increases the intensity of his power of destruction, Luffy's body does not seem to be affected. Luffy, realizing earlier that it was dangerous for his body to remain in contact with that sinister purple energy, enveloped his body with the energy of armament haki, a technique called emission. With this layer of energy surrounding him, Luffy gains a layer of protection against Vegeta's destructive power. In addition to using emission to protect his own body against Hakai and being able to strike Vegeta without touching him directly, Luffy also uses the most advanced stage of armament haki, called internal destruction. Using this technique, the Straw Hat makes the energy of his attacks penetrate deep into Vegeta's body, who feels each blow damage his interior in internal explosions of impact that create fissures and small tears in his bones, muscles, and vital organs. In addition to being difficult to resist and defend the enemy's attacks, Vegeta also has difficulty landing his own attacks, as Luffy's very advanced observation haki helps him anticipate Vegeta's blows, who can only land attacks if they are much faster than Luffy's reaction time, which is not easy. You annoying worm! Vegeta reaches the peak of his stress, breaking away from Luffy to summon a large amount of destructive power into a massive sphere. Luffy realizes the danger of that attack and then gives Vegeta an oppressive look, which, to the Saiyan's complete surprise, actually oppresses him. The great mass of power of destruction disappears from Vegeta's hands, who wonders what just happened and why his body is shaking. Luffy just used his Supreme King haki intensely, imposing his willpower against the Saiyans. What kind of power is this? It's like this guy is dominating me from the inside, Vegeta wonders, impressed. After the large explosion resulting from the shocks of chakra and ki energies, Kurama's form collapsed around Naruto, and Goku's ki avatar also vanished. The two are at the center of a zone of destruction created by the energy dispute that just occurred. Between the two, without a doubt, the one who suffered the most is Naruto. Goku praises him, saying that Naruto is very strong, despite being so young. Naruto also praises him, saying that Goku exceeded his expectations. There's no way, I'll need to use my full power against you. So you still have more power? Amazing! Goku is both surprised and excited. Yes, I have one more form to use, and it's not just any transformation. The power I'm going to use now is the one that gave me the title of Shinobi God. Naruto's chakra grows in intensity, propelling a frantic beam of light that even dazzles Goku's eyes, who observes an exponential increase in the ninja's power. This is my 6 paths sage mode. This is the true power of the Shinobi God, Naruto announces, his face with a seriousness that Goku hadn't seen until now. You look like a different person now. I'm sure your power has increased a lot, the older warrior comments. What I feel coming from you is something simply transcendental. There is no better word to describe it. Naruto says that Goku is very observant. Since you were able to notice this, you should already know that things are going to get desperate for you from now on. How about giving up this fight and surrendering at once? When he hears this, Goku laughs, as if I were going to give up at the best time. You know, you are not the only one who has a transformation that can be called transcendental. After capturing Naruto's curiosity with his words, Goku begins to concentrate, soon beginning to release an energy very different from what Naruto was seeing until now. Before long, his appearance is changed and the Saiyan shows a new look. I present to you the Shinken form, Goku announces. Naruto's eyes stare at this transformation, as if he were hypnotized, even though he is not able to accurately feel that strange energy that the invader of his world possesses. Naruto can know with certainty that this is a power that transcends the common laws of reality. How about we start the last round? Goku Shinken suggests. Who are you rooting for? Naruto or Goku? If you're rooting for Naruto, comment now. Hashtag Naruto 6 Paths Mode. Or comment hashtag Goku Shinken if you're rooting for Goku to win. Anyway, moving on. Gomu Gomu no Kong Gun. After retracting his fist, embedding great power, Luffy throws a powerful and accurate punch at God Vegeta, who, with his ability to react affected by the oppression of Conqueror's haki, finds himself unable to dodge the blow despite it being a direct and obvious attack. The God of Destruction travels thousands of light years away, cutting across the great ocean, leaving a trail the size of an abyss on the waters. Entire islands are cut in half as he passes them. Mountains are separated or simply shattered by the collision with the Saiyan's body. After billions of kilometers traveled across the large multiversal scale planet, Vegeta finally stops when he finds the floor of an island in which a large crater opens. Upon getting up, the Saiyan Hakaishin vomits his own blood, his body severely shaken by the power of internal destruction haki, which punished his entire internal structure. Damn, the mental power this bastard can exert is unreal. It's as if an energy greater than that of multiple universes is pressing down on my body. Luffy lands on the island. His eyes remain fixed and serious on the opponent, exuding an absurdly high oppression. Vegeta thinks about attacking, but falls to his knees when Supreme King Haki increases in intensity. It's over for you. Stay on the ground and surrender. Stay down. Surrender. Vegeta repeats the words with indignation. You worm. Who do you think you're talking to? I am the Prince of Saiyans, the great Vegeta, and I don't bow to anyone. In an explosion of power and fury, Vegeta releases his ki. In an instant, all the oppression of the Conqueror's haki is removed from him, to the complete shock of Luffy, who sees the power of his willpower being completely driven away before the determination of that proud warrior girded in bright purple energy, who in this moment shows a very different appearance. What happened to this guy? His power. I don't know how to explain it, but his power seems to come from another world now. Vegeta Shinken faces his enemy with fury, but also with pride. You better be prepared, rubber brat, because now I'm going to tear you apart. After hearing Vegeta saying he's going to tear him apart, Luffy, despite feeling a certain fear for realizing that his opponent has just shown a power that seems to have made him transcend normality, also becomes enraged and adopts a defiant stance, warning the Saiyan it's better not to underestimate him. Gomu Gomu no Leo Bazooka! Luffy advances against Vegeta, contracting his two arms to release a double punch with extreme power, hitting the Saiyan's chest, generating such overwhelming power that it causes great destruction in the surrounding scenery, dividing the entire island into several parts that now float separately in the sea. Vegeta, however, receives this blow with a resilience that scares Luffy, making the Pirate King retreat when he realizes that the enemy was hit like that and barely moved. What is that? How did you take this hit and act like it was nothing? Vegeta says that his power has increased on a gigantic scale, so his physical resistance is now at a level far beyond. Luffy, however, argues that even if Vegeta's body had become more resistant externally, the power of his internal destruction haki should have destroyed him from the inside, given the force that was used and the energy that was emitted in that blow. That's right, I forgot to tell you about this internal damage you were causing to my body. It won't work on me anymore. It's useless. Luffy is surprised and asks what he means by that. You were releasing a strange energy from your body and making it somehow penetrate mine to cause me internal damage. Isn't that right? It's a very efficient technique, I have to admit. However, unfortunately for you, Shinken increases my destructive capabilities to extreme levels, and I can even cause destruction to what is inside my own body. What I did now was simply use my power of destruction to destroy your energy the moment it invaded my body, before it even had time to do me any harm. Luffy is shocked when he hears this. Did you destroy the energy of my haki inside your body? How is this possible? Smiling arrogantly, Vegeta responds by saying that from now on, Luffy will ask himself that question often. Goku Shinken and Naruto 6 Path Sage mode study each other attentively, both recognizing the other as an enemy who, in his own way, has reached a transcendental stage of power and who, therefore, must be respected. In the form of a ray of light, Goku disappears from Naruto's front. The shinobi, with his senses heightened by the Supreme Sage mode, easily finds the Saiyan hovering above him in the sky. With his hands aimed at the ninja below, Goku rains energy blasts on him from which it seems impossible for Naruto to escape. In fact, Naruto doesn't escape. He just points his hand up and exclaims, "Shinra Tensei!" Thanks to a powerful magnetic force emitted by him, Goku's shots are returned with double the power, forcing the Shinken warrior to use the transcendental abilities of his Ultra Instinct to dodge his own attacks. Naruto points his hand to the sky and fires a barrage of missiles which quickly reach Goku and chase him when the Saiyan begins to dodge. Fortunately, his speed and skill are unparalleled, allowing him to move spectacularly through the skies, avoiding shots while exploding the projectiles with his energy. After that, Goku moves in the blink of an eye to Naruto's back to fire a strong wave of energy that the ninja repels by extending his hands and sucking out all the energy. What annoying skills this guy has, Goku complains. Gomu Gomu no! Kong Organ! Multiple attacks from Luffy hit Vegeta's body in a barrage of punches containing all the power that Luffy's Gear 4 can generate. But all of this is to the frustration of the pirate who sees the Saiyan acting indifferently in the face of his blows. Then comes Vegeta's turn to attack, and he does so by reaching Luffy with a destructive punch, which when it hits the pirate's body, releases a destructive energy into the surrounding area so intense that it makes all the remaining parts of that destroyed island disappear, as well as all the ocean water and pieces of land within a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, making that entire region previously filled with land and water a total void surrounded by dust. The only matter that remains is Luffy's body, which, despite resisting, is severely shaken, losing its transformation and failing into the abyss where the island and the water below it were before. Now it's over. Vegeta proclaims his victory after a sigh. However, as he falls deeper into this great abyss, millions of kilometers deep, Luffy's almost inanimate body begins to release a strange smoke, while at the same time, he begins to shake. Luffy's hair begins to take on a strange shape, and a wide smile takes over his face. Involuntary rubbery movements begin, and lightning is released around him. And then, in a smiling scream, Luffy ascends again, emerging from the abyss with an ambiguous movement, not knowing whether it was a jump in the air or a flight, returning to his opponent, exhaling energy, smoke, electricity, and a loud laugh. When he sees his enemy come out of the abyss like that, showing a new appearance and a mischievous smile. Vegeta asks what the hell is going on there, being sure that that blow should have at least knocked him out. Luffy responds by saying that now Vegeta will finally witness the power that made him proclaim the great pirate king, and also the most powerful pirate of all time. Inflating his arm, Luffy fires a punch so ridiculously fast that it catches even Vegeta Shinken off guard, hitting the center of the Saiyan's body and causing an impact so surreal that it makes Vegeta's eyes pop out of his face and then launches him far, far away. Luffy tells him to prepare, because from now on Vegeta is going to have the funniest fight of his life. Naruto and Goku traverse heaven and earth exchanging blows, their strength equivalent to that of two colossal titans. Their speeds exceed light, their skills and abilities surpass the most absolute masters. Their powers cannot be described as anything less than divine and transcendental. Seeing some disadvantage in the direct exchange of blows, Naruto summons a staff, now trying to hit Goku with this divine weapon, forcing the Saiyan to adopt a more defensive posture to dodge. At one point, Goku lets Naruto hit the ground with his staff as he dodges, and witnesses a fissure the size of an abyss open beneath them, making the ground more resistant than hundreds of planets look like jelly struck by a knife. Man, this thing is dangerous. Goku gets a little scared. Choosing to keep his distance, Goku moves back and launches a small sphere at Naruto, but which has a high amount of concentrated energy. Using his staff, Naruto summons a truth-seeking ball, and throwing this sphere against Goku's energy makes it completely disappear from existence in an instant. What incredible power this sphere has, Goku comments. Naruto produces more of them in an instant and throws them all at Goku, who quickly and skillfully needs to dodge. Using his staff, the ninja god guides the spheres towards Goku, who constantly needs to escape them. With this sage mode of mine, I can do things unimaginable to other ninjas, such as using almost any jutsu or producing these spheres at my pleasure, as far as my chakra allows. You can escape these, but I can produce much more, to the point that not even you can escape anymore. Goku says that in that case, he will need to try a little harder. Girding his fists with highly concentrated Shinken energy, Goku begins to launch attacks against the truth-seeking balls, which explode upon contact with this energy. Impossible. These spheres should be able to disintegrate anything, Naruto says, in disbelief at what he sees. It seems that my Shinken energy can transcend the elements you construct these balls with, Goku explains. Annoyed, Naruto asks if what Goku is trying to say is that his powers transcend his. We'll soon find out, right? The Saiyan's response comes with a provocative smile. Thrown against a continental portion, Vegeta opens a gigantic crater in the continent, resulting from the impact with his body thrown by Luffy's overwhelming strength. Rising once again, even more injured, the god of destruction curses his opponent, questioning what kind of power this is. Luffy, reaching him with a jump and a maniacal laugh, landing on the ground, making it become a trampoline with his touch, says that this is the power of his Gear 5, the power of a god. Is this the power of a god? Don't make me laugh, you worm! I will show you what the power of a god is. Vegeta points his hand and fires a powerful Hakai at the rubber man. However, Luffy, in a way inexplicable to common logic, amidst his hysterical laughter, distorts the ground to launch that powerful energy of destruction back at the Hakaishin, who is so scared that his tongue comes out of his mouth. The destructive explosion hits Vegeta squarely, roasting his body and stunning the god of destruction. Muka 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 muke! Luffy inflates his body and, laughing, lands a sequence of punches on Vegeta, who receives all the attacks in disbelief until a stronger blow hits him squarely, throwing the destroyer into the sky, straight into outer space. But Luffy goes after him. Setting his legs spinning at extraordinary speed, he literally runs through the skies and space, catching up to Vegeta in the vacuum and even surpassing the Hakaishin. And then a punch comes, so strong that it launches Vegeta back to the gigantic planet with such monstrous power that it makes the Saiyan god fall in the form of a meteor, crushing the earth and opening a colossal crater. Vegeta staggers to his feet, so stunned that he sees birds circling his head. "Get out, you stupid birds!" The grumpy Saiyan screams as he scares away the birds. But even more stunned is Vegeta when he sees a real Titan tearing through the clouds in the sky, landing next to him. Luffy now shows monstrous size. Gomu Gomu no giant! Vegeta grinds his teeth in irritation. I never thought it was possible, but I finally found an opponent more annoying than that damn Kakarot. Watching everything from afar, Zoro smiles. No matter how strong this spiky-haired man is, Luffy will not be defeated, not using this power. It was with this power that he was finally acclaimed as the great pirate king and the most powerful pirate in history. In this form, his powers are like those of a god, and only that guy called a god can match him. If you've made it this far, comment now. Hashtag Vegeta Shinken versus Luffy Gear 5. And also comment on who you think will win this fight. In another part of that gigantic world, the one who is acclaimed as the shinobi god faces an arduous fight, involved with Goku in a storm of power as both raise their level more and more. Traces of the battle are left across the planet, with lightning and thunder in the sky, earthquakes on Earth, and strong tornadoes in the air. Kakashi Sasuke and Sakura witness all those calamities with concern, seeing the Hidden Leaf village suffer severe damage and being sure that the situation is the same throughout much of that world. They hope that Naruto will finish this fight as soon as possible, and comment that they never imagined that someone other than the great Pirate King could lead him to increase his level so much. The sky fills with unbridled energy as the earth trembles beneath their feet and the elements riot around them. Naruto, driven by his supreme shinobi skills, continues to unleash an impressive array of techniques, each more formidable than the last. His chakra seems infinite, fueling his determination not to give in even an inch to the pressure imposed by Goku. Meanwhile, Goku Shinken, with his unparalleled dexterity and superior ki, responds with precise strikes and attacks that defy the laws of reality. The battlefield transforms into a scene of destruction and chaos, with craters forming with each impact, lightning piercing the sky, and furious winds sweeping across the landscape. Both warriors are enveloped by an aura that radiates power, making even those farthest away feel the tremors of their titanic fight. Neither of them is willing to give in. Each blow exchanged is like the clash of two worlds colliding. Naruto launches a series of Rasen shurikens at Goku, each one from a different natural element and having enough power to destroy entire common solar systems. But for Goku, this is nothing. Radiating his Shinken power, he creates a tornado of energy that sweeps all the Rasengans away. The answer comes in the form of a massive Kamehameha, from which Naruto defends himself by erecting a wall of mud the size of a mountain, with enough built-in chakra to withstand an attack capable of destroying an entire universe. The fight between the Pirate King and the God of Destruction continues with the giant Luffy making a series of attacks against God Vegeta that the Saiyan needs to dodge with great skill and speed given the large proportions of the size of the blows, which despite Luffy's giant body are very fast. Vegeta and Luffy exert great pressure on the environment due to the dense energy that the two release, thus inevitably causing a series of weather events such as earthquakes and storms. In an action that surprises Vegeta, Luffy simply grabs a bolt of lightning that falls from the sky. Gomu Gomu no Kaminari! Incredibly changing the entire natural aspect of lightning by transforming electricity into rubber. Luffy uses the natural element to strike Vegeta as if it were an electric baton, and then launch it at him in an explosion of light and electricity. Toasted and in disbelief, Vegeta wonders what the hell this guy's power is. With a colossal enemy before him, God Vegeta finds it appropriate to attack with something equally colossal, raising his hands to form a titanic globe of destruction power and hurl it at Luffy. When this mass of destructive power comes into contact with Luffy's body, it is surprisingly transformed into a rubber ball by him and bounced back to the one who conflagrated it. At first, Vegeta is surprised when he sees his attack being returned like that, but then he says that if Luffy wants to play, he can play too. The God of Destruction points his hand at the globe of power and makes it disappear from where it is to reappear next to Luffy, who again needs to counter the attack to avoid being hit. but Vegeta returns the attack again and again and again until Luffy is finally hit and receives an explosion of extreme power straight to his body. The Straw Hat loses his gigantic size, reducing to his original height. I think I'm starting to understand how your powers work. I must admit that it is really incredible. But if I play your game, I will be able to handle your fighting style, Vegeta says, confidently. Naruto and Goku stare at each other breathlessly. All around them, only destruction can be seen. Enough of this! I will finish you off in my next attack, says the shinobi god. Naruto takes flight, ascending into the sky with extraordinary speed, reaching the stratosphere. Goku, already realizing what he wants to do, follows the ninja. Floating above the planet, they face each other. Naruto raises his arm, in a second gathering enough chakra to create a Rasengan that surpasses even the size of that gigantic planet, a mass of chakra greater than multiple universes. Your power is incredible, Goku comments, but I won't back down. Goku puts his hands together, starting to accumulate his energy between them. The fight is going to a final dispute now. What will win? Kamehameha or Rasengan? Comment #Goku Shinken if you support Goku and #Naruto 6 Paths Sage Mode if you support Naruto. Knocked down by a blow from Vegeta, Luffy rolls across the ground, which takes on a rubbery appearance as he touches it, making the pirate bounce as if on a trampoline before returning to the Saiyan god to attempt a counterattack. However, Vegeta uses telekinesis to stop Luffy's advance. And then, with the pirate paralyzed by the power of his mind, the Hakaishin targets him with a sequence of energy shots, popping the pirate with multiple explosions. Luffy resists the attacks well, but is starting to show signs of fatigue. Vegeta tells him that now it's time to end the game. Luffy laughs again and, excited by the idea, agrees. Accumulating strength in his legs, the Straw Hat makes an extraordinarily powerful jump, going from the ground to space in a fraction of seconds. Gomu Gomu no Bairangan! From space, Luffy launches his attack, a fist the size of multiple ordinary planets, with the impact power to destroy more than one ordinary universe. Seeing the pirate's gigantic fist appear among the clouds, Vegeta immediately prepares himself, bringing his two hands together to concentrate his energy. From the Hidden Leaf Village, what appears to be a blue sun can be seen shining in the sky. But it is not a sun, it's Naruto's energy, radiating across an entire half of the planet. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura watch this with great attention, knowing that the end of the battle that would decide the fate of their world was approaching. On the other side of the large planet, the vision that was seen was that of a gigantic fist falling from the sky. Zoro, recognizing that as Luffy's strongest blow, knows that the decision of that fight is coming. Goku and Naruto finally make the final attack. On one side, the shinobi god advances with his gigantic Rasengan. On the other, the Shinken warrior fires a very powerful Kamehameha. The spiral sphere of chakra and the wave of ki meet in a clash of cosmic scales, shaking with vibrational and impact waves the entire planet of multiversal size beneath them, ending this encounter of energies in an explosion of astounding proportions. Facing the Pirate King's gigantic fist that falls on him, Vegeta fires a final flash of absurd proportions, colliding his energy with Luffy's hand, creating a shockwave that begins to shatter a gigantic portion of the planet's territory at the same time as it sends a vibrational shockwave throughout it. At the same moment, the two impact explosions occur in both halves of the planet, shaking its entire structure while marking the end of the combats of those beings with transcendental powers. Surrounded by flames as if they were meteorites or perhaps shooting stars, Naruto and Goku fall from the sky, both arriving on the ground without their transformations. But between the two, the one who stands up is Goku, while Naruto remains down. Despite his injuries, when Goku approaches his fallen enemy, he can't help but smile and excitedly admits that Naruto is an amazing guy and he didn't think he would have so much fun in this fight at first. Naruto is very frustrated by this defeat and admits that Goku is even more powerful than he thought he would be. Hey, I ended up not asking what your name is. Naruto realizes, oh yeah, that's right. Only now does Goku notice this, and with a friendly smile, he waves his hand and introduces himself. Hi, I'm Goku. Naruto recognizes that name. Goku, huh? What a coincidence, I know a creature that has that name. He then also introduces himself. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, but I think you've heard my name before. Goku says it's always a pleasure to meet a strong guy like him. Naruto tells Goku to get straight to the point and finish him off once and for all. But Goku says he won't do anything since Naruto is already defeated. So there's no reason for that. When Naruto hears this, he is very surprised. Sasuke, Kakashi, and Sakura arrive soon after, shouting for Naruto and ready to attack Goku. However, Naruto shouts for them to stop. On the other side of the world, the one who is down is Luffy, already in his common form, watched by Vegeta, who has also returned to his base form. Who knew a worm with the power of rubber could give me so much trouble? Vegeta comments, irritated. Unexpectedly, Luffy starts laughing. He admits his defeat and praises Vegeta. Go ahead, you can finish me off, the pirate says. Vegeta sighs and says, there's no reason to waste any more energy. Just stay out of my way and I won't destroy you, says the Saiyan. Luffy didn't expect that answer, surprised that Vegeta didn't want to kill him. Already with his hands on his swords about to draw them, Zoro shouts for Luffy as he lands with a jump next to them, ready to attack Vegeta. But Luffy shouts at Zoro not to do that, which obviously surprises the swordsman. At the center of this large planet is the world capital, a gigantic city from which the entire world is governed. In that city, there is a large floating castle where the one who rules the whole world lives, the angel Cognac, who, sitting on his throne, watches a transmission of the battles that have just taken place through a large crystal ball. Cognac is not happy with the outcome of these two clashes. In the end, not even those two were able to defeat those damn Saiyans, even though the fusion was undone. I better get ready. Cognac is suddenly struck by severe pain in his chest, to the point of making him groan and agonize. Damn Gogeta! He curses. After the battle, Naruto, Kakashi, and Sakura take Goku back to the village, where they enjoy Ichiraku's ramen while they clean up the whole situation. A few minutes after the fight, Naruto was already fully healed thanks to the powers of the Bijus, and Goku also used his divine powers to recover. Now they eat amicably, watched by Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura, who are a little surprised to see the two getting along so well. Goku explained to them everything that happened, from how he accidentally left his original reality until now, and asks how Naruto and the others knew about his arrival, since Naruto said before that he prepared for Goku's arrival. The ninjas explain that a few months ago, a being appeared in the same way as Goku. This being presented himself as an angel who came to bring peace to this world that lived in chaos. Goku finds it strange that Cognac arrived in this reality so long before him, since Gogeta fell into that temporal rift at the same time as him. Well, this stuff about different realities and space-time distortions is really confusing, he comments, refusing to ask any deep questions about it. Naruto explains that the angel was seriously injured when he arrived. The angel said that his arrival precedes the arrival of an extremely dangerous and evil being who would bring destruction to this world. Therefore, everyone should be prepared. Goku asked why they so easily believed in a guy who arrived out of nowhere. Naruto says they believe in prophecies. Furthermore, Cognac showed extraordinary powers and did something that everyone in that world thought impossible. He brought peace between the ninjas and the pirates. Peace between ninjas and pirates? Goku repeats, curious. After the tough fight against the god of destruction, in which he ended up defeated, Luffy realized that Vegeta does not have an evil essence, and took him to his ship with Zoro so they could talk better. Luffy also explained to Vegeta about the appearance of the angel Cognac a few months ago and about the prophecy that this angel brought. And when Vegeta asked why they believed a stranger, Luffy also told about peace between the ninjas and the pirates, something the whole world had longed for centuries. You call yourselves pirates, right? So who are these ninjas and why were you fighting? Vegeta asks. Luffy says that the planet, for the most part, is divided by the large continent, also called the Ninja World, and the Great Ocean. The Ninja World, as the name suggests, is ruled by ninjas. The Great Ocean, on the other hand, was a lawless land where pirates ply their activities. For a long time, ninjas and pirates lived at war, as ninjas wanted to protect their continent from pirates and also bring laws to the great ocean, while pirates wanted to be free to do whatever they want in the great ocean, and many also wanted carry out some actions on the continent. These conflicts lasted for many generations and were reaching their peak in this generation. Luffy, who was proclaimed Pirate King, was the main combatant on the pirate side, while another guy, who was called the Shinobi God, was the main representative of the ninjas. The fight between him and the Shinobi God was inevitable, and it ended up happening. However, the price for that was that the entire world was being destroyed. The war between the ninjas and the pirate was bringing the world to its end. However, a miracle occurred when the Angel Cognac appeared right in the middle of their battle, preventing the two from making the worst happen. In addition to being powerful enough to stop the strongest ninja and pirate in the world, Cognac was also wise and led them to an understanding. However, not everything is rosy, and he also spoke about an extremely powerful man who would bring about the end of the world. I thought that person was you, but you don't seem like a bad guy despite your appearance, Luffy concludes. After Naruto and his team tell him everything, Goku tells them about Cognac's real identity, explaining that he is an evil angel and cannot be trusted. Where is him now? Goku asks. Naruto says that after arriving in this world and telling the prophecy, Cognac set out to prepare all of them to deal with the great evil that would come. He was then taken to the world capital and temporarily gained command over ninjas and pirates around the world. Goku deduces that Cognac already knew that sooner or later Gogeta would arrive in this dimension. Therefore, he tried to mobilize the entire world to prepare for his arrival, since alone he does not have enough power to defeat the fusion. But at that moment, Goku realizes something and asks, "Hey Naruto, you mentioned a certain pirate king, right? And from the way you said it, this guy seems to be as strong as you." Naruto confirms and says that this person is called Monkey D. Luffy. Goku begins to reflect, deducing that in a common situation, Cognac would send the two strongest people in the world at once to deal with him. But where is Luffy? When he asks this, Naruto says that in fact, it is strange that Luffy didn't come to help him in the fight. Goku then comes to the conclusion that if Luffy didn't intervene in their fight, it's because he was fighting somewhere else. This means he probably met Vegeta. On the pirate ship, Vegeta comes to the same conclusion. If Kakarot met this Shinobi God, he certainly won and will be aware of the situation too. In other words, he will go after this damned angel. If I can't find him through Ki, I'll do it by going after this guy. Vegeta gets up and asks Luffy and Zoro to take him to the world capital immediately. When Goku asks Naruto and his team for the exact same thing, they warn him that Cognac will certainly be waiting for him. However, Goku is not intimidated, and clapping his fists, he smiles with excitement, saying that he is counting on it. After winning the battle against the Shinobi God Naruto and the Pirate King Luffy, old Goku and the God Vegeta finally discover the involvement of the evil angel Cognac behind it all. And now they intend to go against the enemy. How will old Goku and God Vegeta defeat the evil angel now that they are separated? And what obstacles in this strange world will the angel use against them? Find out in the next episodes of Dragon Ball Shinken. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a like on the video and comment on your observations, praise and criticism of the story. Remembering that if this video reaches the goal of 1000 likes and 100 comments, we will bring you the next episode. To ensure you don't miss the next episode of Dragon Ball Shinken or the other videos on the channel, subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, collaborate with our Patreon if you can through the link in the video description and in the pinned comment, or help us with a super thanks. Any amount is welcome. Thank you very much to everyone who stayed until the end and also helped us in some of the ways I mentioned. You are the great warriors of this channel. Until next time, goodbye.